Okay, there we are. Welcome, 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 everybody. We have the finals of the $5,000 Marvel Snap Creator Clash. I'm super, super, super excited. We're going to get going in the next 10 minutes. We're still waiting on some of the... Actually, all the players for top 8 are here already, but we want some of the other players to spectate the game and have a good time, chill out. So, hope everyone's doing well. Hope everyone's excited. I'm really excited. I'm super excited. And we got such a great lineup of decks. Raven, how are you feeling today, my friend?
I'm good. I'm ready to go. I hope everyone's ready for the top 8. Of course, they get the extra bonus of maybe some guest casters today. We do have a funny situation, which we can talk about. I don't think you mentioned it. We're slightly delayed in starting the actual match because some of the players are locked out of the venue right now. We can see that basically the shutters on the venue, we got in early to set up and do all that. And the shutters now won't go up. So I can see Lamby, I can see Lowell, I can see Volvy just waiting outside, just like dogs in the rain waiting outside to try and get in. So yeah, we do have staff members working on trying to get that one sorted.
Good stuff.
But yeah, I'm ready. I'm very ready for top 8. I think everyone's pretty hyped for it, honestly.
Got you. I just realized I left the music blaring in everyone's ears there, but it's off now. We're all good, guys. Your ears are saved. Who made it to the finals, chat? If you guys do exclamation mark bracket, I can actually put up the bracket for you guys now real quick.
I think this is yours, by the way, mate.
It is. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Let's see if we can pull up the bracket here. There we are. Yep, perfect. So our top 8 players we have are Den, Brendan, Fresh Lobster, Get Out of the Way, Pop-Up, Hip, Lamby Series, Howling Minds, DMONEY, and Freddy. Again, unfortunately, Harry just missing out on the top 8 spot.
Do we
there.
have the bracket to show though?
Yeah. Well, it's not generated yet. It's going to be
that's
generated
what
in the next
I'm
5
saying.
minutes.
Okay. So we are making an actual bracket because of course the top 8 will not continue like Swiss works. It will just be a normal.
But essentially, how it's going to go, I'm pretty sure, is it's going to be
Den versus Freddy.
Yes.
It'll be 1, 8, 2, 7.
I think so.
3, 6, 4, 5.
Yep.
Is how it should probably will happen.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we will of course get that set up so you guys can follow along.
For sure. I know many of you guys wanted to see Harry participate. However, Harry is actually really excited about casting.
Yeah, very early in the morning yesterday, he just walked up to me and said, "We're casting tomorrow." I was like, "Yes, boss."
Yeah, all right, let's do it. Let's do it. 100%.
Full Giga Chad energy. Just decided that he's casting.
Indeed. So yeah, super excited. As I said, guys, we're just gonna wait about 5 minutes or so. Hopefully, let the rest of the players into the venue.
It is pretty funny because obviously, again, if you weren't here yesterday, we're basically above. We're on like a balcony thing above a store that sells, games and all sorts of cool stuff. And there are just people here that just want to go shopping in the store, and they can't because the shutters are down. So we managed to sneak in nice and early to make.
I'm very glad that we got our all of our top 8 is actually set up, because if we were waiting for somebody out there, that's like they need to log in, they need to get onto their PC.
That's
that would have been.
Do we have
everybody
the top 8 here?
Like if we have to start, we can start.
Yeah. We'll give it 5 minutes. We'll see if they can fix it.
For sure, we've got lots of time.
Yeah.
So it should be good.
The plan overall will be to show all the top 8 matches are going to be played, at least initial matches, all at the same time. We're going to feature at least one. As obviously, if this finishes quick, we can maybe jump into another. And then we will be looking at both semis, a third place match as well. Yep. So third and I guess the 2 losers of the semis will play for third place.
Yep.
And then of course we'll finish the day with the finals and crown a champion. And in case you didn't see,
here it is.
Grand reveal. This is the trophy they're playing for. Let me stick that on there. Oh, look at that. Perfect.
Well, actually, we'll lift it up here and just show chat.
A cosmic cube of victory.
Let me give a huge shout out to, hopefully that focuses.
To hide our faces.
It probably won't. We'll get a good shot afterwards. But yeah, essentially, guys, this trophy was made by Chalker. He made our last trophy, which is basically for the New York event, was the Statue of Liberty holding the cosmic cube instead of the torch, which I thought was super cool. So whoever picks this up, we'll give this to the champion. And then also, we have some super cool prizes, courtesy of a very popular Marvel Snap artist. You can show them off there if you want. I'll pull this to the side.
Yeah, so we have hand-signed, I guess, yeah, that makes sense. Hand-signed prints from Rihanna Gonzalez, as you know. So the Squirrel Girl, as you can see. These are signed. I don't know if the camera's picking up at the bottom. Yep. Yeah, you can see. Yeah. The bottom. We have Squirrel Girl. Oh, there we go. We have Goose, as you can see. They're different sizes as well, so I'm just trying to make sure I grab them. We have everyone's favorite shark.
Got Jeff. What's up, my friend?
And then we have
Rogue.
Rogue. I would say, honestly, the Rogue and I think the Gambit were like, I feel like the original Rian Gonzalez arts in the game. Obviously, because they weren't for new cards or anything, but we have signed Rogue. So yeah, those are going to go to the top 3 plus a special award as well later on.
I know one of our previous players from last time, Valentine, was like, I will kill a man for that Rian, that Rian Rogue print. I was like, it is pretty good.
Yeah, I have one of these. I have the Rogue print at home, but it's actually not signed. I have just a regular print I purchased. Do you want to put them back up?
Yes, of course. Keep them
but
safe.
yeah, the prints are awesome. So yeah, those are like extra prizes again. Thanks to Rian Gonzalez sending them out. Very, very kind of to do that for us. So just adding to the the fun of the event. But yeah, sick trophy. Great additional prizes, and of course, just a very strong prize pool in itself.
Indeed. I actually forgot about it. It's SPECI's birthday today as well.
Oh, is it? Bloody hell, where is he?
He's,
he's not
still in bed, probably.
I bet he's still in bed, isn't he? Yeah. Oh, that's what you get when you don't make it to top 8. You can stay in bed the next day. Although he will be
100%.
swinging by.
Oh, thank you very much. Lowell. No, we're good for the moment. Lowell's after delivering us donuts. Oh, eggs as well. Brilliant. Shout out to eggs. All right, cool. So I'll just run and see if we're nearly ready to go. Try get a nice viewing experience for the rest of the players, and then we'll get cracking. So if you want to
sounds great to me.
Talk about your life, talk about yourself.
All right.
So no, here we go.
When I was 4, right? No. Yeah. So I think if you just grab Alphos as well, just to set up the top 8 actual bracket. But yeah, like I said, guys, we will set it up, so we'll get the live bracket for you guys to follow along with. And we will be covering as many matches. This chair's annoying me. As many matches as possible, of course, to try and give you guys as much Marvel Snap as you can handle.
As you can see, guys, the production value is just superb. No issues here whatsoever. Professional broadcast. We're gonna turn it just to show Harry eating. Guys, you want to see Harry?
Everyone wants to see Harry. They wanted to see you, Harry. Chat just likes looking at you, I think.
Show food. See, this is the thing. I did this. I don't know if you saw my subathon clip. It's like when you know the Tyler one when you show the food and it slides off the plate. Yeah. Everyone's asking to show food, so they lift up that donut box and it just goes
The
everywhere.
only safe way to do that is you tilt the thing on the camera.
Yeah.
That tilt, 360
of course,
motion. Yeah. Well, 360 slides.
360. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
No Tony Hawk's going on over here.
I actually love how it's just so communal and casual. See, this is everyone that's like, we didn't make it through. We're just going to enjoy ourselves, have a good time.
Yeah, it's one of those moments where you can see it slipping into just no one plays.
Yeah.
And we're just like, let's just hang out for a bit.
Again, some people still aren't even in their games yet, so we're just starting off here, guys. There's no rush. You guys aren't missing anything at the moment.
Slightly tilt the camera as well.
Yeah.
It's not all about you, Kawa. Jeez. Only because we'll be getting guests here as well at some point, so we will be sorting that out.
Correct.
That's who we've got. Howling Minds versus Fresh Lobster. I think we're going to be going into.
Here we go. All set up. Let's go.
So yeah, it makes no true surprise there. Howling Minds just going to go Lockjaw into Wasp and just get everything down on the left. Pump out as much power as possible and say, you know what? That should be enough.
100%, yeah. I mean, the snap again makes perfect sense with the Wasp. Has the Jubilee for the turn 4. Also, we did talk about the thing a little bit yesterday because the first game that we casted was one of Howling's. How do you feel about the thing in just a general high Evo Lockjaw deck?
Yeah, I think it's just good. I think it's one of those things where if you don't want to do anything too flashy and you don't want to say, for example, we've seen some decks that have a lot of low costs. I think the thing is a really big, really good middle ground where it's not going to strictly win you any games by itself. It's not like when a Hulk come down, you're like, whoa, okay, done. But it's just good, right? It's just a good option. It's
non-shangable as well,
Yeah,
which
it's not
nice.
shangable, so it's very guaranteed power in a lot of instances. And if it can just hit anything, because it can restack, right? It's not like unique targets, which is the biggest thing. It can just go boom, boom, boom and hit the same thing. Then that's the biggest deal. It's like guaranteed. It's just very reliable, I think is the key word there for thing. Does get Chavez off the bounce, though.
Who do you think high rolled higher? Do you think that the Jane was better because he redraws the Wasp, or the Chavez? I actually think the Jane's better because it's now not shangable. I don't know if Shang is even a consideration in this deck since it's not there, but you also just redraw another Lockjaw.
Yeah, I think it's just better options because it means you have to commit less to Asgard because you have Wasp, right? As opposed to saying, well, I can't, I've got to play something. But
that is absolutely
huge. Cheeky Lockjaw, and there's an R from Fresh Lobster's Wasp just does a good job still. That's the thing about Wasp. It's still a 1 and then -2 on the other side. It's still strong, but that is huge.
100%. You see Bifrost coming in, moving everything over to the right locations. Turn 5 coming out. A Thor is drawn for Howling.
Now, do you, obviously it depends on the Shang situation, but do you actually quite like Hulk and then you've got options of Doom, for example.
Well, we don't have to think about the Shang situation at all. It is open. They know that there is no Shang in either.
Yeah, oh, sorry,
deck
they're
list.
both not running Shang,
Yeah,
right? Sorry,
yeah.
I thought you said one of them was. That's my bad. So yeah, I really like this. Then like you Hulk there because you just can, and it's as cheap as it's ever going to get. It's going to grow, and then you can just Doctor Doom wherever if you want to cover bases, or there's even the option of bailing, saying, well, what about the Thing and Ham? Because you could Ham Lockjaw, and then play the Thing. Let's say even in Quantum Realm, right? It'll go down to 2, but it's dealing -3 to your opponents. So that's a really good, trade up sort of thing.
I think dragging the Lockjaw into Quantum Realm, originally because you don't get the Wasp proc, is a little bit unfortunate. But then in general, if you have smaller things that you want to throw into it, it's quite good. But in this instance, Fresh has so many high-cost cards, it doesn't even really matter that much, you know? So Hulk does come down here for Howling. Doom comes down for Lobster. And now coming into the final turn here, it's an interesting one here. I do think that Howling has more options because he can play at least one thing into the Lockjaw and then still play something big somewhere else. So if he goes for the Doom here, we do know that Lobster has an Odin. Would Odin win in this situation? Unfortunately, it wouldn't. Hulk is too big.
Yeah.
He wouldn't catch up on the right side.
And that's why just getting that Hulk down early was so good, because look at the difference, right? Like, okay, you've got some Doom stuff, but the Hulk is just like, well, you can't really beat it outside of a Hulk plus something else, which doesn't happen, obviously, on turn 6. So, yeah, I like this a lot.
Yep, and we just see a retreat later coming out from Lobster here. Which he recognizes that there's just no way to... Once that Hulk comes down, it's like, nah, I can't really do much.
Yeah, and it's also interesting because like this still went a reasonable distance in terms of damage, right? This is round 1, and 2 damage is going to happen, right? Straight off the bat. Normally, at least over the past day or so, we've been used to seeing a lot of early... And by early, I mean early in the rounds, like retreats, right? It's like, oh, you're going to snap, my hand doesn't look great. I'll just take 1 damage. Whereas this, instantly gone for 2, which is definitely going to start stacking up.
For sure. All right, coming into the first location revealer, Gamma Lab does come out. Well, decent for Fresh here. He can just throw Spider Ham out. It's always an option. But does he want to save it for the Lockjaw is the question. That's a tricky one.
Yeah,
Again, we haven't seen this kind of thing of running Ham in the traditional list, so it's like, how often do you want to keep it or not?
Yeah, it definitely needs more time overall to just get a definitive answer, but I think, like, generally, it's how the deck's built, right? If you only have Wasp and Ham, maybe you can afford to wait, because also you might hit Hulk, which might help out. But if you have other things, and for example with the Gamma Lab, it's fine, I think, to just play. Like, are you really going to hold? Because then the problem is there are you might want to think with the Lockjaw, right? And then suddenly, well, when are you actually spending this energy on the Ham?
Yep, 100%. But Snap does come out here from Lobster, which I kind of like because I think he realizes, well, Howling doesn't have too many things he can just throw into Gamma Lab. Yes, he probably might have the Lockjaw and the Wasp, but then he's pulling big stuff. Oh, Hulk does get hit by the pig there. And as we can see, both pigs hit Hulk. That's kind of funny.
Yeah, and they both locked in at 14 as well.
District X coming down is going to shake up this game entirely for any Lockjaw pulls that are going to happen here. And as you guys can see, by the way, again, I don't... Maybe this is probably a bug in my opinion, but the pig retains the +2 from Hulk. I guess it kind of makes sense because Hulk is one of those ongoing cards like...
It's like Null.
It's like Null or Morbius, where it actually it gains the stats while it's in the hand, which is a little bit...
Morbius doesn't, right?
Oh, that's been changed
Morbius
now,
is the weird one, yeah. But like, yeah, I think that, again, it doesn't matter which end of this you fall on or not, but in hand, Hulk had 14 power, turns it into a pig with the power of the card it hits. 14, right, done. Both players will be fully aware of this, and both players basically are mirroring the play, sacrificing that Lockjaw into the Gamma Lab, which means both players are going to be double hulked up on the left. But that's where it gets tricky, doesn't it? Where now the left side, if one player had Wasp, which neither of them doing because District X they're not going to get, Wasp is always a cool one because it's the most minimal amount of commitment, but you will win that location 100%. If they don't play anything, when it's a Hulk mirror like this. So it'll be very interesting to see how much people actually commit to the this location or not. We can already see Howling Minds looking to lock in the Thing.
Yeah, and we can see Lobster. He's going to go for a Lockjaw pull, which I guess you could say is maybe a little risky. Who knows what this District X could pull? could pull a Destroyer. That would be pretty funny.
It would. It would.
Yep. And obviously there's no targets, no Thor on board. It's been changed. Killmonger, just a free power card. Seems all right. Not too bad.
Not the best, not the worst.
Mm-hmm.
But this is what I mean, right? So now, Howling Minds could completely ignore Gamma Lab for the rest of the game and just start playing to the other two.
Yep.
Because he's done enough.
I still like this from Lobster. He's after playing the Jane out, so it means that he's actually going to get that Mjolnir back because he knows it's gone into the deck. Means he can do another re-roll into the Lockjaw, and then possibly just play a big pig on the left side. It could challenge the difference. He might not be expecting it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think that's the part where Howling Minds will see the Hulk location as, I might win, I might not, but then I'll just force the other two in the short amount of time. Maybe he'll go all in on just like Daily Bugle and Gamma Lab now? Is what, turn 5? Okay.
Yep. Some Thor was just played for Howling here.
Yeah, too many 6s coming out of this District X for Howling Minds, really, isn't it? Look, the Spectrum and the Thanos when he already has a big pig and a Magneto.
It's kind of interesting. Actually, like I feel like Lobster has a lot of options he can do here because he can do just a Doom, he could do just a pig, he could do all 3 of his 2 drops and Mjolnir to get a cool proc here.
I actually also think with the options that Lobster has, weirdly enough, you never snap. Because I feel like the game's on knife's edge because of District X. If Lobster snaps, Howling Mind will retreat. I am almost certain.
Lobster's already snapped Howling.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Yes.
So the snap now is fine. I was going to say, like, sorry, I thought it was the other way around. It's like, if you snap and push someone out, it's like, they're going to retreat.
Yep. This is the play that I suggested.
This
is the play that I suggested, and I think it actually makes sense because I don't think he's really going to expect this huge challenge on the left side.
And there's the retreat.
Yeah.
Or the retreat later.
I respect it. I think it makes sense to do that for sure. Again, these games are going to be slow, but I think that's what we expect, right? There's a lot of money on the line. They want to take their time, think about their plays. And this also kind of shows, like, we're always going to talk about, is this just going to be like these high evo Lockjaw mirrors the whole time? I kind of noticed this when I was casting. Do you remember when Thanos was pretty much meta and it was, Lockjaw Thanos the whole time? I was like, I'm going to be casting these games the whole time. There's a lot of like more depth that you kind of realize when you go into these games. It's not all RNG based. It still depends. Okay, well, yes, I got lucky. I pulled that, but then placement of the rest of your cards is so important leading into the end of the game.
Yeah, 100%.
So Lobster has the option to Spider Ham here again. Still a pretty decent hand for a Howling, I think. Honestly, if I was Howling, I'd just be confident with a snap. It's a weird one because if he snaps and your opponent snaps, it's like, well, maybe, if you both have the Lockjaw
It's odd when you're in like the sort of mirror universe, right?
Yeah.
So I think like for this personally, it's just, for me, I always prefer to just look at my own. What am I doing? If my opponent's doing great stuff, great. But like, what am I doing? And snap based off that.
Yeah.
I'm going to see Rickety now, which is an interesting thing because now, let's say, for example, Lobster drops a Thor, then there's already Magneto available to start. And I mean, for both players, for the 3 and 4 drops, to just pull them across. And these decks have a reasonable enough number of 3 or 4 drops for Magneto turn 6 to win the game, right? To pull enough power away, especially if they're relying on, say, a Mjolnir Thor, because that's like 10 power you just delete,
swing, exactly.
right? You just delete 10 power.
Yeah. There's actually like 4 to 5 in each because you've got Thor, you've got Lockjaw, you've got Jubilee, you've got High Evo in pretty much all of the generic lists, right? So at least 4 targets for Magneto. See if this Wasp high rolls. Got Thor, which not the best card you want to see out of it because now it seems like it's really good for Lobster because he has this Magneto option that we talked about a little bit earlier. Jubilee played into the hub here, hoping to pull something big. Looks a little bit tricky since he already has some pretty big cards in his hand, but can still pull actually can't pull a Chavez because it's at the bottom of the deck. Oh, so sorry, can now because the Lockjaw has been shuffled.
Shuffled.
Yes, correct.
It's always tricky, isn't it, to be like, wait a minute, have we shuffled? What's gone on so far this game? But yeah, we will see what happens here. We do see Doom available on the side of Howling Minds as well. So again, these matchups are so difficult and pretty. You might think, they just play stuff on Lockjaw and
whoever gets
who
lucky.
wins.
Yeah.
And it's like that's not completely incorrect, but knowing when you're ahead or what your odds are. It's like when we saw Harry yesterday go for the Doom out of the Jubilee. Like, that is a calculated decision, whereas here it's like, it's really difficult because it's like, oh, look, Hulk just came out. I probably lose mid now, you know, because, like, Hulk's just decided to show up. I will say Baxter building is a big, big deal here because that's what's going to win Rickety. Is whoever controls that Baxter building. So normally in a location like Rickety or Battlefield with Rickety in, you just say, I'll play to win one location very hard, and then you win the tiebreak, right? But with this being Baxter building, you can't really do that. It's also tricky because I think both players, in a weird way, or at least for now Howling Mine, because they have it, but you're almost forced to play Doom, because if you don't and your opponent steals Baxter, and they don't play on Rickety Bridge, you can still recover that. Whereas if they steal Baxter and you don't play anything, well, you will just lose Rickety.
It's basically whoever wins Baxter building here will win if both players end up playing cards on Rickety, which they should. It hits the mic. That is absolutely huge. So now Lobster does not have the option. If Lobster had the option to Magneto onto Rickety there, like, I think what I could have done is, in this situation, maybe you would have done wave or something like that. Again, I understand get the Mjolnir to try and get higher, but...
Oh, look at this, though.
Yeah, it's
so strong, and there's a retreat there, just backing off, knowing that it's just not going to be enough. And like I said, as soon as you see Rickety Bridge as a Magneto player, or, you know, you have Magneto in hand, you just think every single turn, you're just staring at your opponent's board saying, right, what does Magneto do now? What does Magneto do now? What does it do now? And we can see that it was going to have a huge impact.
Someone in chat's asking, is there any way to see the deck lists? If you just go to my Twitter, they're all there. I'm sure somebody will link that.
Yeah, someone will link it. It's just Kawa's Twitter, and then there's a link that is tweeted out that has all of the deck lists for all of the players on one page for you. So, you'll be able to check it out there. Someone will link it for us.
Really good top deck here for Lobster. Has the option to do the Lockjaw Wasp. It's interesting, again, to see the snap situation, because if I just top deck Wasp and I have Lockjaw, I'm snapping.
On Superflow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's
exactly.
like you get to accelerate your game plan.
And, like, you already have, like, you know, pretty... Actually, the majority of your low-cost cards, you know you're very likely to high roll here. You know what I mean? Again, I respect playing the Thor first, and, you know, you shuffle the Mjolnir and you can draw that in. Maybe get a few more procs, multiple procs on the Thor there. But if I was Lobster, I feel like I'd be snapping here. Yeah.
And I think as well, because Lobster's on the back foot in terms of health, I'm the type of player who, if I'm starting to slip, I'll be like, right, well, I need something big to happen. I don't want to have to say I'm going to win 6 in a row. So I'll go. And we see Howling just step off. And again, you can argue like, oh, that's a mistake, because then Howling could get away kind of, you know, lightly scarred as opposed to destroyed, because it wasn't round 5 until now. But I just think that's good. Just bank the damage. Catch up where you can.
Yep.
Oh, Kamatage. Probably the most impactful / fun.
Yeah.
Like the combo, right? Because Death's Domain is an impactful location. People, depending on what deck you're playing, it is either fun or not. But Kamatage, I think a lot of people are just like, yeah, okay, this game's going to be great, or this round is going to be great.
For sure. We see the double pig coming out here, hitting the board. I believe that was Magneto and was that what's a 6/8 there? Odin. That's what it was. Yeah. Odin. Yes, correct.
Yeah, again, something that was talked about a lot was Ham going to force target different targets? Was Ham going to always hit the same target? Because like the game decides that is the one. But as we can see, you can have it pretty much any way you want it sometimes. Yeah. But the double pig is brutal.
Throwing in the Lockjaw here seems fine. Seems fine to me. For Lobster here. Obviously, it seems like it's going to be a lot better for Howling in this situation. You know, going to get 2 Mjolnirs in the deck. Even the thing on Kamatage is kind of cool. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to be like
it's a lot.
6.
Yeah.
Like,
it's not messing around. Yeah,
412 of stats, essentially.
Yeah,
it's like
100%.
really powerful. Oh, my God. Double Kamatage.
And now this is great, because Jubilee now is going to pull 2. And that means that normally that's tough, because you normally Jubilee a Kamatage and then expect to leave that Kamatage is kind of done. Do you know what I mean? But now, because there's 2, you can easily Jubilee there. But again, another layer now. Fisk Tower with Magneto.
Yep.
It's there, and there's already Lockjaw on that side, and I'm guessing there'll be more as well.
Yeah, there should be. I mean, if Jubilee gets played, we know that's gonna get dragged. Unfortunately, I think for Lobster, he has a lot of his high cost cards in his hand already. So the best outcome from the pull, what I would say would be Doom. Just get the double Doom proc. And if he decides to Jubilee in mid, though, he's gonna break himself essentially, which is interesting.
But maybe that's just where it is. You know, maybe
Yeah.
just say, you know what, I'll dump everything I can into mid, say that's done, hopefully it's good enough, and then work on the other locations from there. But we'll see how it turns out here. So we are going to see the MOYEN be pulled out from Jubilee. So the Thor's going to start stacking. But a bit of a low roll with high evolutionary.
Yeah.
Okay,
Not bad.
Thor,
That's very good.
Not bad, not bad, yeah.
For the Jane coming out next turn. Oh, that's not really what you wanted to see.
No, but there is Thor with a potential double Mjolnir,
Yes.
right?
Oh, and Jubilee pro. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, perfect. Because like 2 Mjolnirs can be drawn and they can be camouflaged. So that, even if it was just Thor and like small stuff, that Thor could gain like, what, 24 power or whatever?
And this is good as well, because what's probably going to happen here is we'll see a Mjolnir come down on camouflage. Maybe he might hold it until turn 6.
Yeah.
It's actually probably better to hold it until turn 6 maybe because, well, obviously, Howling will see how many cards are drawn. But then it's probably going to end up being the 2 Mjolnirs on left side, maybe Hulk on mid. Or, you know, 1 Mjolnir on left side, put the Hulk there as well. Depends where you place cards, but it seems like it was actually not the worst outcome for Lobster there.
No, I think it was all right.
Yeah.
Because now Howling is quite light in mid and right. And like I said, because of the Thor and the knows there's double hammers, it's difficult to say, oh, I only need to beat 12. It's like, well, not necessarily true. And I think that was a snap from Lobster.
It was,
putting out some pressure there, and Howling might have to back off. And suddenly, because we're in round 5, if you're backing off, you're losing 2 a pop, right? And it's really rough. So, that was what the snap was for, right? Jane dual-wielding Mjolnir now. Again, it's going to be a pull there from Howling Minds as well. But that's 1 Mjolnir versus 2. And I think even me with bad maths knows which one's going to win that one.
Yeah. So mid's definitely going to be taken. Don't see how Fist Tower is going to... how Howling's going to be able to take Fist Tower here. This is going to be a lot of cubes in the line if they both stay in. Lobster can potentially lose, but I think he's winning. I think he's winning this game here.
And you can still... You often hit the point where it's just like, I'm deep enough in a game where, you know what? Yeah, I'll bet the game on this. I'll bet the match. I'll just say, you know what? This is pretty good. It's not like I'm struggling. There's a lot of power on board. Obviously, Lobster's got the double Mjolnir. It's like, I would probably be like, yeah, let's go. You know? Because it's then you've got like double Mjolnir from Lobster plus something big, and we can see it's Hulk. So it's like double Mjolnir and the double camouflage, so that middle Thor's going to be massive, and then Hulk on Fist Tower. And also, like I said, it fills Fist Tower, which means a Magneto is going to do nothing. So again, just a well played, I think, from Lobster. Whether, you know, I've not looked at the numbers, but whether he wins or not, I think this is the correct decision. I'm slipping a little bit, but things are going well this one. Cash in. Get that damage dealt.
Wouldn't it be really interesting if, like, say, for example, there was that free slot on Fist Tower? I think he should retreat here. Yes. Goes to the side. Right decision.
Still 4, though.
Yes. Yeah. Big cube loss there, but definitely the right decision. Saved himself 2 cubes there, for sure.
It was the Jane, right? It was really just the Jane where it was just like, now I know there's going to be a million power coming. Like, you cannot win mid. Like, that's just done and dusted, right? So I think it was 100% the right decision there to get out. But that has put Howling Minds in a rough spot, as now Lobster has the advantage and has a little bit of wiggle room, right? Can even, because there's only 3 health they can possibly play for, maximum, can even be a bit risky and say, oh, I'll snap, we'll play, and I need exactly Doom from this lockjaw. If I miss, it's all right. But if I win, match over, moved on to top 4. Done.
So I do believe we have a result already, guys.
Oh?
I do believe Den... Sorry, Dan, were you playing Freddy? Were you playing Freddy? Were you playing Freddy? Yes, okay. Den made it through. Den is officially in the semi-finals, guys. That's a bit of an update for results for you.
He broke the usual Swiss curse of whoever goes flawless victor in Swiss, they normally lose.
Yeah, all right. So we do see the Lockjaw and Wasp coming out here for Howling. Hopefully you can take some cubes back here. Make it a really interesting game here. Jubilee is pulled, and Ham hits the Hulk, but that's still a 6-16. Still pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing where a lot of people are like, oh, what is Ham going to be a snap turn one? Sorry, that's the wrong word to use in this game, but an instant turn one play.
Yeah.
I think in like the mirror-esque plays, yes, because you want to hit Hulk with his 12.
Mm-hmm.
Not on turn 4 or 5 when
Yep.
he might have already soaked tons of power, and it doesn't really matter whether Hulk's green or whether he looks like a pig.
For sure, and it's very much it's an unfortunate low roll for Howling here on the left side. It's also a low roll for Lobster though, so we do still have a game.
Oh yeah, but Lobster, like I said, because it's just like Howling has to win this one, and Lobster can just be like, yeah, I'll just try some stuff.
Yeah,
try some funky plays maybe to get out. Does have Magneto? Does have Doom? Does have that pig? Of course. I think a huge difference here would honestly be if one of the players was waving. Like, things would be crazy because, like, suddenly, oh, you picked my Hulk? Okay, 4 mana, 16 power, let's go.
I think Howling should high roll here now. Yeah, decent high roll there.
Only 13 total power on Sokovia.
Well, okay, we know that Hulk's, a Hulk is just going to beat that, right? So he has to be aware of that.
Oh, unfortunate as well with the Jane when there's no Thor being played. Because the difference in power level of, well, Wasp was already on board, no Thor, Jane, it's good. It's again, it's not the worst. That's why it's in the deck. It doesn't have to hit the zeros, but it's bloody nice when it does, you know. Looks like Magneto's going to pull just a Lockjaw away.
But this is the thing, like, if he plays Pig on left, then just a Doom, and then Howling has it. He can't just commit to beating left side here, you know?
Oh, wait. Oh, yeah, winning a tiebreak, right?
Well, no, if Doom comes down here... Oh, I'm looking at the wrong screen here.
Sorry, yeah. So Magneto pulls the Lockjaw.
Yes.
And that's 9 either side.
Yes.
Sorry, 8 either side.
Yes.
Wait, why is that 8? Oh, because the Wasp. Wait a minute. Oh, yeah, with just the Lockjaw pull, Lobster's actually winning mid.
Yeah?
Because the Wasp hit... Wait, I'm so confused. Is there a visual bug?
No, he just played Wasp.
Oh, he's played Wasp this turn. Sorry. I looked away for a second. I thought Wasp was already on board.
Yeah, it's all good.
Guys, you get one.
So we get a reroll here.
So this is actually going to be a win, right? For Howling.
I believe so. Well, yeah, he just takes mid. Only going to be able to
there
drag
we go.
a few
The
cards.
Wasp was clutch.
Yeah. And that Magneto from Howling was really good too. But yeah, it's literally what you said. It's like Wasp alone has won that game.
Yeah. Just push it because it's a 0 investment in terms of energy, and you just poke the power there. It's like what I was on about earlier with the Hulks, like the 2 Hulks facing each other. It's like, well, if one player just goes 0-1 and then focuses elsewhere, the other player has to play something there. The second they don't, you win. And even if they do, unless it's a Wasp back, you're ahead in power elsewhere, right? Generally speaking, but
So
they're going to go on
even.
now. Yeah, even Steven. And I would honestly mega respect if one of the players just goes bang, snap. But I don't think either player's in a huge position to. I would argue, actually, Thor with Wasp is snappable.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a great hand.
But I think the problem here is each player, because of the kiln, might be worried about, with my opponent has Lockjaw Wasp kiln, it's a problem because I don't, right? So I think that might be the fear why neither player's really gone in. They might want that sort of secondary backup. Like, you know what? If I have to retreat, I've got one more go. I guess 1 or 2 more goes.
Also, one of those things where, like, if we just see, like, for example, even like a Thor and a Thing, or a Thor and a Jubilee. Jubilee on kiln is probably better because if you just do Thor and Thing, can be possibly just Magnetoed out of kiln. You know what I mean? And then if there's even just a Wasp, it simply wins it unless a Doom comes out to play.
Yeah.
But yeah, because there is so many 3 and 4 costs in these decks, Magneto is always a consideration. You know what I mean? Always have to think about that card. We did see the Wasp being picked up here for Lobster, which I think I would just be playing Lockjaw Wasp here.
Oh yeah, you do the good thing.
Yeah, your hand is like decently low. You know that you should very much be high rolling here. Actually, I think he will always nearly be high rolling here.
I think the only other option is do you Thor first?
Yeah, that's the argument.
Like,
It's like
yeah.
touring first is actually just good as well.
Yeah,
But it's like,
yeah.
do I want to just get stats out now? Sure. It's arguable to see which.
But not in the kill,
No,
funny enough.
interesting for sure. We still gets pulled. Oh, I of course I had to say nearly
Yeah.
everything is going to be a high roll except ham. Of course I had to say that.
And this is the scary part now. Is this actually like... I feel like Lobster's just in a weird spot.
Yeah.
Because Jubilee into Kiln, again, there's not many whiffs, but does that beat Thor plus something this turn?
Mm-hmm.
Probably not, I would guess.
Yeah, it's like, do I just leave left side? Do I just let him have it and just focus on the other
But
lanes?
luckily, there's no snaps for now, so they can keep going. It's going to be Jubilee to back up.
Might be a
Thor.
low roll. It's a high roll.
Medium roll.
It's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah. I like Chavez as a card, but whenever it comes out, I'm like, it's just 9.
In this, yeah, I
Like
suppose.
Arrow's 8, and that's 1 whole less energy.
Sure. So we're gonna see Thor come out here, or sorry, Jane, just so we can get the other proc and the lockjaw. I think we're probably maybe just like looking for a Magneto. Like how are we actually seeing Lobster win this game or coming back from this? Because even if he I mean, actually Magneto doesn't even really help him that much. Still 9-4. Doom doesn't help because it's only going to be 4 on the left as well, unless we get a Mjolnir proc as well.
It's Magneto with Mjolnir, right?
Yeah.
Is the thing or the plan, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yes, exactly.
But the problem there is, I guess Magneto into Necrotia, because you want to pull more things.
Yeah,
so
and have less
Necrotia
power
hits
as well.
more
Yeah, of course,
things, basically for your opponent.
But again, we're very much relying on a Magneto top deck or a Magneto roll from the lockjaw. We see a snap coming out from Lobster. Yeah, feeling confident.
And this might be one of those situations where like Lobster's like, this might not work out well, but if I snap and my opponent retreats, that's a big deal. But no retreats here, so it looks like no matter what, at the end of this round, we're going to have a winner move on to top 4.
Yeah. We're really going to want to see Magneto here, I think, for Lobster. So let's see what's about to happen.
Yeah, both players have Jane, so that means, both obviously available with those hammers. We already saw a hammer go down. Magneto for both players. Oh, sorry, no. Apologies. Magneto just for Howling Minds. I was looking at the wrong screen. Yeah, wow.
We have to see, will he roll it? And if he does roll it, will there be enough space? And again, is it going to pull, if there's only one slot on Washington, is it going to pull Thor or is it going to pull Jubilee? We don't know, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So really interesting here.
And the problem here as well, there's actually... Is this like... Wait. Wasp? I was looking at something like Wasp, Hammer, Odin, right? But it doesn't really...
It's still not enough, is it?
Doesn't fit... Well...
If it's Magneto, it's enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this just seems okay. But then it's like, would I rather commit maybe Hulk to mid as well? Or,
I just think the Odin for the extra hammer is huge, because if Thor does get pulled and you've Odin the hammer, you're probably winning whichever location Thor's played into, right? Because it's plus 12 for Thor, which is huge. I mean, it is spicy, and let's be honest, it is just going to rely on what comes out from Wasp.
Exactly.
Well, the good news is it can't be Jubilee.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what else could it be. It could be Doom.
Could be Doom.
Yeah.
Oh, Howling Minds last second just switched and brought out the pork. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Bringing home the bacon.
So if it is Mag, it's Doom. Is that enough? It's going to be 6 and 6. Wait, it's going to be a tiebreaker. Wait. I don't think it's going to be enough.
That's tied there.
8 different. 6 to... no.
12, 6 versus...
Howling has it.
Wow.
Very, very close.
It was a really good effort there.
Yeah.
But it looks like Lobster is going to be done, not only for this match, but for the day. And Howling Minds moves on into top 4. That was a spicy one, and that shows how difficult these types of mirror matches can be. They're so close. They are, of course, reliant on some things going well out of Jubilee, out of Lockjaw, so on, so on. But yeah, congratulations to Howling Minds, of course, and I know Lobster definitely has plenty of fans.
Yeah.
But a good run again. I think getting to top 8 is really impressive, and I think that matchup was super close.
100%. Yeah.
So yeah, and he did a lot better than yesterday when he got stuck between two doors.
Yeah, when he actually got trapped.
He got trapped in a little porch at the place they're staying at. So it was a great job there for Lobster. And we could take a look at what the bracket looks like if it's been updated.
Yep.
It has, yeah.
Well, we know who has won.
Yeah,
Here.
some people would see, yeah. So that's going to be the bracket for top 4. We have Den versus LAMBY series as the first semi-final. And then we have Howling Minds going on to play against DMONEY in the top 4. So DMONEY taking the win over Brendan. And then, of course, we had LAMBY series beating out HIP. So, yeah, really crazy top 4 already with Den beating out Freddy that we told you about earlier on. So, yeah, really crazy top 4. DMONEY might be making back-to-back finals, which is impressive in itself.
Maybe it might be his time. He came so close at the last event. Maybe he will. Maybe he's going to pull it out. So, yeah, we're going to take a little bit of time, probably give the players a bit of a break, maybe have some people over for interviews. We'll probably, I'd say we're going to go in order. So we'll do Den versus LAMBY first.
Yeah, let's keep it simple.
Then we'll do Howling versus DMONEY. We'll do the third place match. And then we'll jump into the finals. So anyone in particular you want to get over for there? I guess we can actually just get Fresh and Howling over for since we did cast, we can get their thoughts.
Oh
on that
yeah. I know Howling likes to talk.
Yeah, for sure. We'll get them over here. I'll just mute myself. Yes.
Oh, there we are. You good?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, have you? Oh, the camera's.
Yeah, we're good. We're good.
So welcome. Unfortunately, not going to be a win. For this one, but how was it? Because that was a super close matchup. So, what did you make of the matchup overall?
Honestly, it was a banger of a series. We already played in the last round yesterday, both at 3-1 scores and not knowing if our tiebreakers were enough. Yesterday, the high roll won in my favor. It's pretty close to a 50-50. It's maybe very slightly better for the mirror, but also with Wave, I have more playmaking potential. And again, we both drew well, we rolled well, and I think we played pretty well. And it came down to a 50-50 in the very end because my last 2 cards in deck were Doom and Magneto.
Yeah, we were saying if it was Magneto, there was a very high chance you would have won.
Maybe on cam you really saw me sweat, go like this. And as soon as Doom pulled out, I did the math, it would just barely not be enough. Old Doom would have won. Second dinner. Why did you do this?
Yeah, I know.
And it was tricky as well because we saw a couple of times in the last few rounds, there were locations that Magneto was going to be very impactful. So, of course, we saw the kiln in the last one. And then it was Fist Tower as well. So, as soon as you saw the locations, was the game plan constantly just revolving around what if my opponent plays Magneto? What if you can play Magneto? And so on.
Yesterday, it was the exact same. We got very dynamic locations, and they completely skewed the game. But double Kamartage popped up that same game, right? And I knew I run Doom. I also run Odin. I can probably clog Fist Tower. So first of all, what happened was double Spider Ham goes off, my Magneto is gone. I'm like, oh, I'm in a huge disadvantage.
Yes.
As soon as I realize, damn, I can probably get a Doom, and then I get the Doom, that's when I snapped. Might have been a bit late, but I'm glad Howling Mind stayed in because I realized I can easily get 4 cards into the right location, nullifying the Magneto.
Nothing's
and then, the middle of his was already almost clocked. I had Thor, I had 2 hammers in my deck. I know I can pump him to like 30 or something.
You're always winning that.
I think that was the thing, right? As soon as Thor came down and then you had Jane, it was just, well, you're going to have 2 hammers, right? And then that stacks so hard with the double Kamartage.
It stacks the power and it stacks the location so that Magneto can't win.
Exactly.
And now, at this point, of course, you have been knocked out, unfortunately. But how do you feel about the deck list you brought? Were you happy with everything? Was there anything huge you would have changed? Like, obviously, knowing what you know now.
It's a tricky question. I am obviously happy because I did advance pretty far. One internal debate that I had was, can I really cut Chavez from Lockjaw? I'm not sure how much that did hurt consistency, but it did allow a lot more flexibility as well as mind games. Just having that extra Spider Ham and Wave, you could do a lot of mind game snaps.
I was talking about Wave, wasn't I? It's like one player having Wave control is kind of interesting because if you have Hulk, you could just be like, well, I'll Wave Hulk, leave that over there and worry about elsewhere then because Hulk's just so hard to beat, right?
Exactly. And even in the Lockjaw mirror, like, you would think it's not a good card there, but it did win me like 2 games against Howling Minds yesterday, just because, for example, he played Jane, I read it correctly, I played Wave.
They can't do any Mjolnir, exactly.
You have full control, especially also with the Odin that he didn't have. I could get more Doombots anywhere. The extra hammer proc was pretty huge. I will say, like, I didn't have a lot of time to prep. There were some other lineups that I was very fond of. For example, the one from LOWELL and MOYEN, as well as the Dr. Octopus tag with Den. We actually did prep last second together, And we both had different approaches on how to beat the bounce matchup. He went for Doc Ock, I tried Wave plus Odin plus Ham.
Yeah.
And both worked, so I'm happy about that. No, I'm very happy with the time and resources I had available. Fine with the decks I brought. But there's always something you could do better in card
you
game.
always
Yeah.
learn, of course.
Look, Twitch chat knows. As soon as the
Yeah.
game's over, there's always how you should have played, right? What you should have done. But no, thanks for chatting to us. Obviously, we'll chat later on.
Can I give a few shout outs?
of course.
Yes, of course.
First shout out, of course, to Den, who's crushing it so far. My last minute prep partner. Big shout out to Kat and Kim. I'm not sure if they're here right now.
Yes.
But
yeah.
they saved me yesterday from
They
the
did.
locked door dilemma.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I wouldn't be here. Thank you, Kat
Yeah,
and
so
Kim.
we've mentioned this on stream, but like when we say Lobster got trapped between
He was
two
actually
doors,
trapped,
he
yeah.
literally was trapped, and we had to send a rescue party.
Yeah. It was just like 1 square meter in between two entry doors. I was like, it was so absurd, I couldn't believe it happened. And lastly, big shout out to MetaFight.gg for sponsoring my trip here. Great place to improve at your favorite video games. Also to Glap and to Community Gaming for sponsoring the prize pool and allowing us all to be here. So, and of course, to you guys. You're doing a great job. Thank you so much.
Really appreciate
Thanks
it,
a
my
lot,
friend.
sir. I'll speak to you later.
Thanks a lot. Perfect.
You want to come over, Howling,
Yep.
for a quick chat? We've got time.
You can do your quick interview. I'm just gonna do something really quickly. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So Kawa said we've only got 2 seconds. No, I'm joking.
That's fine.
How's it go? How was that? That was you were just stood
Holy.
there listening to Lobster, of
Yeah.
course. We know it was a close one, but what was like to play out knowing that we are in that top 8 single elimination stage?
It's
And
really, really
the
rough.
pressure's there, right?
Yeah, 100%. The kind of pressure you feel in the top 8 bracket like this is incredible. It's even worse when we played this matchup as the last round of Swiss
Yeah, you said, yeah.
yesterday. And I talked to Lobster about it, and we think my list is favored in the mirror because I have the Chavez, which is a huge consistency tool, and the wave is like somewhat relevant, but as long as it's not a Jane turn, you can play around wave pretty well.
Yeah. You can make that decision pretty straight. It's one of 2 choices all the time,
100%,
right?
yeah. And we were like, okay, so I should play it, and I got crushed. Like, the location variance yesterday was really not in my favor. We had some weird games, and I kind of debated it last night of like, am I favored? Was I right? Do I want to run that back again in the morning? Because he's always going to play it into me, I think.
Yeah.
But those games were incredible. The sets between Lockjaw are really good if both players are snapping and retreating as they should.
Yeah. So the especially the early round dance that you do of like,
Yeah, there's so much equity in like bluffing on 3 in the early games if you don't have the Lockjaw style draws, because your opponent is pretty happy to give you a cube if they also don't.
Yeah, because it's so the win difference between having Lockjaw Wasp early and not is probably like absurd, right?
100%.
Isn't it absurd?
And we both have the Magneto, which is not in everyone's deck
Yeah.
this weekend as well. So as you saw during that game, we had so many Magneto-centric locations and like how can we move stuff around. And yeah, Lobster's fantastic. It was a great match. I genuinely cannot feel my hands at the moment. They're numb. It was an incredible set, and I'm really looking forward to continuing to carry on and just play some great Marvel Snap. So.
Yeah. Well, the good thing is, I believe you're in the lower part of the bracket, right? So
God.
you've got, we're going to do the first semi first. And again, because of the nature of how today's going to go, we've got a bit of time. There's no
of
rush.
course,
so
of
yeah.
course.
But no, I'll let you take your break.
No,
if you
I
want to.
appreciate
Any
that.
shout outs, anything you want to say? I mean, we'll no doubt speak to you later anyway.
Of
but
course, but no, I did want to give a quick thank you to chat. It's been really lovely seeing a lot of people coming out and supporting and wanting me to do well. Not everyone's aware, but I have stepped a little bit away from full-time Snap content. We're still making some stuff when we can, but due to various health issues, some other stuff in the background, it's had to slow down a bit. And I was a little worried coming in that a lot of people were going to be like, well, you know, you're not quite the same pedigree as some of the other competitors in the
it's
room.
all right. I snuck in. You'll be fine.
So you get nervous about that stuff,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Like I admire a lot of people in this room. I want them to like me. I want to just keep the game growing and keep the community happy, put on a good show. So the fact people came out in force and showed a lot of love, it really meant a lot. So thank you.
Good job, chat. You you backseat like there's no tomorrow, but you can do some things okay.
I might have played terribly, but you didn't make me feel bad about it.
Yeah,
And
there you go. That's what
the
we want.
important part. Thank you, chat.
Okay, well, you go take a break
Will do.
and chill out for a bit, okay? All right, thanks. So there we go. That was going to be, like I said, that's going to be our top 8. We are going to go to a break in a minute, just while we set up the first semi. But again, just to do a quick recap, we have semi-final 1, semi-final 2 to come, and then we have our 3rd place match, because we are going to actually get a 1st, 2nd, 3rd place. And then we are going to have our finals, of course, to crown our champion. You want to sit? Are you busy?
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing? I think you lost your match, right?
That's good, yeah.
Yeah. How did it go though? What went on? Give us a because we watched one of the other games. So like, what went on? I had a lot of people in chat saying like, we need to watch it. Like, what's going on? So give us a breakdown of what happened.
Well, the last round it came all down to like a 5-cuber.
Oh right,
we both were in it because I was hoping that LAMBY is one of the best players I know by far, and he's always doing the correct play, which is, don't tell anybody else, if you know what the correct play is, somewhat predictable.
Yes.
So I try to like, when I have a really good draw and he might have a decent draw, he's always going for the snap. And he snapped in, I snapped back, he stayed. We had the 5-cuber, I had everything set up. Like the board was looking like we had one location drawn. I had one location prepared with Invisible Woman and Taskmaster. So he knew I was going tall there. And one lane was like Shuri, ready to like boost something up. And I had the cards I needed, I had in hand. I had Red Skull in hand and I had Ebony Maw in hand. And the play I was going for was actually like bluffing out, going really, really big mid. And he basically he took the bite.
Right. Yep.
And then I just I have like this one issue is like I don't want to like take too long to make turns because I start overthinking things.
The amount of plays I've lost because I've gone
too slow.
This is right, and then I've gone, but what about this? And then you realize afterwards, I should have just done what I felt was right because it is right most of the time. Yeah.
So I had basically 2 play lines figured out that could have just gotten me the game, and I knew he was going for like if he wants to contest this. He had a big kitty in hand and he had his Iron Man ready because he bastard really late, so I was sure it must have been for his Iron Man. And I was expecting him, because I did the math for that, to go kitty mid and just boost Iron Man on an off lane to get even more profit out of that. Yeah. So I figured, easy game, just go big mid, beat the kitty, and you're done. I locked it in and I was like, what if he plays Iron Man mid?
Wait a minute.
And I was like, the second play I had in mind was just Shuri, like Ebony Maw on the Shuri lane to go for 14 would have been enough there.
Right.
And the Red Skull who has like no debuff because I had Sauron first could have gone on the weak lane, which was tight at that point, and I would have just gotten it.
Right.
So I had plan B already in my head, and then I saw the play going out, and I was like, damn, I was so right about this.
It's so difficult.
But it's basically just like, it was the right play for him to overcommit to this lane.
Right.
Because I expected him to do the right play, which would have not been overcommitting, but going for the
full circle,
safe lead, going for the safe lead.
Yeah.
And then just mind games. I just wrecked myself there.
And how was obviously we had the OTA not too long ago.
Yeah.
But how was Shuri Red Skull this tournament? Do you think it's good? Do you think
it's less of an OTA thing actually? I mean, yes, Red Skull got
there is a difference.
There.
Yeah.
But what really helped the deck even more is that you have one inconsistency, one tiny weakness, which is if you don't get Sauron, your cards just get
worse.
All of your cards get worse.
Yeah.
And then there is a card release, which is like, it's going to be a really, really controversial card. It's a Spider Ham, and Spider Ham in your opponent's deck helps your Shuri list.
Yeah, because hit any of my high costs.
Everything
great.
You hit besides Taskmaster and Shuri is going to help you.
Yep.
So I did. Like the deck did so well. Actually, LAMBY helped me twice with with hamming my Red Skull. But he knew because he sees what he hams.
Yeah.
So I couldn't like commit to these plays, and
it's kind of like it's a favor, but it's one you'll owe back because it's like, okay, well your Red Skull's now a pig, but I know your Red Skull's a pig now. So it's like difficult.
Oh, the card is really like, I imagine like. This card is going to be, just for the input it gives you, it's going to be a staple in many decks.
Yeah,
and
honestly,
I don't know how they're going to like figure this out, but either they give Iceman the same treating to know what you hit, or they're going to remove that from Ham, and this is going to be really important what they do.
Do you think they ever do something weird and like just make Ham like a 1-0? You know, do you think that's?
I don't know. I think
enough, or whatever? Do you think that's something that could even
I
happen?
think
Or
the true power level. I mean, they could have make him 1-1, and I would still
oh,
play
sure,
him.
make it.
I
Yeah.
would still play him
well, that's
for
the thing.
info
When
right?
I first saw Ham, his actual ability get like leaked or whatever, I was like, this could easily just be the best overall card in the game. It's so
like,
good and so easy to play. Right?
Everyone who still has 3K tokens and doesn't own the card, now is the time. Guys.
You're missing out.
Seriously,
Yeah.
It is just like that because this card gives you so much, like because of the info you get. Yeah? I mean,
100%.
White Queen is basically great because you get some kind of info as well.
And
The
what's
highest
my
card
opponent's turn
opponent's
6 probably going to
probably
look
gonna
like?
do,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
You're
yeah,
probably
yeah.
gonna do, but that's the point. Like if you play an opponent deck and you know he has Shang-Chi in list, and you ham him, and basically you see a Shang-Chi turning into a pick, you just have to slam that snap button.
yeah, you
This
cannot
is
be
your only
Shang-Chi'd.
threat.
Yeah.
I mean, this is why I like choose to put it in the lockdown list, because I had nothing to protect like the big guys there. So basically, in every bounce where I wanted to go with a lockjaw list, I wanted to like see, because in bounce you have really low cost cards and the tech cards are so expensive. Like that's why no one plays Sarah.
Yeah,
Sarah
because
Jack just
it's
basically
weirdly
just
too
single-handedly
expensive.
Shut down by Spider-Man.
Yep.
And the plan was just, if someone's playing like Iron Man or Shang-Chi, which are both like the cards that support to win against decks that go big, just have the ham there, and you have like one less thing to worry about.
And that's the thing, it's
'Cause you
just one
can't-
energy, right?
Yeah.
It's like, it's fine
It's-
to just play.
it is-
It's not like Shang-Chi,
Yeah.
where it's like, wow, this is 4 for 3. If I whiff, this is a problem. Whereas Ham, it's like, it's a 1-1, well, whatever,
And
go.
the best thing about, like, if you play it in the lockjaw list, you just go turn 3 play Thor, turn 4 you play lockjaw and ham if you have
Yeah,
him.
and then
I mean, yes, you basically get one less turn on energy for Hulk, but
you probably
just
get a
the
more
info,
overall powered turn,
and you get
right?
the info right in time.
Yeah.
Because the chances that he has Shang-Chi in hand by then is going to be really high, and he still has nothing to do with Shang-Chi other than just bust him on the board, because you don't have high power
in that
by then.
matchup. You're not tempoing Shang-Chi. It's not turn 4 on curve, guessing a Shang-Chi into a random lockjaw.
Just in case.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because the second that happens, as the lockjaw player, you're like, thank you.
Yeah,
like that's done and
Shang-Chi is
dusted.
way too valuable, and that was like in the playtesting we did. I mean, Howling basically is the reason why I made top 8. We had two evenings with like 2 hours of playtesting after the OTA. Actually 2 hours after the OTA and 2 hours before the OTA. And I was gambling really hard on High Evo getting a hit by the OTA.
Yeah, I think everyone expected it. I did.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
hey, what do we know?
Especially since they posted in the last patch notes, guys, this patch, we couldn't address Haibi because he wasn't released when the changes got logged in.
Yep.
And then I was expecting that this was basically like it's like a call that, guys, don't worry, next OTA.
We'll nudge it. We'll
we got
nudge it.
this,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And then there was just the OTA plus the announcement. Okay, we're gonna go on summer vacation, so you have to wait to the next patch, which is like,
Right.
I mean, High Evo is gonna be there, but actually, like playing these people here, I figured it's not even that big of a problem, because hands down bounce is actually, if you know how to play it, it's the best deck at the moment.
Yeah, it's the
Definitely.
difference between one deck being so far ahead of all the rest, and now we've got a couple. And again, in this format, you can build a second deck that's like built a certain way, right, to help out. So it's not like ladder, right, where you just I'll just queue whatever over and over and over again. There's a little bit of layers to it as to what you want to do. Are we good?
I mean,
okay.
all right.
Yep. So we're going to set up the next game, but we'll talk to you later. But thanks.
Sure. It was fun. It was a great event as well. Like, Kawa,
Appreciate it,
thank
my
you for
friend.
doing this.
Thank
Like,
you very much for coming. I really appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thanks
it was
a lot, my
awesome.
friend.
Great time.
Awesome.
Thank you. There we go. So we are going to get into the first semi-final. It is Den Lambie we're going to,
Den
right?
Lambie now, I believe Den has just gone to take a quick break, but we can get the new caster set up and comfortable. It's
Sure.
going to be...
We're going to move that trophy, though. I don't trust
we
that
can,
being there.
We can move this. We can leave it over here with the
Yep.
with the prince. We're going to get Eggs and Harry.
Oh, there you
on
go.
the cast.
A banger.
Yes.
Banger.
An absolute banger. So I'm actually just think, do you think we should give them both of this, or should I keep one of these to monitor because I'll be doing production? Use that. Both of these is probably ideal.
It's
and then
probably
I can
better.
just
Your call. You're
Yeah,
the one. I'm
these-
going to walk off and do nothing for a bit,
I know,
probably.
but no,
so.
these just sound best. So
Yeah.
we can set that up. I'm going to sit beside.
Yep.
Yeah, one second.
So do you want to go around that way, Eggs, and you can take Kawa's seat, and then
At least I can't hear myself. That was what I was concerned about. Okay.
Okay, 1, 2, 1, 2.
Oh, that's neat.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, it's very nice.
Can
I
you-
can wait. I can hear my voice.
Can you take a picture so I can tweet?
Why? Oh, I hear you, but why can I hear my voice when I'm talking?
You can't hear your voice?
No, I can hear my voice through the headphones.
that's because otherwise it's a caster thing. You won't hear yourself, and then it might get weird to talk.
Okay.
You can probably that's not easy.
Wait, my voice sounds nice through this.
You do sound nice. You do sound nice.
It sounds so much better than my actual voice.
Hi, chat.
Yo, I
It's
need this.
Me.
No, my voice sounds amazing through this. Yeah, it's fine. Everything's good.
Smile.
This is so good.
Kawa will set up everything and control the scenes. You've got one view,
That's so cute. What a cute pic.
and you'll see double view there. It's a bit small, but just
Yeah, we can work with it. We can work with it.
Want to mute yourselves at all? Harry, this is your one, and Eggs, this is your one. So you press the mute button. You're good to go.
So I can curse and
So well, you can curse if you want. Listen, it's my show.
Oh, you sound good too.
thank you.
I sound good too, do I?
Everyone
You guys
sounds
want to
good.
interview somebody?
Wait, can I move this so I can drink some water?
You can just interview with this mic. Can you hear me, X?
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
cool.
You can flick it, yeah. I know they're in their zone right now. Okay.
I can come over and sort interviews out. Don't worry, I'll sort it out.
Guys, let me tell you that it's still hot as crap in here. Let me just tell you how
Wait,
hot it is.
are we live?
Yes, we're actively live. There are people right there talking to
Yo,
you.
hello everyone.
They're saying he is here.
Harry just broke out of prison for this weekend. Of course I did. It's Prison Harry representing. How is everyone? Hey Ken.
Hi, Ken. Ken, I lost. I love you, though. I lost.
If I was there, you would have been champion. It sucks to suck. What can I say? I'm the first loser.
No, you're not. What are you talking about? You're not the first loser.
I am, because I'm the only one that didn't advance with a 3-2 score. Isn't second place the first loser always?
What? You're not second place.
You don't have to rub it in.
I'm trying. I'm doing my
waiting,
job.
I'm waiting for eggs right here, and then she's.
Why don't you talk? Can you give me a second?
Wait, what game are we watching? I don't even know.
Ooh.
Oh, that's a great match. That's a great match. Okay.
Because you'll be there, right?
Okay, so Den versus Lamby. I think they both have Evo and Bounce. Yeah, as their
Yes.
lists. It looks like Den queued high Evo and Lamby queued Bounce. Yeah. So we're gonna watch high Evo versus Bounce. It's obviously Lockjaw. It's a bit spicy. It has a Tokok in it, which I think it's there so that he can empty the Bounce's hand. It's actually a very interesting tech option that Den chose to bring.
Yeah. When I first saw Den's deck, I was very skeptical of the Doc Ock, but with the amount of bounce decks that we have that were brought, it sort of makes sense because you can really screw your opponent very well.
It is. It's a very interesting tech, and it's something that I actually never thought of before. And it seems like it's doing very well because
Yeah.
he's been crushing it this tournament. I think he hasn't lost a single game.
Yeah. Yeah, he hasn't. He's gone fully undefeated. So let's see. Spider-Ham just hit the Hulk.
Yes, it doesn't grow now, right? I think there was a bug at some point where the pig used to grow.
Ongoing ability is say if Hulk is 14, with the ongoing it stays at
Yeah, it stays. But interestingly, I don't know if they fixed it with the OTA, but before the patch, if you were able to copy the pigged Hulk, then the copy would get more power. It would get the ongoing ability. Actually, the second copy would still be Hulk with a pig skin.
Yeah. Den's camera's very laggy for some reason. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the standard dev. He has to have his cam at 15 FPS and all of his stuff.
No way. He truly is becoming the dingass.
Yes, exactly.
We have Lockjaw in the middle from Den versus the Angela location from Lamby. So that's going to be an interesting matchup because it seems like both of them are going to contest mid. But Lamby does have Beast in his hand, so he can, if he decides, he can just move all his cards to another location, depending on what Lockjaw is gonna pull out, which is a very good situation to be in. I'm thinking he's probably just gonna play Bishop this turn,
Yeah.
and then
Hellfire Club's quite awkward for bounce, especially once you've reduced cost, though, because if he bounces most of those cards, they'll all be 1 cost, and he won't be able to play into Hellfire.
they'll actually be 0 because he has Elysium.
Oh, with Elysium, yes, you're right.
So the combination of those 2 cards makes bouncing cards easier, but it also makes playing some cards worse at the same time. For
Yeah.
example, Mysterio is not going to create a clone in Hellfire Club because of Elysium, and he costs 1 now. I think. I don't know.
No, I don't think so. I think if you play it in one of the other lanes, it should play the card.
I don't know. We'll
Because
find
it
out. I actually
technically
don't
costs
know.
2.
I actually don't know
Let's find out together.
because
Okay.
you can't play it. There we go. Here's the
Okay.
Doc Ock, emptying Lamby's hand. Oh, this is so good. Even stops
We don't
Angela from proccing.
Okay, we hit Doom. The Angela proc missing is pretty awful for him. Has he moved Jeff? Or yeah, he just moved Jeff,
Yeah, he
which
just
is
moved
unfortunate.
Jeff on the right also.
So he's locked out there.
Oh, this is very interesting. And here we see exactly the Doc Ock tech versus bounce, which is what he's here for.
Yep. I almost think that Lamby leaves now.
He's not in a good spot.
There's not much you can really do to take this.
I wasn't really paying attention to snaps, but this looks like a snap from Lamby right here. It was an early snap, I guess. Yeah.
I must have missed the snap itself.
Yeah, he probably snapped earlier on, but this is a snap from Lamby because is it shown on the interface who snapped?
Nope.
Well, if it's not, then I can tell you it's from Lamby because I can see. Look at the cube there. It has circles coming out of it. While this cube right here, oh, they can't see us. Perfect. I can do whatever I want.
Yeah, you can do whatever you want.
This cube right here doesn't have circles coming out of it, meaning it's been snapped already. That's how you can tell.
Oh, TIL chat. Okay. Yeah, that's definitely the right choice for Lammy here. There's not much he can do with that.
Yeah. He couldn't do much. I love the aggressive snap though, and I think Dan has brought some very well thought out decks here with just one single spicy card in each of his decks that makes a huge difference in the matchups. He has a Valkyrie in his bounce and a Doc Ock in his Lockjaw, and both of those cards seem to be making the difference in the matchups that he wants them to.
It's so true. It really is true. I think that I was most concerned about Lammy's bounce, and I think that Den has brought the perfect deck to to counter it, quite honestly.
Yeah, my tech was just add wave in the bounce. And I played against Lamby's, on my last series, I played against Lamby's list. Browder was using the same list, and I beat it, I think, easily.
Yeah.
Because you can leverage the threat.
Oh,
Yeah, we have Lamentis here. Let's go. If there's a Doc Ock, and there is a Doc Ock in Den's hand.
So the Jubilee and the Lockjaw are actually super unfortunate for Den here because they're pretty much useless.
But there's no pig in Lamby's hand, so if that means his Doom and Odin are very safe, but at the same time...
This is a snap for Lamby, 100%.
Who snapped? Lamby?
Lamby, yeah.
Yeah. This is a good snap from Lamby.
This is a great snap for Lamby. I think this is an easy win for him, especially when he's got Bishop, Iron Man, and he can also bounce with Beast.
Dan just stays in, and he doesn't even have...
He has nothing to play until turn 4.
No, he can play Lockjaw for 2 on turn 3, and then High Evo on turn 4, and Doc Ock on 5. So I'm thinking he's going to spread out Lockjaw and High Evo, and then try to pull everything in the location he hasn't invested in.
Wait, what
with
happens
Doc
with
Ock.
the Tillin here?
With Attilan? Oh!
Oh, wow. This is really wacky. Okay, so they're actually only going to end up pulling 3 of their cards, so Lockjaw does have some value here for him.
You are absolutely right. Oh, he drew
Unfortunately, he pulled-
terribly.
Yep, He pulled all of his high cost cards. That's unfortunate. Oh, there's High Evo. That's good.
Oh, he's going into lock. What's in his deck now? He doesn't. He's
Jubilee, which is worthless for him. Well, actually, no, because he's got cards in his deck now.
yeah. If he pulls Jubilee, then Jubilee can even bring High Evo back, right?
Yes. But there's one more. There's two more cards in his deck, I believe.
There we go.
There's Jube.
And Magneto.
Nice.
Very nice. Very nice. I actually did not notice a Tillan there.
I mean, Lamby's hand still kind of trumps what we're looking at here, but he's
Yeah,
going to
that-
play Doc Ock here, which will. Gosh.
Lamby needs to go in this turn, or he's kind of doomed.
I think Lamby plays Iron Man here.
He's going in. Good job. Very good job.
Okay.
He knows about Doctor Doom, and he knows that Den's Wincon is pulling the cards out of Lamby's hand. So he's going in very, very nicely. The problem here is that he's giving his opponent all the info. So now Den can safely retreat. If he sees that he can't beat the points on the board, he can just say, okay, -2 cubes, that's it.
Yeah. And we're getting pulled our Iron Man
Yeah,
into
because
the
there's
left lane.
no more cards in his hand. So Den is winning the left location for sure.
What did he play in the left lane? Oh, it's one of the Mysterios. I missed him playing that.
Yeah, even if that's the real Mysterio, Den has
Doesn't
already
matter.
won the left location. So if Den
Well,
can,
no,
can beat
we've
the
got
right.
Kitty coming out, so he can replace her.
Oh, yeah, we have Kitty. Oh, very nice. Very nicely done. Very nicely done by Lamby. Very nicely done by Lamby.
Let's see what comes out of his deck this turn. Oh, no, that's it. They've got nothing else.
Yeah, he only has Kitty Pride.
Okay. Huh. That's a tough one. So we're getting +2 on Bishop?
This is a pure 50-50.
Yeah. A Bishop's +2 or +1? I'm forgetting right now.
Bishop is +1.
+1. Okay. So Bishop's only going to go up to a 10 here. So.
Yeah, it's a pure 50-50. Depends where Kitty Pride goes. And, yeah. Wait, he only has Odin in his hand, so Den cannot contest mid.
Well, so he can play, if he plays Doom here, we've got 15 in the Doc Ock lane. Oh, he's just playing Odin.
Yeah. It's a pure 50-50. Depends
Yeah.
on where Kitty goes and where Odin goes.
So we're looking at 16 in the left lane if he does infect Odin, which, yeah, this is definitely the right choice for Den here.
Or he can't. His deck should be empty, so he can put Odin on the right.
That is true. Does he really pull anything there, though? Most of the other stuff is not 3s or 4s.
Hey. This was a 50-50. I don't think he needed to retreat, but at the same time, I feel like Den feels like he has the advantage. He has the matchup advantage, so it's always better. When you feel like you have the matchup advantage, it's always better not to take risks, because there's no reason for you to take risks when overall you can win the game. And taking a risk and it doesn't pay off puts you at a huge disadvantage when you shouldn't be there. Like you're just risking for the thrill instead of tactically taking a risk that's going to pay off. The payoff is way too small for the risk that you're taking.
Especially with how being in the semifinals now, right? That's what we're currently in.
Yeah, we're in the semifinals.
Yeah, there's
Top 4.
There's no messing around here. This is it. All right. So this is a pretty good hand for Den for the most part. Now, as a lockjaw extraordinaire, self-proclaimed, I lean into the idea of playing Thor first before you even play a lockjaw, so you can shuffle the hammer.
That's what I always do
Yeah.
as well. You want the hammer in the deck so that you can maybe pull out your Jane and get everything in your hand. Or just have an extra 0 drop to shuffle with Lockjaw. But he doesn't have Lockjaw in his hand.
No, we just hope he pulls it now.
It's always Thor, turn 3.
Interesting that he chose to play Jeff there. Generally, I lean into playing Jeff and Aunt Mace, so you can have that big power to move anywhere.
I think it's because he already committed his Angela in Necrosha before Aunt Mace showed up. So he wants to pump Angela.
Oh, there's Lockjaw. We just drew it. Lucky.
Here we go.
Streamer RNG, which I don't have.
I don't think Dan is a streamer though. He doesn't stream.
Does he really not stream?
No.
Well, he's streaming right now.
He's on camera. That's a streamer.
Exactly. All right, we're bouncing Jeff here. Orcus is awkward for a bounce deck here because
Yeah,
he's really going to block himself from draw.
He just filled up his hand and can't draw any more cards.
Yeah.
Which is very, very unfortunate for him. I don't know if he's looking for anything right now, though.
Yeah, he's got a pretty great hand.
His hand is very good.
But getting Kitty has always got value behind it. And a Bishop would be nice with the amount of low-cost cards he's got.
Now, so he's probably playing, again, he's probably playing around Dokok.
Gokok, yeah.
Because he's forced to. And he's going to get 2 more Sentinels in his hand. He's still able to move Jeff. He's just thinking where to invest the 4-power Mysterio. And it looks like he's going to try to contest the Aunt May's location.
His Aunt May's hasn't been activated yet. So that Mysterio is going to move.
Oh, it's going to move in the middle.
Yep. Odin, okay. Well, that does nothing for him there.
Yeah, but that's
Okay,
a lot
there
of
we
power.
go.
That's a lot of power.
There's our Doc off pull.
Oh, my. But then again, maybe Lamby can contest it with the Iron Man there. I don't think so.
Lambie's going to have an open spot here because that Mysterio is going to bounce to the center. So Lambie can actually contest that.
I don't know if he maybe
Depends
with,
on what comes out of the deck next.
does he run Chavez?
Yes, he does run Chavez.
No, maybe with Chavez there's something he can do. Let's see.
So that's moving.
Chavez doesn't cut it. 1 point short. We are 1 point short with Chavez right now.
Yeah, so what are we looking at? 14. Yep. Oh, no, he's 30.
18. Plus 18 to the 10. 28.
14 times 2. 28. You're right. Guys, I've never been good at math.
It's just 10 plus 18. Double the Chavez.
I don't understand what you're saying to me because
There's
I'm tired.
There's an Iron Man there, so Chavez gets doubled.
Right.
She's 18, so he's adding 18 to the 10.
To the 10. You got me. Yep. Math is too hard. Chat.
Math is hard indeed.
Stay in school, kids.
So if
So-
it looks like Dan is very, very clearly able to calculate exactly how many points Lamby can put out, and he's already played around it, already prepared.
Has Jeff moved?
Jeff has moved, but it doesn't really matter, does it?
So the Mysterio in the
Hasn't
center
moved.
is actually 7. Yeah, this is the right choice for Lambie here.
Yeah. For 1 cube, you always take the retreat there. There's no reason. There's no reason to stay more.
They're both being extremely conservative with their snaps.
Yeah, it's a quarterfinal, no, semifinal.
Semi,
It's a
yeah.
semifinal. There's money on the line. You're gonna be as conservative with your snaps and retreats as possible. If you don't clearly have the advantage, you're not gonna do anything wild or extreme.
Yeah.
Because on one side, I feel like both players feel that they have a good matchup. I think Lamby feels like he can play around the Dogok tech. After he experienced it at the first game, he's consistently been trying to play around the Dogok tech. And then at the same time, Dan feels like he has the advantage because of the Dogok tech at the same time. And yeah, that's why they're both playing conservatively, trying to preserve their theoretical advantage.
So this is not an excellent hand as far as Lockjaw goes, but he does have Doc Ock in hand.
Lamby's hand just got
Yeah.
very, very good.
And our high cost for Ham is either going to hit Magneto or Doom here.
He can play both Jeff and Kitty on the left, lock it down, make sure his Iron Man doesn't get pulled by
Yeah.
Doc Ock next turn.
Oh, we just top decked Lockjaw.
Does he have a follow up to that? No.
But
it's still playing
nothing to play.
Yeah, playing Lockjaw on turn 4 without Wasp just feels bad. He opted not to even play that.
Makes sense.
And I'm thinking Doc Ock probably goes in New York to limit his opponent's options. Uh, That's the best play I can see from then on turn 5. Because if you pull everything in New York, then your opponent can't move cards there. But at the same time, you yourself can move cards there and just steal the location very, very easily.
That Jubilee's pulling a Wasp, a 1,000%. An Odin, now it's going to be
Oh
Wasp.
my God, that's so good. And he gets a second hammer. If
Yep.
imagine he pulls Jane out of this.
Oh, wow.
Oh wow. That's so good. 22 power. Just like that.
With no way to bounce back. Unless
There's Wasp.
There's Beast, but who just snapped? Den?
I think I saw 2 snaps there. Did I? No, it's 1 snap. It looks like
All right, so we see him playing into New York to try and lock out his options. But right now, if he does Beast here, he is going to screw himself, essentially.
I think Beast is good. It's going to give you more options.
Yeah, but if Doc Ock gets pulled, then what's the point? He's playing Doc Ock into New York. So if he Beasts, everything comes out.
Oh.
With
yeah.
no Bishop prop, no Angela prop.
Now, this is going to be interesting because if we can see, like, it depends on the sequence here because Beast can bounce Iron Man. But what? Oh, he retreated? He retreated. Very good, very good. Very good from Lamby. Doesn't stay for the extra cubes. He
That's
feels
good.
like he's not in a good spot. And then high rolled also. So, yeah, that was the best line probably.
Yeah, if Beast bounced Iron Man, I mean, it just sucks. Big time.
Yeah, the sequencing of that would have been really strange. Because it definitely depends on the order, you know what I mean? If Beast comes down first, then it's just 8, but then if it's the other way, it's like, well, now I just have a 4 Power Iceman, you know, so.
Yeah.
I'm loving what I'm seeing here. Both players are playing very, very high level Marvel snaps, especially the snaps and retreats are on point. They're very aware of their opponent's strengths and weaknesses, and they're doing such a good job. Hope you guys are enjoying it because this is as high level as Marvel Snap competitive Marvel Snap goes.
Oh, 1,000%. Are you a Bast on Curve player if you've got a lot of zeros in your hand?
It depends. You need to calculate your potential draws and the value you're going to get from Bast, and then you decide whether you're going to play it or not.
It's always a tough choice for me when I have Kitty because there's so much value in Basting Kitty because if you Bast after playing Kitty, then it's...
I think it's just 1 point at the end of the day, isn't it? The difference.
I Bast here, 1,000%.
Yeah, you always Bast here.
I think I value playing Kitty first personally because then it means on turn 2 you're being energy efficient in terms of like you play Kitty for 1 and then turn 2 you just play Kitty and then play Bast again. But again, it depends how much do we really care and Snap about energy efficiency. You know what I mean? Obviously, it depends on the deck that we're playing. You know what I mean?
Oh, interesting.
It also depends on your hand, I think.
So
100%, yeah.
he's decided that he would rather Bast and Hitmonkey.
Yeah.
So it looks like next turn we'll probably see a Kitty Pride in that lane and then a Beast. Oh, we're changing our mind. I really think this is the better play. Okay, we've got a Thor. Not much in his hand to pull that for. And we haven't seen Jane at all.
Yeah. Does he have it in the deck?
I don't know. Jane, where are you?
Jane Moczek?
If he has Thor, I would very much assume he has Jane.
We have
I can
not
check
seen
the
her.
list, but I assume it is in there, yeah.
We have not
It's
seen her.
most probably in there, yeah. What's the play here? I think you... Yeah. I think that's...
I don't know. There's no value in bouncing Bast.
There is. If you have Mysterio in your hand, it's
Yeah,
extreme value. It's a 2/3. It's like
That's true.
2 energy, almost Doctor Doom. It's insanely good.
I sort of feel like I would Kitty Hitmonkey here, and then Bast. The Bast.
I think
Beast.
what Lamby is doing here is trying to play ahead of Doctor Doom. He's bouncing everything now, so he has options next turn. The problem here is if Dan plays mid, which we can see he did, he's going to take priority off of him, and priority really, really matters here, I think. Yeah. No, it doesn't. It doesn't really matter because even if you bust your Mysterio and he gets pulled out by Doc Ock, then he's just a 3-power card. He doesn't get any clones.
Of course, Jubilee pulling her partner America after you shuffle the deck once. So with Lockjaw in hand and nothing cheap to shuffle in, not much you can do there. Where I'm leaning towards Lambie in this one.
Wait,
And
do we not have Dogok in?
and we actually are in an possible 8-cube game.
Yes, both players snapped. Oh, no, one player snapped, right? It's
No?
it's round
Oh,
5. Yeah,
you're right. It's
Lamby snapped. I do think he has the advantage in this specific matchup. But
Absolutely.
just because I can see both hands, though, and I know Dogok is not in dense hand, but it just goes to show you how perceptive, what a perceptive player Lamby is.
Yeah.
And he knows when to push the limits and when
he's
to
not even basting the Mysterio.
and when to because he's playing around Dogok. We know that Dogok is not in dense hand, but Lamby is just playing as optimally as he can.
That's a big monkey.
That's a huge monkey. 13 power monkey. And then he has the Iron Man to contest mid. I think Lamby's in a great spot right now.
See what comes out.
Problem is he gave away the 1 energy.
He's got 6 power here because of super flow. I think he dooms here.
Yes, he probably dooms because he has an Odin next turn. I would actually doom left here.
Left.
Yes, I know it sounds strange because in case there's a very small chance you draw the hammer. So if you doom left, you can Odin both
Yes.
doom and hammer.
Yep. Okay.
If
for
he were
leaning
if he
towards
were to
Magneto.
doom, but that's it. That's a very good option.
Yeah, this play is pretty good as well because obviously he gets to brick the lane.
Yeah.
Seems like a good alternative play.
He gets to brick the lane if Lamby doesn't play Kitty Pride on the right, which he shouldn't because he doesn't want to put more, Vibranium.
Well, it doesn't matter. We're on turn
in
5. He
in his-
pulls
in his
America
deck.
next.
Oh yeah, yeah, you're right. He pulls America next.
There we go. The lane is locked, so that's just going to be Den's lane there on the right.
Yeah. So it looks like Den is winning right, no matter what, and that's where Lamby invested a lot of points. So that's not looking very good for Lamby.
So, I mean, Mojo World, it really just becomes the deciding factor.
I think Lamby has to retreat now. There's no way he's staying here. He can't do anything. But he doesn't have points left. If he needs to fill up Mojo World, that means he barely has any points left.
So Den has ended his turn here, and he's played Odin mid to fill up the Mojo World to re-proc the Jubilee, and he has also played Vibranium on Vibranium Mines, which makes sense because he doesn't know that isn't the real Mysterio on the right side. So technically he could be winning that lane, but this is just a guarantee that he takes that right lane there.
Yeah.
And there's an opportunity here for Jubilee to pull Doc Ock, which could actually be in Lambie's favor.
Lamby has to go all in on in the middle.
It's got to be middle, yeah.
Yeah, and he's getting left for free with just Vibranium. That's I think maybe Lamby does have it.
Yes, there you go.
Does have a chance to win this if he goes all in Mojo World and doesn't retreat. Definitely feels like he's not in a good spot. Like I would feel like I'm not in a good spot there.
Well, he doesn't know what's going to come down on Superflow. I do think he's going too heavy into Superflow.
I think
though.
he's probably just leaving.
Yep.
Yep.
That's a smart thing to do. Yeah, he used all of his time available to him to really think out his turn there, and I think the retreat is perfectly fine there. Obviously, it is a big hit. It's 4 cubes, but I mean, if he misplayed there and he didn't go all mid, he was just pretty much out, right? He would have lost.
Yeah,
Right.
he was out. He was out, and it looked tough for him. Like I would have done the same thing, but knowing what we know, knowing Den's play, he could have won that game. He was literally getting the left side for free.
We've seen in the chat everyone saying it's the power of Kawa's accounts just because Den's using my
Power
account.
of Kawa's account.
He said it's the power of the Doc Ock variant as well. He loves the Noir
Noir
one
one,
from
it's
the
a good
bundle.
one.
Really, really nice.
And yes, chat, it is hot in here. The AC is still broken. UK, figure your shit out. We could be in air conditioning in the US.
I think Lamby has a very good hand. He would rather have Kitty Pride in his hand right now, but everything else is pretty much what he wants at the beginning.
The squirrel being able to bounce that is excellent too.
Yeah,
Especially
he
if
gets
you
to-
sit on mirror for a little bit and then pull it.
Exactly. He gets to buff the squirrel and then bounce it back and decide whether he wants to reinvest in Muir Island or just move it somewhere else. It's pretty good. Also, Jeff at the same time. Oh, he's going for the bounce immediately.
I
That's
think
very interesting.
I think there's value in playing Mysterio here to get that non-Mysterio to actual power.
I think what he's doing right now is what I would do. I would play Bishop there just to get the extra buffs and then bring it back. But he's deciding to. Well. Yep, that's
I'm
the
a
play.
bit quiet. I'll turn myself up.
That's the play because taking advantage of the Muir Island buff is so good. And now you can play Bust into Beast, buff your whole hand. Perfect. That's really good. So he's not bouncing left because he wants to take advantage of Muir Island. Continuously, his cards are getting buffed there and growing larger and larger. But as we can see, Den has the magic. He just drew Lockjaw on turn 4. And yeah, he has the magic play of Lockjaw into Wasp. That's such a powerful play. That's why this deck is so good.
But what does he truly have in his hand that's worth, or his deck that's worth pulling right now?
He's
got all of his big boys right there.
Yeah, he has Odin, I think, left in his deck.
Odin, sure, Thor.
That's good too.
Still, no, Jane.
Does he even run Jane?
That's what we're asking.
I think he replaced Jane with Dogok.
Does he have Jane? I think you're actually right. I actually think you're correct with that. Why is that the loudest thing in the world? Okay, let's see what Lammy's up to.
So Lamby's already done his bounce play, and this is turn 5, where he will play around Dogok. And we see
Doc Ock's going into sewer system here.
Dogok is going down on the right, and then let's see what Lamby does.
That Hulk is scary. He's sitting at a 20 right now.
And also, Lamby is out of options. This is a do-or-die game, every game for Lamby. He needs to win 4 in a row to bring it back. He's in a very, very difficult situation.
He's filling the lane. Okay.
There we go.
Sheesh.
He did not need to play Spider-Ham on the right.
Well, he was trying to buff his Hitmonkey as much as possible.
Oh, so it depends where he wants to have a full location and where he wants to have options.
Yeah.
Okay. I get it.
It's a big boy.
Yeah. I think Lamby's in a very good position here. It's the first game where he's in a very, very good position. And then he gets Chavez off the top. And yeah, he picked the Doom.
Doom is good there. Because hitting the Hulk won't do anything for him, honestly.
I don't see a play here where Den can take this. GG's.
Yeah.
1 down for Lamby. 3 more to go, right?
Because he can't play into anything into mirror without it shuffling, so that's null and void. Because if he kept Doom, there was an option, there was a chance, but he's got nothing to play there.
We're just waiting for Dan to finish his play. He's obviously going to stay in the game because there's no reason for
There's
him
no reason
not
not
to.
to.
There's no reason for him to retreat. He's just thinking about the play. Obviously, knows there's nothing he can do because he doesn't have anything that he can use. He can't play 2 cards, basically. He can only play in 1 location. His Doom is pigged, but we can see that Doom would not have won. We know that. So it doesn't matter what he does. He just plays a pig for fun.
Of course. Classic Wasp pull. This is a huge
game over.
This is a huge one for Lammy, sitting on the cusp of ending the whole thing for himself, but he can claw his way back. I'm a believer.
Yeah, I believe too. Lamby's a great player. If anyone can do it, it's Lamby for
Yeah.
sure. So is this the beginning of the comeback?
I think so.
And then, okay, here we go. 6 more cubes to go. That's a great hand for Lamby, even though I don't think he particularly enjoys Dark Dimension. Not a very good location. So he's going to have to play Kitty Pride somewhere else so he can bounce it. But the hand is great.
Oh, there's Jane. She's there.
Oh, she exists.
She exists. Wow, that's crazy. How many rounds have we been in? We haven't seen her. It's wild.
This is round 7. I think is it the first time we've seen it?
I-
Seen her? Or maybe we were too preoccupied
No,
to
I
notice that
think
she
I
was.
checked his hand pretty much every time.
Pride and Spider-Ham here. Even though Throne Room is cards here with the highest power. Oh, that's great for Lamby if he can get his Kitty Pride big enough. Or maybe the hit monkey, if he manages to draw it, can steal that location very
Right,
easily.
that's good. Dark Dimension doesn't really favor either of these decks here, except if Lammy or Den is able to pull Doc Ock, honestly.
It's a bit worse for Lamby because he's forced to play his Angela and Bishop somewhere else, especially if he wants to bounce on that location. And
Hala.
Hala can be very risky.
Yeah. And I have a feeling that Den would very easily battle him in that location.
He can just play a random Jubilee, high roll the Hala draw, and then you lose all your cards
Yep.
there. So
I don't think it's
Lamby's
ever worth it.
options are very limited right now. Very, very limited. And you can see that he's just playing in Throne Room because that's the only location he has where he can do his bounce stuff. Angela, Bishop, Beast, all that stuff. Without any risk of losing his cards.
This is a great bounce opportunity, though, for him with both Angela and being able to hit another card, possibly, because he knows that Den has got multiple 6 costs in his hand.
Oh, yeah.
And if he can hit that Magneto, it could be very valuable for him.
Yeah, for sure. Here we go. And then he's going to need to play around as he's always done every single turn. Just having that, this is the beauty of having specific tech cards in your deck. Just having them and your opponent being aware of them forces them to change their plays, forces them to play around non-existent cards. Here, then high rolls the Hulk, and I think that's it for the mid location. I don't think
Yep.
Lamby can contest that location anymore.
Just abandon that.
Yeah, he has to abandon that for sure right now.
But this is an excellent hand for him.
He does have an excellent hand, but I feel that he's going to try to play around Doc Ock again, and that's going to be to his detriment. If he needs to not play around Doc Ock and just do his thing. Oh,
Why?
I don't think he's going to go for that. I think he's just putting the card there, doing the math, seeing how many cards he can play, checks how big he can make the hit monkey.
Yeah, how
and
big is Hulk? I think he's a 13?
I can't see the numbers from here, but
36, so he's
18.
18? Yeah.
18. And he's not going to grow anymore,
Okay,
but I don't
so-
think he can beat 18. There we go. Lamby playing without fear.
Yeah, definitely the
should.
Iron Man was my choice in Dark Dimension.
As he
there.
should.
So he's Den is pulling the hammer with Jane here and also Wasp.
Yes.
And I think we're looking at a Hammer Odin turn 6.
It doesn't matter because Odin is in the location that Lamby has already abandoned. He's not going to invest any more points in that location. I think Lamby has a very, very good chance here. I think he can go very tall in the other 2 locations, especially left. Because he has Iron Man, he doesn't need to invest too many things. Just Angela and then a Mysterio even, and he's good to go. Yeah.
I think that is also Jane
Oh.
playing Jane turn
Wait,
5
what?
can sometimes be a trap, right? For yourself, trying to decide if do I continue investing in the Lockjaw lane because maybe there's somehow he can take it, but
He can get a free card in Lockjaw, but we know that
it's not worth it. Like if it was Doom still in his deck,
Doctor
then
Doom.
yeah.
Doctor Doom is in his hand and gone. The problem with Dark Dimension is that Bishop isn't going to grow with the cards you play outside of Dark Dimension. So you're forced to invest Angela in the Dark Dimension location, and then maybe Bishop outside Dark Dimension. I would play Angela and Mysterio on the left because I think Hitmonkey and Kitty Pryde are
It's sort of
huge. Like there's no
overkill
way.
over there, yeah.
There's no way he can beat those 2 cards.
So all we're looking at in the left lane for him is 8. Oh, okay. Well, I don't know. Magneto doesn't feel like the right play there for him.
Oh, so then went for the right location, which means Lamby made the correct call. Lamby absolutely made the correct call, and now he's won, right? There's no way.
Yeah.
There's absolutely no way that he can't beat 21 on the right. Yeah, we're already at 13, and Monkey's going to be huge. So
That's a metric crap ton of cards he's playing right now. Wow. Great. Great play.
So he would have barely won if he had played Angela on the left.
Excellent. Lammy's really turning the tides here.
Yeah, he made an amazing call, giving up on the left, because probably then noticed that he played a zero-cost Kitty Pryde plus one other card, so then knew that there was an Iron Man on the left. And Lamby took advantage of his opponent knowing his play, and he realized that his opponent is never going to contest the Iron Man location, and just put the minimum amount of points he could put in that location, and went to the other and contested the other location, which paid off in spades. He's now only 2 games away.
This hand is amazing for Lammy right now. Great opening hand.
Yeah, Iceman is such a good card against
And being
Lockjaw.
able to bast here on all of these cards.
Oh,
and
and Mysterio. Let's go.
It's
Let's
in the
go.
bag.
This hand is so good. He immediately goes for Iceman before turn 3. Very smart. So he can hit that Lockjaw. He can hit that Thor and limit his opponent's options. That's very good. Doesn't go for bust.
Interesting.
We can see that Thor is in his hand, so there's a very high chance that... No, it's not a very high chance, because he also has Jane, he also has Doc Ock, Jubilee. All those cards can get hit by Iceman. I think the best case scenario for Den is probably...
Doc Ock, I would say.
He hits the Thor. Let's go.
Thor's also very good. He can't play anything this turn.
Yes, just limits his turn 3 play. That's why he played it on turn 2.
Makes sense.
Oh, we top deck the Lockjaw. We don't care. We
But
don't care.
nothing to do.
We
Nothing
don't
to
care. We
do.
just top deck the Lockjaw instead. Let's go. Yeah, but he has a play.
Well, yeah, he plays Jubilee into Lockjaw next turn.
Yeah. The point was to limit his plays and force him to just stare at the screen for one more turn. But we don't care. We just top deck the Lockjaw. That's how you win championships.
The second semi is going to be cast separately from this. We wanted to make sure that everybody got to be seen.
Okay, Lamby doing bounce things. I'm thinking we're playing bust this turn. Or
I
maybe even
lean to-
Spider-Ham?
I
Yeah, let's go.
I think for Den, it's a... Honestly, I would have played a Thor first,
Oh, he
then
top
Wasp.
decked Wasp. Turn 3. Lockjaw to top 10-4 Wasp with Jubilee in his hand. Okay, that's the high rolls right there.
Yeah,
That's the high rolls
I guess
right there.
he's hoping for at least Doctor Doom here.
It doesn't matter. His hand went from dead to
Alive.
yeah, almost perfect. That's the kind of high rolls that indeed win you championships. Like
That's for sure.
that's how you know that you're having a great day. Because he was in a very bad spot. That Iceman just really put him in a corner, and then through top decks, just it's like Iceman didn't even exist.
Okay, we hit the Odin there.
That's actually the only hit that was available in his
Right.
hand. And then he has the potential to really, really high roll these pools because all the big cards are still in his deck. Okay,
Oh.
we hit high Evo. That's good for Lamby. That's good for everyone watching, because it keeps Lamby still in the game.
We get one more round out of this for sure.
Maybe. And then Beast and Kitty Pryde.
I think
The
you
thing
moved
is,
Jeff.
yeah, you need to play your bust this turn. But at the same time, do you bust first or do you bust after the beast? Because if you bust after the beast, you're probably also buffing your Spider-Ham.
Which I think would be a good idea for him here. It's
Yeah.
a 0-3 that you're putting back into your hand.
The only thing is you're losing 2 points on Angela, so you can gain 3 on Spider-Ham. I don't know if that's what he wants to do.
But I even think you... Oh.
So he's just bouncing Bust and Iceman back. Okay.
I mean, I was thinking more we move Jeff Kitty and Beast into the right lane and just spit cards on the last turn.
That's what I was thinking too, but
He's
Lamby
trying
knows
to
better.
dodge. He's trying to dodge that Doc Ock, and he is actually making the correct choice here, which
Yep.
is
Oh yeah, he played
crazy.
perfectly. He played around Doc Ock perfectly, Chad.
nice, excellent. Dude,
Lam-
Lamby's
Lampy.
reads are insane.
Yeah, showing once again why he's a great player. Such a good read, such a good read. Just like last game, an amazing read. So now he has so many options.
And his kitty is big.
Yeah, but he's gonna have to contest. Let's see what he tries to contest, because he's obviously most probably winning, right? And then it's all about mid and left.
So Den here is playing Sentinel into Baxter and Thor on Isle of Silence.
What does he still have in his deck that can I don't see, I don't.
Hulk?
Oh yeah, we have Hulk.
Yeah.
So he's going for the Hulk high roll here. He's basically going for the Hulk high roll, and then this is gonna force Lamby to play around Hulk, but he's not. He's not playing around Hulk. So if Hulk comes out, it's game over.
Well, we could pull Wasp. We could pull the Hammer.
Yeah, it's not 100%, but
It's definitely a high chance. I mean, do you ever just try to take Orcus Forge?
I think you don't contest that. You're way behind.
Really?
13 power.
13? We've got a 10 cost kitty.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think you need it.
10 power kitty, and
Oh
you got
my
Jeff
God.
you can move. Oh, no. This doesn't feel good.
It doesn't feel good, but it's a risk that he has to take. No, it's all up to the RNG gods. Let's see.
All right, let's see.
It's all up to the RNG gods now. Oh, he hit the wasp.
No! Oh. Damn you, Wasp.
Wait, can we go over 7 though?
Yeah, with Angela.
Okay, by 1.
By 1, yeah. That is unfortunate.
Oh my God.
Wow. Oh, my God.
Oh my God. I think Lamby's luck is changing, or
What
Dem's
a
luck is abandoning him.
series. What a series. This is nuts.
This is so good. This is so good by both players. Just Lamby making the perfect reads.
So this is it, guys. This is our last
Game.
game.
We have ourselves an amazing game here.
Yeah, and so
Round 9.
as a reminder, what's happening now is whoever loses here will then play in a loser match to take the 3rd place.
Oh,
And then the winner here goes to the grand finals.
yes. So it's single elim except like a losers final to decide 3rd and 4th. Other than that, just one game for everyone.
Oh, Raptors.
Raptors, I don't think Lamby cares about the Raptors. More things to bounce, I think.
We top decked Lockjaw and Jubilee here. And always top decking that octopus. Doc Ock is always there.
Doggo is always there, but Vibranium Mines is, anyone that plays Lockjaw knows that
Bad.
Vibranium Mines is not a location you wanna have in your game. And then, as always, Iceman getting all the value, hitting. Oh, now Lamby knows that Togok is there, hitting the,
Oh, he got the luck.
Jubilee?
Good Doc Ock.
which is gonna make his plays very awkward. But we can see then thinking about utilizing that beast, so he has 0 cost cards to drop into his Lockjaw
True.
and recycle them. But
is
he's only going to bounce one
One.
card and then also block his draws, which I don't think he minds. You want to block your draws so your big cards stay in the deck and you can pull them for free with that Raptor. So I'm wondering, if you beast the Raptor, he costs 0, and then you play him into Lockjaw, can you pull the Raptor with Jane? Can you draw the Raptor with Jane? Because he costs 0 now?
Yeah,
You should, right?
I think so.
That's going to be interesting. Let's see. Let's see if that happens.
So what can we pull here? Thor, Jane, Doc Ock. Definitely not America, because we have not shuffled the deck yet.
Okay, Lamby decides to bounce mid, get those 0 cost Raptors, also blocking his draw if he goes for that play. which makes sense. You want that kitty to cost 0. It gives you so many options
It
for the
really
last turn.
does.
But blocking your draw is also kind of bad at the same time because you want to draw into your bus. There's so many good cards you still have in your deck.
We want to top deck Hit Monkey here too. If
Yeah,
we
we want Hitmonkey, but no draw for Lamby this turn.
A Daily Bugle turn. I'm sorry. The Doc Ock next turn is actually good for him. Maybe into the Lockjaw lane.
Yeah, if he pulls.
If he plays Doc Ock here with his kitty.
Oh, they're
he's
both going
it.
for the dog. That's very interesting.
Well, no, Den hasn't decided yet.
I think Dan is going to go for the dog for sure here. There's no way.
They're doing the identical play.
That's a great play by Lamby because if Dan's Dog Ock pulls Iron Man, then he's in a great spot, depending on what comes down.
I think all of these cards are really fine to get pulled.
But we can see that Dan's hand is kind of stacked. There's a Hulk there, there's a Magneto there.
Yeah, but then
there's
you
an
know
Odin
to
there.
ignore that lane, right? So he's gonna brick his lane. Oh, we decided not to run Doc Ock.
Oh, he's playing around a Dog Ock on the left, right? We can see Dan is playing the Dog Ock in the middle, but at the same time, there's only going to be one free slot in the middle because Lamby is going to play his Mysterio, so there's only going to be one free slot in the middle. And I think Dan is going to get a free location in the middle.
No, he's not. If Den is playing Doc Ock here, he's playing Iron Man and Dr. Octopus.
No, only one of those two is coming down because of Mysterio.
Oh, Mysterio, you're right. All right, I guess we'll see. Doc Ock.
So he's getting a free location in the middle. That's best case scenario for Lamby actually, because he gets more info about what is in Dan's hand. Okay, Odin. He still lost the middle. Like he knew he lost the middle.
He's filling his hand.
Oh my God!
Wow.
Oh my God! He pulled Odin and then Beast bounced everything back. Oh my God! That Beast play is coming back to bite Den.
Holy shit. Look at Den's
Holy
face.
fuck!
That very well could have been the end of the game for Den.
Oh my God! What an insane play. I think the game is over.
I would say
There's
so
not a single
too.
card in the game that can turn this around, can turn this board around.
Well, let's look at what Den's got in his hand. He's got a 4-cost Doc Ock. He's got a 5-cost Odin, a 0-cost Raptor. So he could put Raptor in to pull his America in the right lane, right?
And then Hulk somewhere else. That's his only out. But Lamby's making sure he doesn't have any outs because he's playing Kitty and Iron Man on the right.
What an unbelievable
With
game.
Mysterio already there, that's just an incredible amount of points. 10, 18, 36 points on the right. There's nothing in the game that he can pull from Lockjaw that can win that.
This truly goes to show you
Lamby with a comeback. I think
how-
it's GG.
how RNG just can absolutely change the tides.
Yes, that was best case scenario for Lamby. That was the only card that he could have. That was the only way that sequence wins him the game. His opponent needs to pull Doc Ock, and then his Doc Ock needs to pull Odin on the beast location. Unbelievable.
What a series.
GG. Good job.
Great
Very
job,
good
both
job.
players. Incredible.
What a series. What a freaking series.
So for anybody who
So good.
is joining us recently, Den has so far gone undefeated in all of his games.
He
And this
gets,
is his first loss.
he gets
and
dropped down to the
Losers game next.
to the losers games with just one loss, which must feel bad for him. But
Definitely. I
but
mean,
it was a great game. It was decided by RNG at the end. But yeah, this is Marvel Snap.
Lammy has incredible reads. It's just out of this world. I played Lammy when he first started really leaning into Snap. And the first time he played me was the first time he ever played a Thanos deck. And I got wrecked.
That Thanos back then though was on a
Well,
different
I mean,
level.
his first time playing Thanos, no, he just slayed me. Can we switch screens? Yeah. Hi. Okay.
For the mic. Well, we're doing. What are we
We're
doing?
gonna interview them.
We're doing interviews.
Whoever comes over first, I guess.
Okay, that's great. So yeah, but it was an incredible series. I think I'd be devastated
I would be too.
if I was then, and if I were Lambi, I'd be so extremely happy right now because that game went perfectly for
I
him.
am overjoyed for Lammy. Honestly,
He made the perfect reads.
Incredible.
You know,
Dennis joining
the
us.
last turn. Help us out.
Hello, hello.
Hello, Dan. How do you
Hi.
feel?
It's okay, honestly. Had a great run. I think I still have a small final to play for money.
Yes.
I'm
You have
having a
one
ton
more
of fun. It's a great event overall.
I'm glad you're having a good time because you played amazingly well, and it all came down to a bad RNG roll for you to
Seriously.
Yeah, I
lose
mean,
the series.
I think I had shots to win it, and there was one play where he got me on the Dock Hawk where he filled the right location, and this is where my brain went like, hey, remember, you're playing Lamby series, maybe it's not time to be cocky, and that kind of put me back in it, and I think those cubes cost me the series, so...
I think you played very, very well, but Lamby also played very well. I think that was as high level Marvel Snap as it's gonna get.
really-
You guys played an amazing series. Congratulations to
was
both
good.
of you.
I think like it's fun, but my first and my last game of the tournament, well, I still won, but officially my first loss. Like the first one was MOYEN, and it was bounce against Electro Ramp, and we went 1-1 in the last round. And now I go Lamby, I go 2-2 in the last round. Like these are gonna be memories I'm gonna keep for a very long time in
Yeah.
tournament.
And
I love. I mean, being able to cast that. What a wild series that was.
yeah, I feel very lucky that we were able
Yeah.
to cast that. But I just wanna sit on that last play. Like, how many cards did you have on in your hand when that happened?
6?
You had 6 cards, so you lost a 50-50 and then a 1 in 6.
Yep, it's okay.
That must sting.
It happens sometimes.
It
It's
does happen, but
Yeah, I mean, in the rounds, I got lucky at some point. Like, I super high rolled SPECI 9-0 in a lockjaw mirror when he had clearly the better list for the mirror. So I got my luck previously. I had to pay it at some point.
I'm glad. That's a great attitude to have because you're a
Yeah.
great player. You played amazingly this tournament, the whole tournament. I
Thanks,
think
thanks.
you were the person to beat. You were the person everyone was talking about, and then you brought the spice in your decks. That made all the difference. Like an amazing deck builder because your Doc Ock in the
lockjaw.
in the
I have
lockjaw.
to give a little credit to Fresh Lobster as well, and Volvi was right there. Like, we talked a ton, and we have that mentality of, throw a lot of stuff to the wall and see what sticks. And it was during one of those talks where the Doc Hawk idea came in, and then I literally messaged Volvi at like 2 a.m. on the last day before submission. Hey, dude, you're up for a conquest run. I need to test something. And we were just like two fuckers at 4 a.m. going like, oh my god, Doc Hawk is amazing! And so was
It
so good.
really is
It
amazing.
really is.
But it's both the techs. You brought the spice with Doc Ock in Lockjaw and then Valkyrie in Bounce, and both of those cards like paid off in spades because just having those cards in your hand forces your opponent to play differently. We saw Lamby playing around Doc Ock so many times, even when you didn't have him in your hand, and he
Yeah.
doesn't want to do that. He doesn't want to show you his
Exactly.
hand on turn 5.
And I think like the retreat that puts me like I think 8-2. At this point, I was like, all right, Lamby's out of this one. And I think this is where I got cocky and I made the mistake in the next game. But I felt like at this point, nobody retreats. Like you just have to go for it. And
Yes.
him retreating, I was like, I think I got him scared. And I couldn't profit from it, but this was what I was trying to create, playing
That-
those cards in the decks.
That game where he retreated, was it the 4-cube game? It was a 4-cube game.
He retreated for 4, but if he played it, it would have been the game on the line.
yeah,
for
if-
him.
That's right.
just for your information, he would have won.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. I
He
was
had a
100%.
3-power. He could have moved his Jeff to the
Okay.
middle. He had a 3-power Iron Man and a 10-power
Oh, wow.
Kitty Pride, and then he had 4-power on the left, but you didn't contest the left.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't play Shang-Chi, so my mentality was really like, let's get our points out and let's see who has the most, honestly. So
Yeah.
a lot of time, I feel like he had a lot of these moments as well where it was just, how can I win the lane with as little investment as possible? And I never really had that chance where I could just try to throw a Wasp or like some really shitty card for a lane. So I just always went for 2. While he
Yes.
had Zod shot, like I think he got me one time with like an Iron Man that he didn't commit to it. So yeah, it was a lot of things going on in our minds, I think. And
It was an Iron. You read the Iron Man perfectly because you saw it was only 2 cards. Kitty cost 0, and then 1 more card. And then he made the read that because you read the Iron Man, you're not going to contest that location, and only played 1 card there. And I was actually saying he should play more. What if he contests? But he made the perfect read.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot going on in those games, and this is why it's so cool. Like, I think a lot of people were saying Marvel Snap is so easy and it's just luck with the locations. Like, sign up to a tournament, prepare it, and I think you're going to learn new things about the game because this high-stakes environment, it really brings the best out of everyone.
It really
Exactly.
does.
Exactly. Thank you. Thank you very
Thank you so much.
man.
And before you go, where can the people find you?
You can find me on Twitter, DanCCG. If you like French, I have a YouTube channel that is called La Game du Matin. So it's the stupidest concept you can think of YouTube, and I'll probably beat it. So I play a game every morning when I wake up.
Yes.
So it's me completely like with my head in my ass playing Marvel Snap. The thing is, for a living, I'm a coach.
Oh, that's great. Where can people find you
They
to get
can
coached?
message,
Because you're an insane player that knows his stuff.
Metafy is the easiest way. Otherwise, just message me on Discord, on Twitter. It's completely fine. Like, we can discuss and everything. Like, I have a lot of people from Marvel Snap Zone that just send me decks, and I love reviewing decks, talking about it. And it's actually a little weird, but that's my way of prepping. Like, I don't often prep with other pros or like people that are extremely good at the game. I like go talk to literally random people because they're gonna give me ideas that I would have never thought about.
Absolutely.
And then I have like a huge box of lots of ideas, and then I go to the pros and I throw them the ideas, and then we see what's good and what's not.
I love that. That's so cool. It really is interesting the amount of people that collaborated for their decks in this tournament, which I loved. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot
Dan.
for having me.
Thank you so much, Dan.
So Lamby's going to join us here. Before we move on to our next semifinals, which will be Howling Minds versus DMONEY.
We know we were muted. We're just waiting for the ads. And now everyone's online. We're here. We're here with Lamby, the winner of the series.
Hello.
How do you feel?
Oh man, that series was, I guess you guys felt it as well. A roller coaster of emotions.
Oh my gosh.
I think I played well.
You played incredibly, dude. As I said, it felt like once you were with your back on the wall, once you were down to 2 cubes, like Hulk came out. It was Lamby smash all the way.
Small Hulk.
Small.
And I can't believe, like, the reads were perfect, the plays were
Incredible.
perfect. There's nothing more I could say. Like, you played that series as best as anyone in the world could play it, I think.
That means a lot. Yeah, that means a lot.
So, like, how are you thinking around the Doc Ock is, like, my biggest question, because you had the perfect read of where they were going to go.
So, I think you guys saw that I was 8-2 down near the start. So, I was a bit afraid of this matchup to begin with because the Dr. Octopus destroys bounce. I think you guys know as well.
Right.
So, but I think that bounce, like, it's just one Dr. Octopus, right? My whole deck is good. So I'm not going to play around that one card every single time. So I just went into the matchup, did my thing, but then I started losing, right? So 2-8. So when I was 2-8 down, I think something switched in my mind, like Harry said, the Hulk or whatever.
Yeah, you got in the zone.
Yeah.
When you went down 2-8, you were immediately in the zone. You made 0 mistakes.
I was, in my mind, the first thing was that, all right, I'm going to lose 9 out of 10 times. So I'm going to play for that 1 out of 10 times every single game, right? It's like 1 out of 10, 1 out of 10, 1 out of 10. Okay, chat, I'm supposed to lose that game. Let's be real. I'm supposed to lose like those 4 games. But because I tried to not lose those games and played to my outs.
Because I tried not to
hit
lose.
it. I hit the 1 out of 10. And it doesn't mean that I was supposed to win, but I tried and I hit it. So
the last turn of the series was magical because you got lucky on that turn.
For sure.
But
100%.
but that doesn't mean that, you know, luck favors the brave, luck favors the good players. You played incredibly to put yourself in a position
Thank you. Yeah.
where a lucky roll would have won you the series.
Yeah, I think what you're trying to say is fortune favors the bold, right?
Yeah.
Fortune favors the
Don't
bold.
talk about that. Don't talk about that.
Yeah, so I think I just want to highlight one more thing before I pass it back to you guys. It's like the game whereby Dan low-rolled the Wasp on the Baxter building. That was literally the only thing I beat. But if I didn't play to beat that, I was gonna lose no matter what.
Yes. That was incredible. Honestly, the Wasp coming out
I knew
was
that was the
heartbreaking.
only thing I beat.
Yes.
And I was like, okay, 6 cards in deck. YOLO.
Yeah, that's all you
And
could
you
do.
got it.
Yeah.
And you got it. You read it perfectly. So
Yeah, that's all for me.
that's all for you. Tell us, where can we find you?
Oh, yeah,
Tell us
sorry.
your socials. advertise yourself. After this game,
Yes,
I'm sure a lot of
please.
people are going to be looking for
All
you.
right, what's up, my Lamb fam? Some of you guys are in chat. You can find me on twitch.tv/LambySeriesTV and also on twitter.com/LambySeriesGG. The YouTube, not my personal one, but myself with Coco4, the competitive age. We do quite a lot of try-hard content. Check us out there as well. And I might be starting TikTok soon as well. Might be, but yeah. Thank you so
Let's
much.
go. Thank you so much, Lammy.
Thank you, Lambi.
All right, guys. So we are swapping over. Who's taking over first?
We're going to have Brendan and Lobster casting the next.
Okay, so Brendan and Lobster, Brendan APG and Lobster, Fresh Lobster, are gonna take our spot for the next semifinals, which will be DMONEY and Howling Minds.
So it's been a pleasure. I hope you guys had fun, and we'll see you later, I guess.
Yeah.
Do we shout out ourselves?
Go ahead, Harry. Where can we find you?
Ordinary Harry everywhere. Just go YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Ordinary Harry. That's where I am. Eggs, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitch about the same time that Harry streams. Just eggs. Just eggs.
Eggs.
And on Twitter, I am eggs4_sale. And Harry is more handsome than me and probably smarter. So pick your poison.
Why would you say that?
Because we know it's true. Thank you, guys. It's been
Thank you
great
so much.
casting for you.
Have a great time. Enjoy the tournament because it's amazing.
Hey, Oh no, this has changed now. Hang on. I have to get that fixed. It doesn't matter. You guys can hear me, I think, as long as in chat you say you can hear me, you can hear me. Just a quick announcement as well. Our main sponsor, Glap, has decided to throw an extra... I'm muted. Ha ha ha. I hate you all. Has decided to throw an extra special thing on. Am I actually muted? You're worrying me now. I'll wait for the ad break. I hate you all. I hate you all so much. And the worst part is, a lot of you are in my streams. So you'll pay for this next week. You'll all pay. I'll wait for the ad break to go. Okay, that's fine. What are you doing? We're on ad break. You can fill time for the ads before I do the announcement.
My voice is in great shape.
Oh.
Never better.
Need to practice that caster strength. There you go.
Thanks, chat. Thanks. Yeah. So how you been finding the event today so far? We were watching
Good.
from home.
Yeah, it's been crazy. I'm just actually... Oh, we've still got time. Okay, I've got one eye on the ads. But yeah, it's been really good. The games have been nuts. Like, the games have been really nuts. And you can tell, obviously everyone here, fantastic players, but you can tell when people like laser focus because the plays are so like precision based, right? It's like, oh, if I do this and this is going to go. So it gets pretty crazy. But yeah, what did you get up to last night to make the voice go? Oh, is this just Spec being sociable?
I think it was the stream, actually. I was streaming the whole
of
day
course,
yesterday.
you were streaming, yeah. And the heat.
Yeah,
the heat plus, it messes,
I was
right?
stuck right in the corner where Den was just playing, and I was shouting quite a bit also.
Yeah. But yeah, it definitely has an effect when it's hot and you're talking a lot. It's the voice goes. Okay, we've got 3 seconds. Cool. So we've got. I'll start that again. Everyone, let's do an announcement. If you do !MVP in the chat, our main sponsor Glap has decided to do basically an MVP reward. So whoever wins this poll by the end of the day is going to not only win one of the Rian Gonzalez signed prints, but he's also going to win just an extra $250, again, provided by Glap. Glap decided to, you know what, I'm already cool, but I'll throw some extra on top. So there you go. So we've got that. So make sure to go !MVP in the chat. Pick your favorite player, and then we'll go from there, and we'll keep up with that poll and let you guys know who wins. At the end of the day, I believe there's no... Let me check. Kawa? Yeah, I thought so. So, yeah, we are just going to run this till the end of the show. So, at the end of the show, we will be announcing not only our champion for the Creator Clash 2.0, but also our fan favorite MVP player. So,
Can they vote for people outside the top 8 as well?
Every player, because we wanted to reward... You'll love this deck building. You know,
okay.
Any fan favorite basically. So if you like Spec because he, decided to bring Sentry.
I think Harry would be my vote. Like just missing out on that top 8.
Oh, it was rough. It was rough
I
actually. Yeah, the tiebreaker that gets everyone at some point in their card game playing lives. But yeah, so guys, just remember !MVP. We are going to get the next matchup set up, and we'll work out who's going to make it to the finals. So yeah, I'm going to disappear. I think Spec's going to disappear.
Yep.
because we've already got our casters set up. It's going to be, I believe, Lobster and Brendan are going to take you through the action for the next match. So enjoy, guys.
And we're back.
Welcome back.
Still getting instructions, but I think we're about ready to go here. Kawa still joining us on the side here, half on camera. Okay.
Show the deck list. You can talk about the deck list. And then
Perfect.
Games, all right?
Lovely. But it's going to be really hard to follow up what we just saw on stream between Lamby and Dan. That was insanity.
I think that was one of the best Marvel Snap matches I've ever seen. But we do have a pretty good one coming up here between Howling Minds and DMONEY. If I had to predict, I'd probably say we're going into a Lockjaw pick from Howling Minds and then a bounce pick from DMONEY. Particularly interesting to look at the DMONEY bounce list, by the way. It's very big on the point slam. We see no tech cards, right? No Shang-Chi. I don't think it does have the American Chavez. It's just going to be putting down a lot of power. It's hard for something like Howling Minds deck to deal with that. Honestly, as coming to this tournament as a bounce player, you were faced with some decisions, right? You're like, do I play this bounce list, the one with Falcon, what we call, I think, the pink print, right? The big point slam list, or do I bring the tech cards, for the Lockjaw deck? Do I bring something like Shang-Chi? Do I bring Spider-Ham, etc.? DMONEY's gone all the way on the other side of the spectrum. It is looking to put as many points on the board as possible. And I genuinely think that if you're not facing a counter deck, someone specifically bringing a deck to try to beat you, this is probably the best deck in the room.
It's a very interesting choice indeed, and it will make for some interesting dynamics in this matchup. DMONEY, I think, is the only bounce player who didn't include Spider-Ham, which is probably a good thing because Spider-Ham doesn't have amazing hits against the Lockjaw decks. But what's very interesting is also not bringing Iron Man, not bringing Shang-Chi, as you mentioned. We know that Howling Minds does play Spider-Ham in his high Evo Lockjaw deck, and that can hit cards like Beast, Bishop, or the 2 costs consistently. And that is going to warp the dynamic of the matchup in a very interesting way.
Yeah, usually that Spider-Ham from the opposing player, if you were playing bounce, does hit something like an Iron Man in your hand, which is not great, right? But if it hits something like your Beast early in the game, I mean, what do you even do with a deck like this? Your only way to bounce back is Falcon. Just a tough spot to be in. Outside of that, right? Outside of that specific card, Spider-Ham out of Howling Minds, I do think that DMONEY's list is quite favored. One thing we got to talk about is Howling Minds didn't only bring Lockjaw to this tournament. He also brought a Stature, Black Bolt, Darkhawk, just like tech deck. I think that Howling Minds will go with the Discipline pick, will play the Lockjaw deck, but if I know Scott, he could go with the other deck. We could see Stature Black Bolt come out here.
Yeah, there's definitely no certainty here. Both players have interesting second decks that deserve a highlight as well. I really like the Howling Minds deck when I first saw the whole deck list. It's a package of the Darkhawk mixed in with Stature Black Bolt, mixed in with counterattacks like Shang-Chi and Chantress. It's a bit of everything and therefore very, very well-rounded. It's a tough call to make to go for this, though, because it doesn't quite go as tall. It doesn't have these huge cards. It doesn't slam points as efficiently. Whereas, talking about slamming points, DMONEY has another point slam list in his own lineup, and that is an Iron Lad Patriot list.
Yeah, a very hard list to beat, by the way. I mean, the thing about people criticize Patriot for being easy to play. Well, I'll tell you on the flip side, it's probably one of the hardest decks to play against, especially with this list. Like, you go into that turn 5, turn 6, maybe Invisible Woman is down on the battlefield already, and you're faced with a very diverse top end, right? You're faced with a top end that can go very tall in a singular lane with something like Onslaught and Iron Man, or can spread a lot of power through that Patriot Mystique and even play things like Doctor Doom. So now you have to ask, it's like, am I committing to this lane? What do I think is happening in that Invisible Woman lane? Invisible Woman, definitely the 12th card of the deck. Nobody's going to argue that. But you'll see it actually factor in quite a bit because that information is pretty critical in playing against something like Patriot.
Yeah, and I love the inclusion of Invisible Woman. I remember in preparation to open decklist tournaments, a lot of people were kind of criticizing that thing, saying like, it's open decklist anyway, there's not that much invisible behind Invisible Woman, but just the mind games it allows. There's never any certainty on what is actually behind her, how much power gets spread where, and you can shift it up, especially with this decklist. You can hide Iron Man and Onslaught behind the Invisible Woman. It could also be something like Doctor Doom and Patriot, though, spreading power across all 3 locations. Just allows for interesting dynamics.
Yeah, and Howling Minds on the Lockjaw deck, not quite as spicy as Den's deck, who we saw previously with the Doc Ock, which is quite good against bounce. Does have more of a standard list, is playing a bit of a mid-range curve here with the Thing. So a very standard high Evo Lockjaw list with probably the 12th card making it in here being the Thing. So I do think this is deck he's going to pick Lobster, But, you know, this is what's hard about the 2-deck format. The players, they can have their objectively correct picks, but they get to talking before they start mind gaming a little bit, and you never know. They could go with something wild. But we do see the cards pop up here as the start of the game comes, and they have picked Bounce versus High Evo Lockjaw. So Bounce on the side of D-Money and High Evo Lockjaw on the side of Howling Minds here.
So no big surprises on either side, and this is probably going to be the closest matchup that we can have. It does come down a lot to player agency. There's definitely outplay potential on both sides, and it's also going to come down to who makes better use of the locations that will pop up, because both decks struggle with restricted locations in very different ways, though.
Yeah, I do think that the Shang-Chi tech card in the bounce list can be quite critical for beating a High Evo Lockjaw list, especially on those quote-unquote high rolls. That being said, you know, D-Money has gone with the opposite approach and is just looking to put as many points on board himself, right? Bringing the sort of more greedy bounce list at that.
Okay, and a very on-curve opener for both players. Spider-Ham coming out super early on turn 1 here from Howling Minds and hitting, what's 3-0? What did that used to be? I think it used to be a bishop. Should have 1 power. Okay. Didn't pay attention for a second and already missed it, but we are continuing. And D-Money has a very, very nice start here on curve. Vormir is a very easy trigger to get rid of with the Mysterio clones. It doesn't hinder D-Money at all, while it can be very frustrating for Howling Minds, who has a lot of big and expensive high-value cards.
Yeah, absolutely. We already see the Collector played in there as well. So that it did actually hit a Hit Monkey, which was then hit by the Icebox. That's why we see this 3-0. Not really a power and toughness we're used to in bounce. But, you know, we've seen the Hood. Here comes the Demon as well, played by D-Money. And we see our Thor curved out by Howling Minds. Like you said, I mean, might be able to utilize that Thor Hammer as a way to clear out the Vormir, using the on-reveal effect and taking sort of no downside.
Mm-hmm. D-Money seems to be setting up a beast location here, saving up that Mysterio synergy for a bit later. We do see a snap come out. And Howling Minds so far also not with the worst hand, kind of nicely on curve. Interesting decision to be made here. Beast does come down for D-Money, clearing out that location again, setting everything very cheaply. By the way, I'm curious about your opinion on the Ant-Man inclusion in the bounce list.
I would say it's probably a bit dubious with Spider-Ham existing right now. I think Spider-Ham can be somewhat critical against these high Evo decks, right? You're able to hit the Magneto, hit the Hulk early, and especially Dr. Doom. Dr. Doom, a card that started to sort of fade out of the meta as we hit that OTA, and there was a bit of a nerf. But previous to that nerf, there was a lot of decks that were relying on Dr. Doom as sort of a high-end curve, a way to spread out power at the end game, and Pig totally shuts that down. We do see a retreat here, so into game 2. I mean, those were hard locations for Howling Minds in particular, right? I mean, he had already filled up 2 slots on the left lane, has Danger Room in the middle, has to play the Lockjaw there, and then has the Vormir, which has no efficient way to clear with. I think just an effective retreat.
Yeah, I like it. Saving your resources, saving your cubes, managing it nicely, and fighting another day, finding a better slot here. Again, a pretty solid opening hand from D-Money. I mean, we will see that a lot. D-Money plays a lot of cheap cards. He will often have these consistent opening hands. But of course, Kitty Pryde and Angela are almost the 2 that you'd like to see the most. But the Spider-Ham comes out again and hits another high priority target in the Collector here.
Yeah, do you think you would prefer to have the Collector hit or Angela on this deck?
I think in this situation, Angela can grow much taller, especially because D-Money plays Beast and Falcon. No Jeff, which is popular at some of the other players, like Lamby we just saw, but still Angela can grow enormously large.
Especially with Kitty already in hand, right? Kitty on turn 1, we have Angela on turn 2, and then we just keep buffing that Angela, getting the Kitty back. But there is a Medusa drawn, another card we don't usually see in bounce, but you know, it does get the buff, goes back, can be played again.
You know what I am honestly a bit surprised by, though, is that Howling Minds keeps on playing Spider-Ham on turn 1. I think it would be smarter, or at least a bit of a different strategy, to play it on turn 2, because you get 2 Hulk growth triggers in that way, and also slightly higher odds of hitting something like the Beast.
I actually think that you might be objectively correct because the High Evo Lockjaw deck has no other turn 2 play, right? There's no downside. All you do is give your opponent the ability to draw that Beast, gets another draw step, so you have a much higher likelihood of hitting it, in which case, by the way, you would have hit it.
Yeah, in this case, it would have paid off. That being said, Collector is also a good hit. Maybe that is the idea. Maybe Howling Minds really wants to hit the 2-cost cards. We might ask him afterwards in an interview, maybe. Random Venom comes out of X-Mansion. Well, at least it doesn't do much. Misty Knight on the other side, not very impactful and also very even expansion. It doesn't blow the game out of proportions here.
Yeah, Mirror Island can be somewhat utilized by DMONEY. We do see the Lockjaw played there, of course, so maybe doesn't even want to compete in Mirror Island. Angela already committed, so kind of feels like you're a bit priced in sometimes as the bounce. Of course, though, Beast comes down after that, you bounce it back, and we commit to more lanes. I think that's going to be the play line here for DMONEY, is to buff up that Angela now, and then on the following turn, play the Beast, get those back to hand, let Howling Minds put as much as he wants to in that Lockjaw lane on Muir, and just spread your power up in other places.
Absolutely agreed. Both players seem to have a pretty good hand here so far. Howling Minds does have the perfect curve in the late game with Jane Foster on 5 and a lot of options on 6, which you want to have with the Lockjaw deck. DMONEY is setting up that Beast Bounce location very soon. Also, we see a very rare inclusion here, the Medusa coming into the middle. That can also benefit from being bounced and growing further and further.
Yeah, so going into turn 5 here, I have to assume we're going to see that Beast on your island. Maybe DMONEY wants to compete, right? We have pulled the Chavez. It just seems like DMONEY could be so much more advantaged by bouncing this Angela and Beast back to hand, or in Bass back to hand, and getting out of Mirror.
That's going to be a lot of cheap cards. What DMONEY really wants to draw here is a Hit Monkey, especially with the Mysterio in hand, especially with all of these cheap cards coming back into hand. Hit Monkey would probably lock the game for DMONEY. On the other hand, Howling Minds also has an amazing curve. Jane Foster is coming down probably into the middle, drawing that Wasp again, free Lockjaw trigger, and you can still play one of your late game bombs behind that.
DMONEY notably not having America Chavez in the bounce list or the Patriot list. I think one of the only players that showed up to this tournament with America Chavez in neither decks.
Chavez is just so good, man. Such a good card. Beast comes down as we predicted. We might see the 8-power Medusa, a rare sight, in the realm of Marvel Snap. And Jane Foster also coming down. And now it's very interesting because all of the agency lies in DMONEY's hands. He can spread power as he would like. Did not find the Hit Monkey Ant-Man as the other cheap pickup, though. And now Howling Minds has to read, like, where does DMONEY spread power? And then adapt accordingly, decide on the own 6 drop and where to play it.
Yeah, it's tough because you still need to commit the Wasp to Mirror Island, which isn't too bad of a cost, right? But you know you're going to have to at least compete a bit, right? Because even if the Mysterio drops down, it's going to buff the Angela, get the extra 3 because it's been basted, and will beat you in that lane. So you need to commit the Wasp there for sure. Now it's a question of do we play into Washington, D.C., or do we play into X Mansion with our big top end?
Yeah, both players have something that benefits from Washington, D.C. is also interesting to note. The Mysterio clone does get the +3 buff, the illusion. And Howling Minds Doom bots would also get the buff, but Howling Minds goes for a bit of a, disciplined, maybe conservative retreat here, really respecting the cheap cards that DMONEY has in hand, the high-powered cheap cards. We do see another 2-cube victory for DMONEY, who's off to a very hot start here.
Yeah, absolutely. Howling Minds not having the ideal start to this game, but it's had some rough locations, right? We did have the game before that, and then DMONEY committing well to that Mirror Island, sort of forcing Howling Minds out of the game. Maybe it would have been a 50-50 to commit outside of that lane, but you're doing the 50-50 on where DMONEY puts the power in the left or the middle, plus you need the Wasp to hit something good.
Absolutely, and I think Howling Minds is also very aware. The thing is, if you have all of your endgame options in hand, it looks nice at first, but it also means the Wasp is not going to pull anything significant. I think there were only 1 or 2 cards left in Howling Minds deck, and that was like High Evo and Jubilee, something along those lines.
Howling Minds feeling the pressure of DMONEY's aggressive snapping. Snaps on the Bast on turn 0, right? So he's able to turn 1 Bast, buff the Angel, buff Collector, buff Medusa, and goes ahead and snaps before seeing the 2nd or 3rd location. We have a cloning Vats leading off the 1st into a Jotunheim here.
I love it, though, because DMONEY can make such good use of cloning Vats. Angela is already being buffed by Bast, and she can be cloned, she can be played multiple times. That being said, Jotunheim is a bit of a punishing location for the Bounce deck because it wants to use up a lot of space early on, and it doesn't really want to lose power while doing so. Collector is also benefiting like crazy from cloning that.
I think a lot of players will hesitate to snap before seeing the 2nd or 3rd location, but you have to ask yourself, as playing the Bounce player, you see a hand with Bast, with Angela, with Collector in it. If you're not snapping this hand, you're not snapping any hands, right? So if you basically have to. It feels like you're forced into it, especially in this case of DMONEY, where we're pre-high stakes, right? So you're able to get 2 cubes potentially out of Howling Minds, make him retreat if you do have a favorable draw past that.
Absolutely. I love the early snap timing. It's before you show the absolutely absurd power that you hold in hand, and it's really hard for Howling Minds to retreat from that if he has a somewhat passable hand. The Collector spam does come out. We will probably see 3 or 4 Collectors by the end of this this game. We might even see multiple kitties now that Kitty got picked up. Unfortunately, dodged the Bast buff. That would have been absolutely bonkers. But even like this, with cloning vats online, with multiple collectors online and 2 kitties, some high power numbers are coming.
Yeah, I think this is looking really rough for Howling Mine so far. Very, very favorable locations for DMONEY so far, and a great snap off the bat there.
Yeah, but we are still in low stakes rounds. I think both players are very comfortable here, just playing for 2 cubes. The Spider Ham does come out.
Yep, we do see Beast hit, right, a critical card, but I think in this matchup, getting so much value out of the collectors that DMONEY might be able to weather the storm, even though one of his most important cards in this matchup has been hit by that Spider Ham.
I absolutely agree with you here. Usually the bounce deck does rely quite heavily on Beast, but with multiple Kitty Prides being in hand, the bounce is still a thing, it's still active, and the collectors are continuously benefiting from this. It's gonna be a tough one for Howling Mines, who only pulled that Spider Ham from Lockjaw. Oh, DMONEY does actually commit some power into Jotunheim early on. Does not want to clog his own hand with Orcus Forge. So location 2 and 3, not necessarily favorable for DMONEY, but the first one is probably just enough. The cloning vats into Bast Collector combo is probably just enough to carry DMONEY through this game.
Yeah, absolutely, and does have the sort of collector buff that can come out of that forge later in the game if he plays onto the location on turn 5 or turn 6. We'll be getting those Sentinels back to hand. You do see Wasp. Wasp rolls for Hulk. That's a good hit.
That is an enormous hit. Also, Wasp gets copied back into hand, so the Lockjaw triggers are guaranteed. The only question is, will the Hulk even be enough to compete with the 2 collectors? I don't think it will at the end of the game.
Yeah, I'm not sure. And then we do see Falcon in hand, so could potentially bounce things back to hand this turn, buffing those collectors even further, and then go for that turn 6 explosive power.
DMONEY with some serious hand size issues here, though. Cloning Vats will continue copying cards. Yeah, this is an interesting game. It's so tough to navigate for DMONEY, who has hand space issues as well as board space issues. Wants to get those absurd power numbers out, but not sure if he can. So second Angela is also still a thing. Well, first Angela, rather. It didn't get copied.
I just think this Forge is going to buff those collectors so much as we go to turn 6. And it's almost telegraphed that DMONEY is going to commit a significant amount of power to Forge, I think, because it has so much additional buff on the 3 collectors that already exist on board. So as Howling Mines, I would have to assume as we head into turn 6 that, I think DMONEY is going to try to win Cloning Vats and try to win Forge here.
Yeah, I agree. DMONEY intentionally leaving the Forge open for that final turn and growing the Kitty Prides. Second Lockjaw comes down into the middle. That's also interesting. Even more high rolls possible. But the more high cards get pulled, the weaker the average pull is going to be. Let's see. This is a Jubilee as the last card. Nope. And that pretty much locks in the W and cloning vats for DMONEY. That location should surely pull ahead. The only question is, can DMONEY also contest Jotunheim or Orcus Forge?
Yeah, it does not look good for Howling Mines here. Cloning Vats, like you said, pretty much a guaranteed win for DMONEY here, and looks like Jotunheim is looking really good as well. We have 2 Angela buffs with 2 cards played on that location, plus we're going to play some more cards on Forge, buff those collectors even more. Just an absolute immense amount of power going to be committed to Jotunheim here for DMONEY, and Cloning Vats almost certainly a win.
Plus Hitmonkey getting picked up on turn 6. Everything is falling into their places here for DMONEY. This is going to be an insane turn 6 pop-off, generating absurd amounts of power. He might win all 3 locations, and this might have to be another unfortunate disciplined retreat from Howling Mines. I would not be surprised.
I hope it's a disciplined retreat for Howling Mines' sake. If Howling Mines stays in this game, it is not going to bode well for the rest of this series as we've headed into high stakes.
I think we have one more low stakes round after this. Should still be the third game.
Oh, you're right, round 3. I did miscount.
But this is tricky because with every additional cube Howling Mines loses now, he already does not have that 8 cube potential anymore. Later on, it might only be 5 cubes that Howling Mines can maximally win if he does finally get that high roll to pop off and DMONEY to stay. We see Howling Mines shaking the head, not happy with the pulse, not happy with the RNG, and this is going to be another good retreat. But retreating alone, unfortunately, doesn't win you a series.
Absolutely. We were talking about that prior to coming on the stream, about how these sort of retreats are big wins for players like Howling Minds. Howling Minds staying in that game, I think the series was going to look very, very grim for him. Not a great position, right? We've had some rough games, but can still absolutely come back in the series and has room to do it. That's what's important. You know, in our previous series where we saw Lamby versus Den, you saw Lamby go down to those 2 cubes in high stakes, and Den basically has 3-4 free games where he gets to see the entire result no matter what.
Yeah. And Lamby played it amazingly, but he also needed a good portion of luck to come back. And that's a situation you usually don't want to end up in. You want to avoid that at all costs, just being on 1 life and having to chip away at your opponent's HP. Right now, Howling Minds is still sitting somewhat comfortable. The Spider Ham is coming out again, disrupting DMONEY's hand, but Bast already kind of did its work, buffing something like the Hood, which is a straight-up 6 power boost out of nowhere.
We'll have to ask Howling Minds about the Spider Ham on turn 1 versus turn 2 in the post-game interview.
Yeah, I'm also curious. So far, Howling Minds has always played it when possible. We see the Collector come out again. DMONEY is drawing good opening hands. We got to give him that.
Yeah, and the Bishop comes off the top on curve as well.
So Stark Tower is generally a favorable location for the bounce deck, very easy to fill up, and even can be filled up with Kitty Pryde, who then comes back to hand and leaves that slot open. So you get 4 buffs, but can still play and contest later on.
Howling Minds does have, you know, a snappable curve at that, or at least something that's going to keep him in the game. Does have Lockjaw into Wasp on turn 3.
Both players, honestly, have very good hands for their own decks. Lockjaw into Wasp and also the Jane Foster coming up soon.
I have to ask you, Lobster, where do you play this Lockjaw and Wasp on turn 3 because we have the Discord Tower triggering after that turn 3?
Yeah, that's a very good question. I mean, you can't really put it into Dark Dimension. Oh, okay, we do see another retreat come out by DMONEY this time.
Yeah.
Oh, that's an interesting one.
Yeah, so it's a snap from Howling Minds off of the Lockjaw Wasp draw, and DMONEY does retreat off the back of that. I do think, though, you know, obviously we have sort of full information here as casters. DMONEY had a competitive hand, especially into those locations.
I think this is a bit of mind games coming in as well from Howling Minds, because locations are not good for Minds neither. But I think he's aware that it's even worse for DMONEY. Like, Dark Dimension is an absolute no-go for bounce. You're not getting those cards back into your hand. I do think, overall, it looked like a better situation for DMONEY, but what can we say?
Do you snap this, Lobster? We have Bast on turn 1, Stark Tower, first location. Ooh. 2 locations are not revealed. If DMONEY is consistent with previous snaps, I do think this turn 1 snap will there we see it is.
Good call there, Brendan. And I do think it is the right play. It is a very good play. This hand is just too good to not snap. And you don't even mind the ham this much in this situation if it hits Bishop. Howling Mind's not really happy. You can visibly see the frustration in his face. But Lockjaw and Thor in hand, Jane Foster in hand, there's definitely some plays that can be made here.
Hellfire Club, somewhat somewhat good for Howling Minds, not crippling to the bounce deck, but if we see the third location flip that is even more prohibitive to play, DMONEY could be in a really bad spot. We saw Howling Minds see the snap, has Lockjaw in hands, goes, well, I can't be leaving these games, especially in high stakes at this low of cubes. Has to sit in the game, hope to draw something that can go into that Lockjaw lane. Maybe it's even something like the Thor.
Yeah, and this is almost do or die for Howling Minds, so he really needs to pray to RNGesus here and hope the Lockjaw actually gets his usual work done. Kitty Pryde does come out. This is going to be a continuous, perpetuous buffing of Kitty Pryde in this game. Collector gets picked up again. DMONEY is very excited about it.
Yeah, so DMONEY has Falcon in hand, so Shadowland is all money for DMONEY, and we see we see Howling Minds. I mean, that's just another location that's going to prohibit where you can play that Lockjaw at least efficiently.
Okay, Howling Minds faced with one of those tough situations. Do you play Lockjaw on turn 3? Do you play Thor on turn 3? It really depends on the rest of your hand. But no Wasp and no Jubilee. Nothing to follow up with doing unfair things, like very explosive bursts of power on Howling Mind's side. So he has to take the standard conservative approach of playing out the Thor here, while DMONEY can pop off with his combos. Getting the engines online right now with the Collector and probably Bishop next turn.
Interesting. So I'm not super experienced with this list of bounce, but opts to play the Collector and Kitty Pryde over a turn 3 Bishop. I wonder, you know, just over the long game if that ends up being more value for DMONEY.
I think it's very even, right? The Collector gets +1, and the Bishop would also be +1 if that, like, it's pretty much evening out here. But overall, playing the Kitty Pryde another time is another +2. I think actually DMONEY found the perfect line of play here. But the only thing that I'm not quite sure about is playing the Collector on Stark Tower and not in Hellfire Club, because it can be a bit hard and frustrating for DMONEY to get power into Hellfire Club.
Absolutely. So you have your Bishop and your Collector to work as proxies in that Hellfire Club, where you play your 1-drops on the left and the right lanes.
Exactly that. Maybe we'll see Bishop land in Hellfire Club eventually, but this is the one location where you cannot just slam Kitty Pryde and have a huge burst of power out of nowhere. So let's see how this progresses here. Howling Mine still undecided. Does go for the Lockjaw Wasp. Wasp finally got drawn.
Off the top. Yeah, very much needed for Howling Mines in this situation. Has Jane Foster as well to go ahead and fetch that Thor hammer and play it on the Lockjaw lane. Does play into Shadowland. We do have the -2 Ninja on there, so not ideal, but
it's a Spider Ham. It does hit Bishop. It's not the worst of hits here, further limiting the Hellfire Club playmaking potential of DMONEY. But Howling Mines is just not getting any power out. And ultimately, you do need to win 2 locations to win a game.
Absolutely. Shadowland is looking rough for Howling Mines. Surely DMONEY, even if Howling Mines is able to hit something like the Magneto off the Shadowland, off the next card that's played there, surely DMONEY can beat him on power in Shadowland.
I have to agree here, especially with the Kitty Pryde already being that swole. You also cannot play Jubilee into Lockjaw anymore. I'm actually curious about your opinion here, Brendan. Do you think that was a good choice, or would you have preferred the Lockjaw to just be played into the middle, into the free location?
I thought it would have been played into the middle location. Maybe the thought process is it's like the middle location is not the one you really need to win, right? It's a harder location for DMONEY to win, turns off a lot of his cards. Maybe I need to try to win the right location, and then I can just play some sort of top in the mid location, assuming that DMONEY can't commit, the immense amount of power that we expect out of balance into the Hellfire Club.
Yeah, good points. There's tough decisions all around for Howling Mines. Tough pulls from Lockjaw so far, tough draws. And DMONEY is just popping off game after game. Oh, the Bast also buffing the Ninja to positive power. We saw it earlier on with the Hood. That's a 6 power flip. The Ninja is also a 5 power flip that Howling Mines just doesn't have.
Stark Tower being an absolute powerhouse for DMONEY here. We'll have to see if we get off the top. It's a hit monkey. Are you kidding me?
And the Mysterio that got hit by... But you can see it in DMONEY's reaction. He knows he's living the dream right now. He's drawing perfectly. And this is just going to be another blowout. Let's see if Howling Mines can... This is a tough retreat to make.
Yep.
You will end up on 1 cube, which is effectively...
2 cubes.
Yeah, it's effectively 2 cubes, but still, DMONEY is going to have 5 lives left. You need to win against DMONEY 5 times in a row. So we'll need to see here if Howling Mines goes pedal to the metal, which is probably not going to work out, or if he goes for the home run miracle comeback.
Yeah, Howling Mines surely has to retreat this game.
It's so heart-wrenching, though.
But you know the Ninja's in hand. You know the approximate power of the Kitty Pryde. Kitty Pryde can literally only be played into Shadowland. You have no hits in your deck. I think they can beat the Kitty Pryde power here, plus the Ninja. So you just have to assume that I'm losing this lane.
Yeah.
Maybe tries to compete on Stark Tower and Hellfire Club, but that seems dubious at best with your Lockjaw already being committed to that Shadowland.
Yeah, and you have to assume that DMONEY might have cards like Mysterio, like Hitmonkey. This is so devastating.
I see Howling Mine posturing as well as the turn timer ticks down. Looks like he's committing. Maybe we'll lock in.
He's putting his foot down, it seems. He's trying to use that leverage of cubes that he still has to make that miracle comeback, but I don't think it's going to be enough. This is going to be a long turn. A lot of cards being played. We'll see how all of this unfolds. The Mysterios come down first.
DMONEY knows. DMONEY knows the math is absolutely insanely in his favor here. Already standing up. We haven't seen the animation play out quite yet.
The Hulk can probably take the 1 lane in the middle, but not even. It's just a tie, and there aren't really any good pulls left here. It's a Magneto. It is solid, but it's just not enough against the Kitty Pryde. Mjolnir comes down. Thor does get buffed, but still, 2 locations lost, 1 tie. DMONEY takes the series and advances to the finals in a convincing fashion.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that match really showcased the power of bounce. I mean, DMONEY's bounce deck is absolutely the sort of most explosive version of that. And I think a lot of people came to this tournament knowing that Bounce was capable of putting that amount of power on board and decided they could actually scale it back. I don't need that much power. I also need tech cards so I can have more well-rounded matchups into this field. But DMONEY taking this very streamlined version of Bounce and just absolutely crushes Howling Mines on every angle here of this Bounce versus Lockjaw matchup.
And we mentioned earlier on, both decks did not really play much interaction into each other. We saw Spider-Ham do things, but it was not enough because every card in DMONEY's deck is just useful to advance the own game plan to push out more power numbers. And Howling Minds just didn't get the dream to pop off, did not have any good pulls off of Lockjaw, did not draw the cards in the right time, while DMONEY pretty much every game just steamrolled his opposition. That was very convincing.
To be honest, I was very impressed with Howling Minds, sort of his retreats throughout that game. Was retreated very effectively throughout the sort of early to mid game, and then unfortunately wasn't able to get favorable locations and draws in the late game. But ultimately, I do think that Howling Mind played that series very, very well.
Yeah, I do think so as well, and it's the classic card game dilemma. Sometimes there's not much you can do. You can only play the hands that you get. You can only play the locations that you get. And Howling Minds did great, like you said, at minimizing losses. That is one of the two core pillars of Marvel Snap, right? Win a lot of cubes while you're ahead, lose very few cubes while you're behind. He did well on these retreats, but if you never get the opportunity to win at all, there unfortunately is not much you can do. DMONEY with a good matchup pick and convincing play did not give Howling Minds a chance.
And you saw it play out in the matchup as well. DMONEY, probably one of the more aggressive snappers showing up to this tournament. I was able to play him in twice this weekend, both in Swiss and in top 8, and is the type of player to snap on those turn 1 hands, to get the bast, and to, even before the second and third location flips, go ahead and snaps you, is a player that will frequently play for 2 cubes rather than 1, right? So I just very much played out in his favor so far.
Yeah. Did make good use of the win a lot while you're being ahead from the get-go. And I do respect Howling Minds for realizing, okay, this might be the one chance, the one opportunity I have to flip the game around with the 5 cubes that I have left. There was a tiny chance from Howling Minds' eyes, from his position, that maybe DMONEY just doesn't have the perfect hand and I do get enough power with the Hulk, Hammer, Wasp combo. But DMONEY, again, had everything, found the right line of play. Very deservedly advances to the grand finals here with his very own take on Bounce.
Versus Lamby, by the way. And, I do want... Lamby has one of the most anti-bounce decks in the tournament, right? I'm not sure if you've seen the high Evo deck. It's a high Evo deck, but it's more of a control deck. Has access to Storm, Spider-Man, just an absolute nightmare for bounce. So I think going into the finals, we're actually probably going to see DMONEY Q Patriot into what I assume is going to be Lamby's high Evo deck.
That is going to be an interesting one. The Patriot by DMONEY is also the Iron Lad version that plays Dr. Doom, not the classic Ultron version, which also cannot get that much power into the stormed locations, right? So I do think we might see these classic bounce players both having to pivot off their comfort pick and just giving us a new look, a new matchup here. Who do you think would be favored in that high Evo lockdown versus Patriot matchup?
Versus Patriot, I think it's probably still Lamby. The hard part about the Patriot list that DMONEY has brought is that it's very top-end focused, and it does also play Invisible Woman. In an open decklist tournament, you can reasonably assume what your opponent could possibly play into the lane. But you will face a lot of 50-50 scenarios against that Patriot list because it's hiding behind the Invisible Woman, and it can be the Patriot, it can be Dr. Doom, or it can be something like Onslaught Iron Man. So what? That's power to the side lanes, or that's massive power in the singular lane. It's just tough to deal with. I think that Lamby does not have an option to queue his bounce deck because DMONEY's bounce deck is the best version of that deck possible in the mirror, right? The other version is a bit sort of toned down, adds tech cards to have, sort of have more game against high Evo, maybe have more game against, Den's Doc Ock deck. And it does that by sacrificing power, right? By sacrificing the Falcon, by sacrificing the Hood. And I think that mirror is very much favored in for DMONEY's bounce list.
Yeah, I do agree with all of your assessments so far. I do think, I also hope we get to see both of them shift to their B decks, basically. Probably not the ones that are too hyped about playing, but it does just make sense for both players here. But we can never be sure about anything, and neither can these players, right? You always have to factor in the chance that your opponent tries to big brain surprise you. And this would be so impactful because it is just the best of one. Even the grand finals is do or die. It's just going to be one series. You only have one shot, one opportunity.
Yeah. So both Lamby and Lowell brought this sort of control Evo deck to the tournament specifically to target bounce. Both of them, I believe, came to the assessment that bounce is the best deck in the format and that you need to come to the tournament with that deck and then also a deck that absolutely stomps it because they know that their bounce list is unfavored into this more what we would call a greedy version or whatever you want to title it, right? Has a lot more point slam, does not have the tech cards. So as a result, I remember evening before the tournament, right? I was looking at all of the deck lists, and then I finally land on Lamby's deck, and I'm like, they found it. This is the deck. This is the deck that you can absolutely not beat as Bounce. Just decimates you. So much lane lockdown, so much control, and Bounce just like, you get one unfavorable location, and then they Storm or Spider-Man something, you just don't play the game.
Yeah, I do think there are two approaches. Yours was actually pretty good as well. The Sarah Surfer list with a ton of tech cards with Killmonger and Storm, Juggernaut, just making Bounce's life miserable. But I do agree that Lamby also, like the high Evo deck is a bit more well-rounded overall. It also has game if the opponent surprises you and does not queue up Bounce. It is a solid, well-rounded deck overall. And especially a player of Lamby's caliber can maybe also out-mind game people with Spider-Man and Storm and just mind games that come around lane locking and keeping your opponent from playing impactful cards on turn 6.
Yeah, absolutely. I would like to see, is it possible for us to get Howling Minds on for an interview? Howling Minds, if possible. He's lost.
Yeah, but 3rd and 4th.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, okay. I think we can just talk about the next game that's coming up for a second.
The 3rd and 4th game.
Exactly.
So they're going to play the losers of both semifinals first, which is going to be Howling Minds versus Den.
That's going to be an interesting one. The previous homies from Marvel Snapstone, right? We have the tier list writer and the tier list video maker, two people that know a great deal about meta game, about what to bring to these tournaments, to ladder to conquest, and they're both good friends as well. So it's not really gonna be a grudge match by any means. It should be an interesting one. But what do we expect both people to play?
That's what I was going to ask you. Do you think that it's possible that Howling Minds queues up that Black Bolt statue list into, let's say, Den's High Evo Doc Ock list?
That is a very good question. I do honestly think for Den it makes more sense to play the Bounce list, though, because it's going to be fine against the Lockjaw list from Howling Minds. We saw that earlier on. The Bounce list can definitely do a lot against it. And it's very... I think it should be good against Howling Minds' the second list as well, the stature deck. I would love to see it. It looks very creative, but it might just be a bit too inconsistent and a bit too low power overall.
Yeah, and I want to point out something with Den's bounce list as well. It does play the top end of Valkyrie, which is probably pretty good against that Lockjaw list as well. But outside of that, very standard bounce list. Does have the Spider Ham, does have Electro, which I assume is tech for the mirror there. But outside of that, we do see sort of the usual suspects. It does have the Shang-Chi as well. So tons of tech coming out of this bounce list to deal with that Lockjaw. I think that maybe Howling Minds cues the Black Bolt statue deck.
I could see it just to try to dodge Shang-Chi, to dodge Valkyrie, but I don't think it's a very good matchup neither, because Howling Minds has a lot of dead cards in that matchup. The Enchantress whiffs completely. The Shang-Chi probably doesn't hit anything. Like, Den is not even playing Bast. He would have to blindly snipe a Hitmonkey later on. I think for Howling Minds, it's an unbelievably tricky spot to navigate. I would guess he ends up on the high Evo list just because it's the more well-rounded deck overall and the stronger deck, but it's kind of pick your poison, to be honest. I wouldn't be happy with either choice.
Well, we'll leave it up to them to pick, and we get to, we'll get the surprise. That's going to be it for us. We're going to head into that match very soon. Probably just a short break, but next up is Howling Minds versus Den to play for the 3rd and 4th spot.
Yeah, and then the grand finals coming up, which is going to be DMONEY against Lamby. It's going to be some bangers here. Yeah, that's it from us. Thanks for doing this, Brendan. It's been a pleasure. Take care.
Yeah.
You don't want to be like Cyclops. You know what I mean? Like. All right, so you should be able to hear me, Moyen?
Yes.
Yes,
Perfect.
and I can hear you. And Lowell, just to be sure, you can hear both of us clearly from here?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we
Okay.
can hear you.
Perfect.
Okay, perfect. All right. Yeah, mute. Yeah. So just so you know, guys, if you want to mute yourself, Lowell, you're this one. You're blue. Okay. Moyen, you're this one. If you want to if you want to cough or whatever.
Sure.
This one. All right.
Yes.
So you were that one. Yes, perfect.
And I'm this.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
All right, cool.
Perfect.
All right, Raven, do you want to just tell them to get going? Yeah, perfect. Good stuff.
Okay,
good stuff.
I'm really happy to be here with you guys.
I'm hyped. This is
me too.
the boys. The boys
yeah,
right here.
This is the boys are together.
Yes.
One organizer and 2 losers. Like it's beautiful.
Did you just call me a loser?
Both of us. Like, this time we're sitting on the same side. I thought we would be sitting across from each other in the finals.
Lowell thought he would be casting Moyen right now in the finals.
What would I? No, I thought you would be casting Moyen against me. Today,
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, so we're just going to wait for the games to get set up. I'm going to actually make sure we have them in the right rooms. Usually we would talk about the deck list before. We already know Den's pretty much doing the the spicy Dr. Octopus in the high Evo Lockjaw
Yeah,
list.
what do you think about that,
Wait, do you think
Moyen?
he's playing now?
Well, I don't know.
Oh.
If
No,
you,
no,
okay,
just
so
talk about the decks.
we'll talk about the decks. So Howling has it's the only Black Bolt stature deck, and then the other list he has is his high Evo Lockjaw.
Yeah.
And then Den has the Doc Ock and the high Evo, and then actually I can't remember.
And
Do you know what
Bounce.
it is? And Bounce.
Yeah, Bounce
And-
with Valkyrie and Shang-Chi.
Yes.
And the thing is, Howling Minds just cannot win against Bounce, like
Or
with his
least,
lineup.
at least it's unfavored against it.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
if you
yeah.
go to Howling Mind's lineup, you realize that there's a lack of wave. And I think both of his decks are at least slightly struggling against Bounce. So
Yeah.
I assume Dance is going to be on the Bounce. Howling Mind seems to be on their Black Bolt stature deck.
Yes, he's
Yeah.
actually, which is really interesting because I don't think he's played this deck. I want to say at all, or if he has, we haven't seen it on stream yet.
Right, but he has to feel like it has better odds
Yeah.
against Bounce, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
On a good day, it will deny a kitty, you know?
Yes. All right, so pretty decent hand from Den so far. Obviously, Den opted for the bounce deck. Would like maybe a Bast here, but the Mysterio Monkey is just like good enough in this situation.
Yep. Also, just any Kitty Pride hand with either Angel
yeah.
or Bishop's really strong.
All right, bit of a low roll, or I suppose like an even X-Mansion for both players here, so that's completely fine. Obviously, Den here has the Shang, which can just be used for the monster here, which is super, super useful. Not sure what this ham actually hit. It was a 5/6, so I'm not sure what card that would be. Will you see an Wait, is that just in his deck? It is just in his deck. Den is just running
Electra.
Electra.
Yeah.
Yeah. Den's deck's very interesting. It plays double, or actually triple tech. It plays Electra, Shang-Chi, and Valkyrie. And instead doesn't play Iron Man, so it has less wave protection and no Chavez for consistency. But in this matchup, it should actually favor him because he doesn't need wave protection when there's no wave to face even.
Exactly. Like, it feels like he has no problems to really solve. Just put as much points on board as you possibly can.
Yeah, also, if you were playing this and you were afraid of wave, you would have to slam a lot of these cards earlier for less value, but in this case, then it's just free to hold the monkey for as much value as he wants.
Indeed. So we see turn 6 now. Few different options. Actually, this is not a bad hand for Howling at all. He has the Dark Hawk, the Kitty, and the Miles. So a lot of power that he can either stack in one lane or split. So interesting to see where he's going to go with this. On Den's side, I believe we're just seeing it's the monkey, the Mysterio, the monkey, and the Kitty Pride.
Yeah, and as you see, like, he's choosing to focus one lane as well with it, so. Because, like, right one is basically uncontestable.
Yep,
So.
exactly. And the thing is, it's not like Howling can just like throw all of his stuff on Monster Island to beat it. You know what I mean?
Exactly,
Because then he loses the other two. Yeah.
And even if he did, the Bishop would
Yeah, it could be
grow big
way too
enough.
big. Yeah, of course. So it's all going to be dependent on this left side here. And yep, I mean, it's really interesting. Like, I haven't seen too much of the Black Ball stature list in a while since the nerf. You know what I mean? So like, when you get the Miles, the Dark Hawk, and the Kitty, or even if it is the stature, if the stature wasn't picked, that's like, I forget how many stats that actually is. It is like really, really powerful.
Yep.
Especially when you get the option to just literally ignore one lane.
Yeah, yeah.
Also, what was interesting about that game is, I think, what you could analyze about it is that the Bishop was placed in the same location as where you're going to Shang-Chi the monster, which ended up overcommitting a little bit to that lane, and then ended up lacking a little bit of power on the final turn.
For sure. Snap coming out here from Den, feeling very confident in his hand, and Howling just straight up respects it, and retreats completely fine. Leaves for one. Both of these opponents clearly respect each other and their snaps, you know what I mean?
Throughout the whole weekend, it's actually been like a huge thing, just the amount of respect between
Oh,
players. And like, you see a lot of snaps like that just...
Yeah, they're like the snaps, like they say, okay, like if you're snapping, you have the Lockjaw deck, you probably have Lockjaw Wasp. Just straight up respect it, like, do you know what I mean?
Honestly, this bounce hand is already very, very close to snappable with Kitty Pride, Angela, and the opener.
Plus Manscape, so like he could empty his hand on 5 and give literally nothing.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. Project Pegasus coming down. We don't have a... If we get a monkey draw here, maybe it would be pretty good. It's still good to just dump stats. Pretty much.
But this will be more problematic for the bounce because at least they don't have the beast yet. So
Yes.
their energy usage might become very inefficient. They don't want to dump their hand on turn 2.
Yep.
At least not without the monkey.
And in this situation, Den has Prio, which I don't think Prio matters too much. Maybe if they wanted to use the Cosmo, it would have mattered if Howling had Prio, but obviously didn't.
Also, the Camp Lehigh outcome's really, really bad for Den. I think he really wanted a 3-drop that impacts the board a lot without taking too much board space,
Yes.
and Boot is exactly the opposite
Yeah.
of that.
Rock Slide coming in. I wonder if we're going to see a rock pickup here for the top deck. We did not, okay.
This Asgard is extremely important.
Yeah.
With the Project Pegasus, they're both just more reliant on actually having the card draw to be able to play out their resources.
And I often forget the value of just like Polaris Miles.
Miles,
Yeah, I don't play. I haven't played too many versions of even that Black Bolt list with those combination of cards, and it's just like it's just a lot of stats.
Okay, interesting. Is going for like the brute play.
Yeah, because all he really needs is this card draw to be able
Yeah.
to contest the
Yes.
lanes properly. You know what card I would have loved to see in a deck like this? Maybe some Silk, because Silk is really, really efficient with mites as well.
Yeah, 100%. So unfortunately, Den did not get the proc. Did pick up the Beast, which is definitely nice.
And he has the Shang possibility.
Has the Shang possibility.
Oh yeah, there's one aspect we haven't even touched on where the card draw isn't just, oh, you need it because of the Pegasus, but also it would reduce the Dark Rock power.
Yep. I respect the snap here. He has the Shang. I thought he might have went for the Valkyrie route, but then with the Angela on the board and stuff already, it's...
Yeah, but you can already see the difference. This play and this snap would never be possible even if you just know your opponent has wave in their deck. So this is entirely enabled by the lack of the wave.
Yep. So I think Den's in a pretty strong spot at the moment. Black Ball comes down with no stature in hand, unfortunately, for Howling here. I'm just looking at the sheer amount of numbers and power that Den has in his hand right now is absolutely crazy. The Shang to clear up one lane, the 10-power Angela, the 10-power Kitty. Absolutely insane.
When you think about it, the cleared lane would still be only at 9 in power.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
They're playing this really, really quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Quicker than I kind of anticipated, but, you know, because this is for a lot of money. Like, this is third place. This is for 1K.
And the bragging rights, you know, like
Of
you're
course.
on the podium.
Yes, 100%, man. And they also get one of the prints. I know Howling really wants the Rogue Prince.
Yeah,
Reese.
he told me about it. Also, one funny thing about this is, because I talked a lot with SPECI, if Den was to actually win this, the only people that SPECI would have lost to would be first, second, and third place.
That's actually what he said. He was like, make sure you say that on stream. Yeah. District X. Oh, here we go.
Pure chaos.
Oh, my.
But he still gets the rock.
Wait a minute. That is extremely unlucky to get the rock there. Oh, my God. So, yeah, we have... Den is on 5 health now. Howling does have the 2-point advantage.
This District X plus Citadel combo was also just... That provided for the biggest Dark Hawk possible.
Yeah, 100%. This game is going like... This is probably one of the fastest games we've had out of the 2 days.
I feel like we're playing like Blitz Snap.
Yeah. Lightning Snap. Yeah. All right. It's a fine opening hand here for Den. Maybe would have liked a Bast. Wait, does he run Bast in this list?
Yes.
Yeah, he does.
Also, the Kitty is still missing.
Yes.
Opts to save the Electra, which will provide more power for, let's say, Angela and Bishop, but probably won't hit a target with Wakanda on the board.
Okay, he did find a Kitty at least.
Yep.
And now there's all the setup in the world with Angela, Bishop, Kitty, just one turn late, but still could be soon enough.
Oh, nowhere. This is interesting.
Interesting because he can just hide. He can just hide his big Darkhawk or big cards behind that, and they're not going to get shanged. Well, actually, there's Wakanda and there's nowhere, so Shang-Chi is going to be pretty much useless this game.
Yep. And Valkyrie is not. It's not like Valkyrie is the answer to Darkhawk. No, I'm very surprised to see Core come down middle when there's an Electra in your opponent's deck.
Yeah, we would want to put it down in Wakanda for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, this is actually all right. I guess it's just more Angela buffs. Seems all right. Actually contests the Polaris pretty well.
Yes.
And
So-
I do like the splitting, you know, of the Bishop and Angela here.
Yeah.
So this was a weird scenario for Mainz where they wanted to move a card to enable the miles, but at the same time, moving the card is actually a net negative for them, except for that.
Man, it's actually really interesting to see this list because, like I said, like now he can do stuff like Darkhawk. Mines can do like Darkhawk, Stature, Kitty after doing the Black Bolt and stuff like that.
It's very interesting to me how well the Backboard Stature deck was able to keep up in power even with the bounce deck so far.
Because this bounce deck has a lot of power. It's going to even output this turn, but will it be enough? I honestly think it still might be enough without the Shang. It's obviously a little bit annoying that I feel like the right lane, he's just going to give up because he can't
Because
he can't
he
do
has
monkey.
to, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
But, and that's an easy read as well for the opponent, so.
100%.
Yeah, but then we go to this level thinking type of stage where if your opponent knows you're probably going to give it up, maybe you actually do put some power there because they're not going to commit too much into it.
I feel like this is always me when I play bounce. It's like I do my play. Oh, no, let me do it again. Yeah, let me do it. Let me try this again. Yeah. Oh, so he's actually gonna
committing to the
but this
Noah.
is
Yeah,
it because this is it because you often think like, oh, they're probably not gonna touch that, but it's all about the mind games. You know what I mean?
Which is actually the same thing as in the final game of the Dan Lamby series, where there was Dan basically knew there was an Iron Man in the lane and didn't contest it, but Lamby played exactly around that.
The retreat. And I like the version that Dan was doing at the end, where he's only putting the 2 power, you know, in the event that all
Nothing is
ignores it completely.
Very smart. So now we've got an even game on our hands, 5-5. Yep. An Elysium pop.
Oh,
the double snap. Let's go.
At the same time.
Oh my god.
No hesitation from either of these players.
I want to say I feel like this is just better for the bounce deck if we can get a beast or some really good value, but
even without the beast, I think what the bounce deck wants from this is just have the Bishop, have the Angela to profit as much as you can from being able to play Kitty Pride for free every single turn.
Oh my word.
It is so good for Dan to be in this situation where, like, when you're bounced and you see Hellfire Club, you're like, oh no. And here, like, you get the Elysium into Hellfire Club, you're like,
It's so good. These rocks could mess him up, but I don't really think that's going to be too impactful. Also interesting that both players had Kitty in their opening hand, so both players are going to have a really big Kitty by the end of this game. Jet pickup is interesting, it's fine.
Also, to touch on how fast they were playing, I feel like if you take your time on the first turn, maybe you can reconsider whether you actually want to snap as soon as your opponent snap. But I feel like both snaps happened so close to each other. They were like basically simultaneously.
They knew exactly what they wanted, you know, like no time to waste. And that's it, like all the pebbles. Everything started here. Excited
So
to
we're
see what
on the
West
final
do.
game of the third place match.
Yeah.
And this monkey is going to be huge.
It's going to be crazy big. And even just to play this, like I know it probably won't. Oh.
And that happening after the beast has already come down.
Yeah, imagine that happened where he was just leaving a lane saying, oh, I might beast this next turn. It's like, oh shit.
Yeah, which was a reasonable consideration, maybe, because you have so many resources that you could consider milking the monkey a little bit more.
Yeah. For sure, especially with the with the dead draw. It's like, oh, maybe I'll milk it a little bit more. Yeah, for sure.
And also we're in this interesting spot where if the Black Bolt comes down now, it's potentially tragic. Like the monkey going now would be, oh no.
Thankfully, it's only the stature instead of the Black Bolt coming down. One of the two best friends is missing.
That's probably why. Oh yeah, that is the reason. Well, maybe not just the reason. Obviously, you want to keep as many cards in your hand for the monkey, but he's like, oh, if I play some of these cards, then there's a higher chance that my monkey will actually get discarded. Like, because he could have opted to, I don't know, Iceman for some disruption. Probably doesn't matter because Elysium's already on the board and he has very few cards in his hand, but...
I think this bishop is a big reason why Dan is pulling ahead, where he's just getting one extra power on every kitty proc, which is why I think Dan was in his right to snap, and I don't know if Howling Minds really should have snapped back, because at that point, you know that they are going to be able to possibly profit more of the kitty pride every turn.
And coming into turn 6 here, I think Howling needs to consider, and I think he is doing it. Actually, yeah, I think I'd be playing the kitty on the left side. Yeah, I think he should play Jeff mid, which he decides to swap it to. I wouldn't play the Dark Hawk yet. Maybe he's playing it because he might draw like Black Bolt and he just wants to be able to do both of those things. But I wouldn't have played it because, well, if he has Shang, then he might just win that lane. What's the top deck?
Nope.
Oh, that's a huge top deck for Howling.
Yes.
Yes.
Huge one. Also, no Chavez coming in very clutch here.
But this is the problem, right? Because he decided to play the Dark Hawk, he has Prio. So it's not even like, oh, if Kitty comes down on this lane and Monkey, he could have got like maybe more value. I know he at least gets rid of the Bishop.
Yep.
But if he didn't play for that Prio, this Shank could have been even better.
Yes.
Actually committing behind the Bishop to play around the Shang-Chi.
Which I love. I think it's really cool.
Because if the Shang-Chi comes down there, it's 12 power, and you're just putting 15 behind it.
Yep.
Actually, it means that you can probably afford to just move the Jeff there instead, then you get one Mysterio less, but you have one more power in a different lane.
For sure. I think this is game here, though. I don't see any real way of him coming back, but I guess we'll see. It might be enough on mid, actually.
Uh-oh.
That is the real. Now, is this how big is this monkey? It's not big enough.
Not big enough, my man.
By one.
Wow.
So, you know, this one power difference, it wouldn't have made the difference on the game because it would have come down to the tiebreaker.
Yeah.
But if they move Jeff and play Mysterio mid instead, it's at least going to the tiebreaker.
Yeah, it's at least going tiebreaker. Wow, man. That was actually super interesting because it was so fast, but like so much was going on at the same time, right? Like really, I've never actually casted the game like that before. It was like so fast, but at the end of the day, that is what Snap is all about.
Clearly, and the thing is, like, as Moyen said, like, when the double snap happened, to all of us, I think, we all felt like, okay, but bounce is favored here.
Yeah,
right? Like,
yeah. But it wasn't even a thing of like, oh, I snapped for it. It was like, it nearly felt like they just both clicked the button at the same time.
It's like they knew they were winning.
Yeah, 100%. So yeah, congrats to Howling for taking
truly,
that.
Truly.
One thing this match was definitely not lacking was confidence and speed of play.
Oh,
yeah,
it was
for sure.
maybe the fastest series of the entire tournament.
Yeah, for sure.
And honestly, the rocks, like, they were crazy, right? Like, they did come out every single time.
Yeah,
like, how many times do you play a rock slide and you never see, like...
And that can really mess up bounce often, you know what I mean? Because it's like, well, I want to draw my key pieces of this deck to make this work, but just keep drawing rocks. I mean, it's fine if you have some of those pieces in your hand already, like Monkey and stuff, it's just free cards to play. But, like, you know, if you're drawing rocks instead of your beast or something, you're like, well, that's it. And also interesting that a lot of those games, we saw Kitty in the opening hand. If we didn't, that's the thing with Kitty. If you draw Kitty later, it's like, well, this doesn't feel as good. But when you get her at the start, she is a big card towards the end of the game. Yeah, that was super interesting. So you can stay there, Lowell.
Do
you want to get holding on?
Yeah,
Perfect.
yeah,
cool.
Thank you for having me, guys.
Thank you, Lowell. Appreciate it. My friend. How was that?
That is why we play Marble Snap.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
That is why. For those who might not have been privy, obviously me and Den are quite close. We were obviously both working for Marble Snap Zone for a long time. And we didn't want any mind games going into the game, so we told each other what we were going to play. We were both aware before
really?
the round
Interesting.
started. I knew people wanted to see the stature deck on camera. I love playing it, so it was like, I'm putting on a show. It's fine. We'll rock it. Den told me what was up beforehand as well, so everyone was on the level. But that Elysium game, it was nuts. I think there's a chance that I'm... No, what do I mean, a chance? It's like, I'm probably not supposed to snap that against Bounce, but my opening hand was perfect, like in every way. And I mean, that was a heck of a ride. If I could play that game 100 times, I would play it over and over and over again. That was spectacular.
Yeah, it was really interesting because the one thing we pointed out was it really felt like that snap was, you did that at the exact same time. You said, oh, we're just going all in, let's do it. And like, the one thing I specifically want to point out about, I believe it was that last game, was when you played Dark Hawk. Actually, it was probably the game before. No, sorry, it was that game. When you played the Dark Hawk, I was like, should he play it, should he not? Because it was like, if you let him have prio, then your Shang might have been a little bit... But you didn't know, you didn't know you were going to top deck Shang.
So I have two considerations in that spot. In that if I play the Dark Hawk, I probably have priority, which is not great if I'm worried about trying to hit the kitty in some way if I draw the Shang. But there's also still a Black Bolt in my deck.
That's what I was saying as well,
Which is also the only card I can't play alongside the Dark Hawk.
It's exactly what I said, yep.
So between the two of them, I was like, I think I have to set this Dark Hawk, assume that I'm winning this lane or losing it to his Shang. And if I lose it to his Shang, I can win the others because he shouldn't be able to pressure them both at the same time.
Yep.
I mean, you saw it at the end, that middle location is 20-21. It's like really, really close. But yeah, thankfully made the correct read, played the Dark Hawk, almost held it, was really close to holding it and trying to get the kitty with the Shang, but thankfully everything kind of lined up. So
yeah, it was a great match, and we were saying as well, it was some of the fastest snap that I've ever cast. It was like game. Go ahead, good.
To me, it felt like you both needed to be somewhere else very soon. Because it's no way. All of these decisions were made like, or it seemed like they were made in a heartbeat.
It's a really interesting dynamic. Again, like me and Den know each other quite well, so I know how aggressive of a snapper Den is. As a result, I'm actually quite a passive snapper usually. I'm quite reserved. If you've watched any of the games on stream, I'm quite methodical. I can't be that way into Den because he knows that's the case. So he gets away with more aggressive snaps, gets away with making me retreat in spots that aren't fantastic. So I've got to play back at him. I've got to be willing to aggressively snap back to make those bluffs have less value overall. And that's basically what you saw play out over the course of that game. I know I can't just be passive against Den. I will lose that match. So we've got to put the foot down and play for a lot of cubes, and it creates spectacle games like that, which is great.
It was amazing. It was a really, really great, just a great series overall.
So just based off of knowing each other, you both went into it with like adjusting your mindset just that tiny
100%.
bit.
Yeah, we both were straight with each other with the deck list, and we know how each other plays Marble Snap, which made that game very unique. I think if you asked anyone else in this room to play that matchup, it probably doesn't play anywhere near the same way, which is so cool. How cool is that for a game? It's incredible.
Yeah, it was like, that's what I said, it was so poetic for the third place. It's these two people facing each other. Because you go back,
I said it to Den before we started, like they'll never let me live it down. I will be the worst of the two Snap Zone content creators if I lose the third, fourth match. So I can't let him have it, I'm sorry. It just damaged my reputation irreparably. And he understood, so, lost.
I love it, man.
So now you will be able to remind him for the rest of his life.
Of course. That's definitely how that goes.
Awesome, man. Well, Howling, once again, congratulations. I cannot wait to have you up at the end. We'll present you with your prize. If it's okay, I would love to have Den on for a quick interview,
absolutely.
if that's okay.
That'd be great.
Perfect.
Get the boy over here. Get over here, you. You don't get to not say stuff.
Den's running away. He's like, I lost, I don't want to be here.
Get your backside in here. Fire me.
Hello.
So how did you find, we were just saying, that was some of the fastest games we've casted ever. It was amazing. How did you find the games?
It was fun, honestly. Like, I'm not that into rocks for the next time. Like, if we can just do something about it. Like, one rock, like, it's pretty hot, so I could suck on a rock for a little cool, but I didn't need 7 of them.
Yeah.
Like, but I got the family. That's pretty cool. Like, you could play, I don't know if you have that in England, like the 7 family, where you have to assemble family. We have a game called, les 7 familles, ça existe pas en Angleterre? Oh, okay. Well, we have a game called the 7 families, and you have to assemble families and win. I played that with rocks. That was pretty cool.
We would need like a statistic on screen, how many rocks were shuffled into your deck,
and
how many of those you actually drew.
Well, the funny thing is when we got District X, he plays Korg, and I still draw the rock.
Yeah, that's what I said. I said, what are the odds of that, bro? That's insane.
And HOWLING yelled like, why did you leave? And I was like, I drew the fucking rock. What do you want me to do?
It's amazing, bro. Amazing. Fun. And towards the end, like the fact, again, we keep saying it, but the fact that you both snapped together, it was just amazing. You said we're both in for it. And we all agreed that Elysium, we thought was much more favored for the bounce deck, 100%.
I didn't expect him to counter snap. I was like, I need to snap this. And my hand was okay. I already had Beast, I had Kitty and everything. But this is the first time as a bounce against a non-bounce deck that someone has more Kitty than I do.
Yeah.
It feels pretty weird.
And it was really interesting because like that, most of the games, you both had Kitty from the start. Like those were some big Kitty games every single time, Really good. Well, I hope you're proud of your performance, my friend. You did amazing.
I am extremely happy. Please vote for MVP so I can get a variant for my trouble. Because right now I have one of the best records in the tournament, and I'm going home with nothing. Well, I'm going home with rocks. Like, come on, but still.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you very much.
It was a pleasure, and thank you, Kawa. The event was incredible. Like,
really appreciate it, my friend. Really appreciate it. Hope to have you back for some more in the future, for sure.
Of course. Like, I mean, honestly, I'll come to whatever you organize because you do a great job.
I really appreciate that, man. Awesome. All right, cool. Good stuff. Bye. All right, cool. We're going to get Raven back on for the finals. You guys can enjoy the games. We're going to have a big spectacle. So thank you very much, Moyen. Lowell, thank you very much for casting, my friend. And yeah, we'll go. I'll just mute you there, my friend. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. That's going to be a clip now. Oh, my God. Oh, no, chat. No, that's going to be the most, that's going to be like the awkward leave me hanging. Yes, then we have to do that every time. All right, chat. They're just going to set up LAMBY and DMONEY for the finals. SPECI, my friend. How are you doing?
I'm good, mate. How are you?
Very well. I'm a little bit disappointed I didn't get to cast with you, man. I was really, really looking forward to it. But, you know, I was expecting you to be in the finals. I would be casting you right now, man, yeah? How, like, did you enjoy playing your Sentry deck? Was it fun?
Yeah, Sentry did well. Like, I played it twice. I won against Hannah with it. And then I queued, so my run, I went 2-0. And then I queued Den, and I lost a Lockjaw Mirror. And then I queued DMONEY LAMBY.
Yeah,
well, obviously in the final.
Yeah.
So I'm feeling a bit like unlucky about my run I had, but I queued like Lockjaw against DMONEY, and I didn't have time to prep really. Huh?
It's too low. It's not too low. It's just his. It's just his voice.
It's my voice, mate. Yeah, it's my voice.
Oh, how you feeling?
Good. Yeah,
good.
There's like two nervous people in the venue left, right? Lammy and DMONEY.
Yeah.
They're both just like focusing. DMONEY's just gone for a little walk, so I've just been giving DMONEY a little prep tour, like, mate, like, make sure you're spending this little 30 minutes before your game, clear your head, get a little breathing exercise.
Yeah, get a drink, you know, just relax a little bit for sure. But wouldn't it be? I think it would be amazing because DMONEY made it to the finals of the last one. It's his second finals, and if he wins this, we will have our runner-up become the winner, the champion of this
nice.
one. Yeah.
But also
Lamby is just, he's been the favourite. I will have to say I think he has been a fan favourite throughout this entire tournament for sure.
I mean, Lammy's just such a good player, and I mean, his sense of fashion is popping off.
Oh my God, man.
This jacket he had on yesterday, whoo,
yeah.
Still denim number.
Spicy, my friend, spicy. Well, I hope you enjoy the rest of the event. We're going to be doing, you know, a presentation and interviews and stuff at the end, so that'll be a lot of fun. We'll have you say a few words towards the end. You know what we were saying is if you made top 8, we would have made you change your name to Harry because, yeah, of course, we would have had to. We would have had to do that. But once again, my friend, thank you for coming. Honestly, it's always a pleasure to see you.
Setting it up and everything like that. I mean, what's the plan now? Like the next game's going to be starting pretty soon, right?
Yeah, next 5 or 10 minutes.
Okay.
For sure.
Have you had a favorite deck of the tournament?
Oh, that's a good question.
Chat. Favorite deck of the tournament?
Yes, actually, let us know. Do you know what deck surprised me? the deck that surprised me was it was one of Brendan's brings, and I think it was like it had like Surfer, Silk. It had and again, I know you're a big Surfer fan. You love like the Goose, the Surfer, I know you wanted to try and make Negasonic work in one of those types of deck at one stage, but he had Iron Lad in the deck as well. I was like, oh, this is really interesting. And he went 4-1 with it yesterday. He did really well.
I didn't get to watch any of his games, unfortunately. But
yeah, definitely check the VOD because some of them are really, really, really good, for sure. Yeah, of course, Luke was saying the SPECI special, the Sentry deck.
To be fair, I was on holiday like the week before the event.
I was going to say, I sat down here yesterday. I just saw you over there. I was like, geez, SPECI's looking tanned, isn't he? I was like, SPECI's been in the sun, yeah.
I didn't prep much, so I had like the Sentry deck built a long time ago, and I was like, oh, well, this will beat Bounce, surely.
Yeah. Did it beat Bounce? Yeah.
It did not, so.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it could beat Bounce, but like the whole idea of my lineup was I'll bring a Juicer Lockjaw deck, and then just a deck which stops people like risking the Bounce pick.
Yeah.
I needed to go something like Sandman, right? I interestingly though, I do think the version of Lockjaw that I brought was just better than the Doom version. Doom getting nerfed.
Do you know the amount of games that were lost off of the Doom nerf? Like, you don't really notice it. Like, you would notice it, be like, oh, because you're so focused, we know they're 4 now. But then when you look back, like, well, if these were 5, the games was just 1.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
yeah,
crazy.
So, like, my philosophy with the Lockjaw deck was I wanted to be really good into the mirrors because I was expecting a lot more of them. Like, I didn't prep so much, like I say. I was expecting, like, everyone to bring Lockjaw.
That's what this is what I said to Raven before the event even started. I was like, Raven, I don't know if I can cast High Evo Lockjaw all weekend. It's just going to be mirror after mirror after mirror. And when I saw the deck lineup, I was like, such a great variety of decks. Like, we had Bounce was the most popular, was 8, and then just under it was High Evo Lock. But the rest of the variety was like super, super good. I think we actually proved that isn't just straight up the best deck. Harry, do you want to sit down? Come, have a chat here.
The big man. We were supposed to cast together, but
I'll move the camera
my
over.
voice was too scuffed. How you doing, mate? You good?
I'm great.
What are you sipping on over here?
A slushy.
I don't know, yeah.
Yeah.
Tastes a bit closer. Not too close.
He was eating the mic earlier, yeah. It's a hum.
How you doing?
Good.
To be back.
How was your cast? Did you enjoy casting?
Yeah, I loved it. It was so much fun. So, who won? 'Cause I wasn't here.
Who won this game?
Yeah.
It was Howling versus Den. Howling won. There was a 5 cubes for the final game, and he won it by 1 point.
Oh, that's awesome.
It was
So
really
a
good.
great game.
But he was playing Stature Black Bolt. He was the only Stature Black Bolt to the tournament, and he beat Den's bounce deck. So it was a really, really good game. Yeah.
Yeah, he beat me with that too.
Oh.
But I played miserably in that game. That was my worst
Was that
game.
was that your bad Dino game? Is that the one you were telling me about? Yeah.
It was a terrible game by me. So, yeah. Good job to Howling.
Yeah. Did you see Harry's Dino deck that he made though? Like super. Like that's what I was saying. If there's any deck that someone should try out right now with the OTA, I thoroughly believe it's that one because it's like so much you can do.
I think.
Go ahead.
Destroy and Shuri both have a future now with these changes. Yeah, they look very interesting. I did not have enough time to test them,
of
but
course.
I think they're very, very interesting. Especially Destroy. It has so many outs as a finisher right now, and I think it tempos out well. And you can slow down a Shang-Chi there because it has it works with Death and what's his name, Null.
Yeah.
So
just
it's
hold
pretty
off for
good.
5
Destroy is
minutes,
pretty
okay, 5
good.
minutes. Cool. Keep
I'm
going.
surprised more people didn't bring it.
Yeah, me and Harry were sat next to each other yesterday playing our game, so we got to see the emotions of the day on each other.
Yeah.
Harry, like the most unlucky person in the whole event because he was like the only person to go 3-2 to not make it through to day 2.
First loser.
And you were, because you had on the thing, you had 9 points, so it was like just one person, unfortunately, won't make it through. And unfortunately,
We
it was.
knew about it even before.
Yeah. Did you break down the odds before? Yeah.
No, me and Braude had the worst tiebreakers, and then we went against each other, so we knew that whoever won probably wouldn't make it through.
Got you.
Yeah. It's not up to us. It's just the luck of the draw.
For sure.
And yeah, I'm starting to look forward to now, like what the plan is afterwards. So
we're gonna chill out. Yeah.
Watch this amazing little last game of Snap. Interested as well, talking about this matchup to see which each player queues, because DMONEY and LAMBY played each other yesterday as well in the Swiss, and LAMBY actually came out on top, but it came down to like one little misplay actually by DMONEY. DMONEY had the option to go Wasp in a certain location, but if you put it in a different location, he won. Now DMONEY previously queued his Patriot, and he also has a bounce deck, right? On the other side, LAMBY has a bounce deck and a lockdown deck. So it's one of these weird ones where actually the mind games going into it, like which deck each player queues, is going to be really important. And the bounce as well is not a direct mirror because LAMBY's got the Iron Man and then DMONEY's got the Collector, and the Collector's looking saucy and bounce, isn't it?
It's looking really, really good. Like I talked to him a lot about that bounce because something we've been saying, myself and Raven, all weekend is like, for us, when we play bounce, we love to have like kind of a top end against the wave, like if it's a Chavez or something to do. If I get waved, at least I still have a biggish card to play. But his is like, it's all in bounce, and clearly it's working. It's putting in a lot of work in this tournament, which is super, super
Bounce
cool.
is really good, and I think LAMBY's just going to queue the bounce. That's all he's been playing.
I agree.
And
Did he play the Evo once?
No, I don't think he played the Evo deck once.
No.
And you want to be in your comfort zone when you're playing in the final. I don't think he's going to switch it up now.
I agree.
And it's up to DMONEY what he thinks is better into LAMBY's bounce. If he thinks his bounce has the advantage, then he's gonna cue that into the game.
But there is that risk, right? Because then if, for example, LAMBY throws a curveball and does suddenly cue that lockdown deck, and DMONEY cues bounce, bounce is really bad into lockdown.
Yeah.
So kind of like it's all on what LAMBY decides, and then it's just about like DMONEY. I feel like it's almost a bit of a coin flip situation. So.
You can tell them to start, and then we can. Actually, do you want to swap in, and then do the three of us? Do you want to cast?
Yeah.
You don't want to cast?
X wants to cast.
The players, Lamby and DMONEY, are ready for whenever I say so.
Yeah. Do you want to cast? No?
I'm a bit tired to cast.
No problem. SPECI, do you want to cast?
Yeah, I'd love to.
Do you want to cast eggs as well? Yeah, sure.
The man with the broken voice.
Tell them to start in like 2 minutes. Just, yeah. Cool.
So the first thing we're going to be keeping our eye on is what each player queues.
Yes.
That is huge.
Yeah.
And it's only a best of one. So
It is, yes.
Just that early game presence. Like, also, one interesting thing about these situations is while it's open lists, the fact there's 2 decks, on that first round 1, you don't know what your opponent is playing. So maybe even like a turn 1 snap to like make your opponent pay to see what you are. Because imagine you fold, like someone snaps, you don't know what deck they're playing, and then they snap you again. And you're suddenly like, maybe I shouldn't be folding so much. So I'm very excited. What is this guy doing? Harry is crawling away.
I love
Smooth
it, man. I love
operator.
it. A smooth operator. All right, we're going to get eggs here with us. We'll just mute that for the moment. It's all good.
Yep.
Oh, I'm excited, man. It's all led up to this. It's been like this. What actually we were saying earlier was yesterday. Everyone was like focused, playing their games, and today there's a lot more of a relaxed vibe, which is nice. You know what I mean? We're all chilling now, having a good time. Yeah, cool. I can see them queuing now. Anyway,
2 minutes away, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
Can we get some hype in the chat?
Come on.
Also, I don't know if you guys have heard about Amazon Prime. If you have Amazon Prime, you can link it to your Twitch account. And what happens is every month you get a free Twitch Prime sub. So if you look below and it says subscribe, see if you have a Prime subscription. Because if you do,
no ads, guys.
You're just basically wasting money, no ads, and the game, Kawa is underway. Ladies and gentlemen, the grand final of the UK Creator Clash.
Here we go. I'm extremely, extremely excited. First location popping is more. You're around this side. You're down there. Yeah.
Okay,
cool.
and let's have a look. It's Bounce from Lammy, and it's
And
actually
it's the Patriot.
Yep.
And I think, you know what? If you queued the Bounce or the Patriot, that was good. That one thing we didn't want to see was the high Evo Lockjaw get Bounce, because that's like pretty much unwinnable. That's a really bad matchup.
So
but this seems okay so far.
I spoke to Daniel DMONEY quite a bit just before this, just try and give him some advice, you know, see what he's thinking. And he was very, very worried about Lammy just throwing that curveball of lockdown out, and so he didn't want to queue his Bounce. So I'm not too surprised to see his Patriot. I think his Patriot is maybe slightly unfavored, but yesterday they played this, and he was just one decision away. We see a snap come through.
Yep, snap from Lamby. How are you feeling,
We
Eggs?
just went up with ads, just so you know.
That's all good. It's all good. So we have a pretty decent hand for Lamby to start off here. You know, he has the kitty, he has the hit monkey. He can do that. It actually really very much depends on this third location though here. Negative zone, not great to see, but at least he can actually do his hit monkey on that lane. Obviously, he can do it on Morag as well towards the end, but a bit of the restrictive locations for the first 2 that popped here.
Yeah, the Invisible Woman on 2, going to be giving potentially DMONEY a lot of surprise value. Cards like Patriot, Iron Lad hidden in there could be a lot of extra points on that last turn.
Yeah.
I feel like Debris is one of the most disruptive cards for Bounce, which can be extremely frustrating when you start to fill your board with the plans of bouncing. So that's going to be something to look out for DMONEY here.
If timed correctly, when they're like, I'm going to leave this lane, if timed correctly, when they say, I'm going to just about bounce this card, but then the debris pops, well, the lane's bricked. There's nothing you can do, you know what I mean? So it's a super powerful disruptive tool for sure.
Also worth mentioning here that Angela ending up in nowhere is going to stop the beast being able to come down and bounce that Angela back into Lamby's hand.
Yes. I believe so,
this
yes.
is mine, I think.
So I think what we're probably going to see, there's 2 different ways I think Lamby might play this. I think he might do, again, it's the whole thing about the debris, right? Does he want to commit to it now? If he fills up the lane, filling up the lane is actually kind of interesting because DMONEY had Prio. If he fills up the lane, then the debris doesn't matter. What did this lad copy? Doom!
Jeez Louise.
That's huge.
That is the power of Iron Lad there. 6 points for 4, not the best, but if you can high roll, especially with that Patriot on board as well.
Whew. I mean, it is good. There's no disruptive tools in Lamby's deck that I know of in terms of like enchantress stuff. So what we could see from DMONEY here is just a straight up blue marble onslaught on negative zone. That could be enough, but I guess we'll see here. Could be just another Doom. Now, like this is the thing about Iron Lad, which I think is good. A snap comes out here.
I think that was DMONEY.
Yeah, it was.
And it is high stakes in the first round of the grand
4
finals.
cubes.
Neither player backing down. Will Lammy decide to take this retreat? Aggressive early snap, but there's nothing wrong with snapping and retreating a little bit later. A huge moment here. Because if LAMBY doesn't retreat, he's essentially saying he's happy to play for 8 cubes on game 1.
DMONEY opting to play the blue marble out here. He has locked that in. We see a bishop and a kitty coming out from LAMBY. Just trying to decide on what order he plays these cards here. The turn is locked in.
Oh my goodness, ladies and gentlemen, we're going into turn 6, and it could be an 8-cuber in round 1 of the grand finals. And my voice is going, Eggs, please take over.
You don't want to be here?
No, like...
Oh, okay. Whoa. I'm SPECI. I kind of turned Australian there.
Oh my god.
Bottle of water.
Bottle of water.
There you go.
Solid.
So it's very interesting here because in terms of the cards that DMONEY can play, LAMBY knows he has the option of, obviously, Doom is very obvious because we just saw it from the Iron Lad. Onslaught's another option if he just wants to go tall in negative and also in nowhere. So it's very much, can he cover both routes here?
The thing that is so tricky for DMONEY in this position is when you're playing against Bounce, it is the most difficult deck to track what is going on. How many points do they have? You've got the Bishop, the Mysterio, all the different things which have cost reductions, but DMONEY has experience as Bounce, and he does have this hidden card behind Invisible Woman. It's an 8-cube game. It surely is going to all come down to this.
So, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
The Mysterio will play into Morad.
Yes, correct.
It plays first. Okay.
Well, actually, I'm not too sure, but I'm nearly sure even if it's played first, sometimes it will as well.
We go. Ladies and gentlemen, what's going to happen? The Dr. Doom comes down into the negative zone.
I don't think it's going to be enough, but if this is a Patriot, it may be enough. I think this monkey's going to be too big on the left side here, but I think it's all going to come down to mid here, which I don't know if it's going to be enough. It looks like it's not enough. This monkey is big.
Down. And what is hidden behind the Invisible Woman? Will it get DMONEY there? It's looking a little
bit
rough.
It's not it.
Oof.
It's 8 cubes to start off the finals, folks.
Wow.
That's insane.
I feel like like you said, when it comes down to Bounce, it's really hard to track what's going to happen.
Yeah, it's so difficult.
But I find in battle mode, I can't stay for like an 8 cube. I just don't feel confident enough. If I don't feel confident that this is the play, he's at the end of his life. He needs to win 10 times.
I am kind of... It's interesting that he decided to stay in there because like LAMBY did know that there was a possibility of a Doom, and that's kind of why he played around it. But maybe DMONEY was like, having that page, it was so much power already. He's like, maybe I just get over it. Maybe you don't have... He didn't know. He might not have had the monkey. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's going to be a long way back for DMONEY if he's going to take the victory here.
It's possible.
It is. It definitely
is. It has been done before.
We saw it from LAMBY in
against Den. Yep.
So it's possible.
Looking at the hand of DMONEY because he needs to be pulling out all the stops. He does have this Invisible Woman to come down on turn 2. No sign of Patriot as of yet, though.
If I'm LAMBY, I'm snapping. Look at this. This hand is just amazing. I'm curious why he's not snapping here, actually. Would you not just insta-snap?
Yes, the pressure you need to put on turn 1, 1,000%.
Yeah, I would be insta-snapping here.
I'm curious if he's just trying to be nice at this moment.
I doubt it.
I doubt it, yeah, but like,
also,
there it is. Yeah, there it is.
But also, there's always the situation where you have to remind yourself, this is for all the beans.
All the beans, indeed.
I do want to draw attention to the timing of the snap by LAMBY here.
Yeah.
It's quite an intentional decision to rope a long way down and then snap towards the end.
SPECI's a professional at this now.
I did do this against Eggs quite a bit. It's something I've learned from players like MOYEN and LAMBY.
Yeah.
The later you snap, the less time your opponent has to react. If they've locked their play in already, you only have 5 seconds to make your decision. And it's a skill or a dirty tactic, if you will, that a lot of these top players will use.
Now looking at DMONEY's hand here, the Patriot still isn't here. Does have the Brood, does have the Debris, which may be able to disrupt. Actually, very interestingly here, if Debris does come out, it's gonna brick LAMBY.
Yes,
Yeah.
with priority. I think this is a great play for DMONEY.
Yeah, this seems really good, and it's hard to predict it, but if there's any lane you do it, it's there's already one card there. There may be an opportunity for me to brick my
But
opponent
also
here.
something to think about. Does,
Oh, he swapped his play, did he? Yes.
Also something to think about. Does Lammy want to give D-Money that rock there?
Yeah.
That's extra power for him.
It is. The peak. Oh my god.
Wow. Oh my god. A 3-5 Iron Man.
That's
Now,
just.
if he didn't bass that, that would be a 0.
Yeah.
So that's something.
And,
But the kitty got reset, or did we just draw that?
No, Kitty just got drawn. But it's interesting because D-Money just drew Iron Man after the peak. You know what I mean? It's just like, oh man. I honestly feel like if D-Money had Iron Man in his hand as well, it's still anyone's game. Because you both have the huge amount of power output.
Well, we've got a cheaper Doom over there, too.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I want to talk about as well is Lambie's second deck, which he hasn't played at all, the lockdown deck. It really scared D-Money out of playing bounce.
Yeah.
So we're not actually seeing him play it, but the impact this lockdown deck had, making D-Money not play his best bounce deck, going for the Patriot, and we can just see Patriot just doesn't have the points that bounce does.
It's so tough. It's so difficult.
The blue marvel comes down, the Kitty Pride and the Beast on the other side. Going on into turn number 5. Of course, this is a lethal game here. If D-Money loses it, Lammy will be the champ.
This is it.
This hand is just insane. It's just crazy.
Bounces.
But I think it comes back to what you said, Speci. It's just like, how do you... Because like oftentimes when you're playing these games, like, right, they have these options. I can play around this, that. How do you play around the bounce? It all depends if Monkey's here, but there's just so many numbers in so many places. It's so hard to predict exactly. And you can hardly ever calculate the exact amount it's going to be. So difficult.
Unless you're really putting out that power from, like, Lockjaw stands up to it
Yeah.
because you've got huge cards. But does Patriot really put out enough? I don't know.
It's so difficult here.
Lammy had a rough start to Swiss as well, right? I mean, he was 0-1 or 0-2, or he certainly didn't start off too hot. He's just been winning game after game after game of must-win games. When the pressure's on, he is performing. Jeff got that Kunlun synergy potentially for D-Money. It's going to be an Iron Lad. He needs to see the high roll.
It's the Onslaught, not too bad. Decent card to get here.
The Blue Marvel, that's huge.
The thing is...
And it saves him a lot of
Is
power.
it huge enough? It may be. It may be. This Doom can still come out. Can go for some spread. I think that's probably the option he's going to go with. I don't think he can really afford to just stack one lane because then Lamby just wins the other two easily.
Yeah.
But I guess we're going to see here what choice will be made.
This could be the last round of the UK Creator Clash. The final, Lammy Series versus D-Money. Can Lammy Series secure that victory? He's come all the way from Asia.
All the way from Singapore, yeah? Yeah. Long trip, long trip.
Same thing for D-Money.
Yeah, all the way
All
from
the way
America.
from New York.
Yeah. Long trips.
Tough for me to do
my
the math
word.
here.
Yeah,
I can't tell if it's enough.
It's tough for all of us to do the math there. It's really difficult. So Monkey, we had 1, 2, 3, 4.
I think left lane is definitely dead for him, for D-Money at least.
Yeah, and mid is going to be a total of Monkey. So
we're undoing.
15. Okay, if he moves this Jeff, it's a little bit more.
Jeff could go to Kunlun, which would be more points. However, in this situation, Lammy is not interested in contesting Kunlun. He's so far behind there.
Here we go. He's just committed to one lane. And wait, does he win right side?
Yes.
Is it enough?
Hold on.
No, it's not enough.
Oh.
It's not enough. And that is game, folks.
Wow.
Ladies and
We
gentlemen.
have crowned our Creator Clash UK champion, folks. And here he comes, guys. Lamby Series has won $2,500. Congratulations.
Get him over here.
Where is he? He's coming now.
He's making the slow victory march over.
Well,
The
let's
chat's
go.
going crazy.
Let's go. Give it up, chat.
And he's got that
Give it
outfit
up
up
for
already
our
as
second
well.
place winner, D-Money, as well. Lammy?
Hello.
Hello, Lamby. You can stand there if you want,
right.
and we can speak to you. Yeah. Let me just adjust this. Okay. Oh. So Lamby, talk us through the game. The 8-cuber to start off the round. Like.
Right. So that 8-cuber game, I was honestly a little bit stressed, but I countered it and countered it and countered it. No way.
Yeah.
No way.
And it was interesting because it was Iron Lad, you knew that Doom was an option, right? You were thinking maybe it's Doom, maybe it's Onslaught, but you're like, well, I know if it's Doom, and if I have more points, I'm just winning. So you just lock it in. It's like there's no way. There's no way. And it must feel really, when you go into a final and you have 8 cubes, you're like, this is it. It's a huge confidence boost.
Yeah, I didn't want to think it was over, but like my deck into Patriot, I felt very favored. Like the only thing he could really do was Super Scroll my Iron Man, right? Yeah, other than that, the power burst is not a lot, so I was very confident that he didn't kill the bounce mirror. Like I was really concerned that they would kill the bounce mirror because their bounce deck with you guys said like collector or something goes really tall. So I'm a little bit afraid about that one, but it didn't happen.
The one thing to point out, as SPECI said, is we actually think it was the threat of your other deck. I know. Did you actually play the High Evo deck at all?
Oh no, I did the Harry thing. I never played the deck.
But this is the thing. It was the threat of that deck that I feel like if DMONEY chose bounce and you just decided to queue that, it was near impossible to win.
So I want to give a shout out to Browdy as well. We prepped this lineup together. So
Browdy.
Yeah. What we did was basically that we decided that, all right, we are just going to play bounce, it's the best. So how do we make the other deck scary as heck? And
it's that, exactly.
We made it scary as heck.
It's so disruptive, it's so, locking down your opponent, it's so scary, right? So even the threat of that deck, most of the time, they're like, oh, well, I don't want to face that. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's actually one thing that DMONEY said to me earlier was he said, I know it's a different type of situation, but he's like, if there's any decks with wave, I'm just not playing my bounce. I'm playing my Patriot deck. Do you know what I mean? So it's the mind games before, and that's why me personally I like the format because it's not just the game; it is the deck building choice as well. You know what I mean? So I think it's super cool.
Lamby, was there even any consideration in the final to queue lockdown?
No.
I
was never okay. So I played the deck 3 times before the tournament with him in the hotel.
Yeah.
And then I was like, all right, let's go sleep. Like, I feel like my nemesis is if I don't have enough rest, because like it's a brain game, right?
Of course.
Like I was trusting in myself, I was confident, and I was like, if I could sleep, I could win. So that's why every night you guys party, I sleep.
There we go. Well, we're gonna pass it over to DMONEY as well. Runner-up, congratulate.
Thank you.
Put in a great effort, my friend. The bounce deck performed extremely well throughout the entirety of the tournament. Talk us through your thought process of even selecting your deck going into this matchup.
Yeah, so I was really confident in my bounce deck, and I figured if I could get the bounce versus bounce, that I'm favored, and I feel like I'm really strong with that deck. That's probably my best deck that I'm confident with. But I had played Lamby earlier in the tournament, and my strategy against him before the tournament started was to bring my Patriot against him because, like you were saying, that other deck with the wave, it was just a lockdown deck, and that totally kills bounce. So if he queues that up, I instantly lose. And I did play my Patriot against his bounce deck in the first round of the tournament, and I almost won it. It was a very close series. I feel I misplayed very slightly at the end and threw it. So I felt like I had a pretty solid shot going into it with the Patriot, even if he did queue up the bounce. I know how strong bounce could get. I mean, it's my favorite deck. But yeah, I'm sorry to chat. This was not a great finals. It was over in 2 seconds.
Well, we enjoyed it. And I just want to mention, in this first game, it's so difficult, isn't it, when you're playing against bounce to keep track of what is going on.
Yeah, it's like how many numbers.
We played against each other. I had lockjaw. You just rolled me every time with bounce because it's just so hard to work out what is going on there, right?
Exactly. You never know what they have in their hand, whether they have the hit monkey, whether they have the Mysterio for the hit monkey, where they're going to put the Kitty Pride, all that stuff. There's so many variables with it. So, yeah, I mean, he played well, and I thought that I could get it. It was once you're down 10-2, it's really hard to come back.
Tough. It is very tough. But
yeah.
man, listen, you should be extremely proud of yourself. You played absolutely insane. Once again, give a round of applause, everybody, to DMONEY. And I think what we can do now, folks, is we'll jump into the presentation. We'll keep that cam, and we'll all stand around here. Okay, perfect.
Before Lamby's disappeared off to the bathroom or something, we'll make sure it's here. So everyone, again, just another congratulations to the Creator Clash 2.0 champion, Lamby series. Oh, careful.
Can I do because I'm a big tennis Roger Federer fan. I'm going to do the camera shot.
Do it. Hey! And also choice.
Yes, of course. So you have your choice of variants. So just to show chat as well. Thank you very much to Rianne Gonzalez for she decided to send these over. These are signed prints. One of the most popular Marvel Snap artists in the game at the moment. So the first one we have here is Jeff, the baby land shark. We also have the Goose, of course, another fan favorite. We have the Rogue print as well. And we also have the Squirrel Girl as well. I know a very popular one is also the Aero variant, but these are the ones we have. Which one?
But yeah, so I was going to say, so how we're going to do it basically is first place gets to pick first, second gets to pick second, and so on. So Lamby, which one are you going for?
Do I get to pick one?
You can pick one.
Yeah.
Oh.
Not all of them. Don't be
Right, so-
greedy.
Yeah, I said it from the start that I didn't want a Jeff, so DMONEY, that's... Yeah, I'm gonna pick the Rogue.
Nice.
Awesome.
Okay, so we've got something to put it in for you.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Hey.
And once again, Lamby, congratulations. You have won
you.
$2,500, my friend.
That's right.
Congrats. All right, DMONEY? Of course. Yeah, you can take that. Which I think I already know which variant you want.
I told my girl that I was gonna get the Jeff for her, and I got it.
Yes,
Let's go.
let's go.
Thank you.
And again, congrats. You've won $1,500, my friend.
Thank you very
Congratulations.
much. Let's go.
Congratulations. Yes, DMONEY with the money. And of course, Howling, my friend, our third place player. Congratulations. We have a Goose variant here for you. Or actually, sorry, you got a choice.
Yeah.
Squirrel
We'll
Girl.
take the lovely goose.
The
We'll
lovely
go with the
goose.
lovely goose.
There we go. And again, congrats. $1,000 is yours, my friend.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. Round of applause for everybody once again, guys. Once again, congratulations. Yes, so I'm actually going to pass this over to you, Raven, and I'll announce the winner
Yeah, I was
of the
gonna say,
MVP.
let me know, 'cause
Yes,
I
of
don't
course.
know. So I'll leave this one here. Okay, so we do have, I believe, 250. I can't check myself in the camera. I'll do this. $250 extra for the voted for MVP. Throughout the stream, we've had !MVP in the chat, where you can vote on your favorite player from the tournament from every single player that was invited. So not only will we get that $250 for them, but we will get the Squirrel Girl variant as well as a prize. And again, another thank you to Glap for the very, very generous donation support of the tournament. We literally couldn't have done the event without him and all the sponsors as well. So yeah, it's pretty awesome. Kawa's just checking, and the winner is. Oh, here we go. Oh, Kawa's getting something. He's getting involved. You can't see him, but you'll be able to hear him. I'm not good enough. Yeah.
Chat, you will not believe this, right? Well, I actually can't believe
Don't tell me
this.
it's a tie.
We had a fan favorite at our last event. We had chat spam her name. The MVP
there we go.
of the tournament 2 times in a row, ladies and gentlemen, is Eggs for Sale.
So congratulations, Eggs, on the Squirrel Go variant. Be careful. Any words to your adoring fans?
You like me. You really like me. No, shout out to my community. They actually dove in and took over the first place. It's incredible. I love you guys so much. And I'm just so happy to be here, meet all of these incredible people and lose to them. That was the best part. Thank you.
Well, congrats, Eggs. Thanks again.
Congratulations. And congratulations to everyone once again. I will now, very unceremoniously, move the camera back so I can sit next to Kawa, my friend. So there we go.
I'll move it back.
Yeah, I was going to say
All
Kawa
good.
can do it.
Yeah.
Yo.
Raven's trying to
I'm back. I'm just
wrapping
look,
the wire
look,
around yourself.
There's something viewers need to know. Something that I should have known, and I didn't. We had 0 plan for the end of the show.
We did have
that
0
whole
plan.
presentation was done on the spot.
Yeah.
Didn't even think about it. I turned the camera beforehand and was like, yeah, let's just go. So yeah, completely unexpected, but yeah, there we go. That's what we get on the fly.
100%. I do want to say a few final words. This event, very, very much like the first one. A lot of work was put into it, a lot of preparation. Once again, huge shout out to my fellow organizers, Luke Muncher and Super Deck God. This event would not be happening without them. But I also want to say a huge thank you to you, my friend. You were very kind to recommend the venue for us and help set up a bunch of things cast alongside me for the majority of these games. And honestly, just thank you very much. I think you're an integral part of the Marvel Snap community.
Thanks.
It means a lot to have you here beside me, my friend. And yeah, I hope to cast alongside you in future events.
Yeah, 100%. And of course, it was my pleasure. You know this. But yeah, again, and I will do the opposite and tell chat to give a huge thank you to Kawa. Again, we they're the best Marvel Snap events. We all know this. It's not a surprise from the first one to the second one and hopefully to the third one as well. So everyone give a huge thanks to Kawa. Show your support with not only the follows in the chat, spam the emote, spam those primes and anything that you could do as well to help out Kawa. Because again, he says all this, without me, without whoever, we couldn't do the event. Yeah, without Kawa, it literally wouldn't happen. All this equipment we're using is Kawa's. Kawa set it all up. I'm just there like, yeah, let's cast some snap. That's my real achievement here. So yeah, again, shout out to Kawa, of course, and all the players as well.
Yeah,
I think it's so sick that like, yeah, easier for us. You're not too far away from here, and I'm obviously very close. But you know, some of the players have travelled a good distance to be here, and yeah, there's a prize pool on the line. But I think the priority for all these players were we get to go and hang out with Snap people and have a good time, right?
100% curious. Thank you very much for the 50 gifted subs. That's very kind, my friend. Yeah, I do think, honestly, the best part of these events, for me especially, is just to have everyone here together.
Oh,
right?
100%.
It really showcases that the Marvel Snap community, for me, it's like no other I've ever been a part of. Everyone is super friendly, super nice. And yeah, I just hope to keep running as many of these events as possible in the future. I think it's my passion to grow the scene as much as possible, introduce creators to each other, have them interact. Like I think one thing we even talked about earlier, you had casters that would rarely interact and actually
100%.
cast the game together, and I think that's an amazing thing to have within this game. So yeah, guys, we're going to end the show. I'm going to leave you with some messages from our sponsors of the event, and then also some words from, as I said, my fellow organizers, Luke Muncher and Super Tech God. So thank you very much for coming out. We hope to see you in the next one. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Take care, guys. See you soon.